In the fourth year of the apocalypse, confronted by a horde of zombies, Lin Mo met a tragic end. Upon opening his eyes once more, he found himself transported back to the very day the apocalypse began. Ding. The survival assistance system has been successfully bound. Ding. Congratulations, host, for acquiring the unique skill, Dragon and Phoenix Carefree Technique. Upon witnessing this skill, Lin Mo let out a deep sigh. In pursuit of better survival, he reluctantly accepted his current predicament. Years later, gazing at the bustling scene before him, Lin Mo lamented, "Each day is a torment, I truly do not know what to do." Chapter 1. Rebirth and System Binding. Lin Mo, we are doomed, there are simply too many zombies. Lin Mo stood atop the city wall, surveying the encroaching tide of the undead, his heart heavy with despair. Humanity had battled against the zombies for 4 long years, with numerous shelters falling one after another. This shelter was the last bastion in Fengjing City, and it seemed that its fate was sealed. Lin Mo sighed, "There's no escape. Inform everyone to prepare for a final stand." Boom. The heavy gates could not withstand the assault from a giant zombie and collapsed with a thunderous crash. As the gates swung open, Lin Mo, along with the others, stood at a distance. A pale-skinned man within the horde gestured, and the zombies surged forward in a frenzied attack. A massacre ensued, and Lin Mo was engulfed in the tide of corpses, his expression one of unwillingness as he was slowly devoured, a flash of white light flickering at his neck. Beep, beep, beep. Lin Mo, turn off the alarm, I want to sleep a little longer. Hearing that familiar voice, Lin Mo slowly opened his eyes. Shouldn't he have perished in the zombie tide? What was happening? He silenced his phone and turned to see his numb left arm. It was Jiangyu. What's wrong? Are you afraid it'll be discovered by my fiancé? Why are you scared now? You weren't afraid last night, she teased, a smile on her face. I have no fear of your fiancé, Lin Mo replied, throwing off the covers and glancing at his phone, which read June 6, 2066, at 9 in the morning. Ah, what a perfect time just 3 hours before the apocalypse descends. He turned to see a streak of red lying quietly on the bed. Alas, what a misfortune. He and Jiangyu were college classmates, the best of friends, never anticipating such a turn of events. After dining and drinking together the previous evening, they found themselves in this predicament. Yet, with the apocalypse imminent, what was there to fear? Well, I never expected the usually timid Lin Mo to show such resolve, Jiangyu remarked. People can change. You should get dressed, it's quite revealing. You saw it all yesterday, what's there to be afraid of? Lin Mo retorted, picking up his clothes from the floor and tossing them onto the bed, discarding the already torn stockings into the trash. Lin Mo stretched and said, I just fear you might be seen by someone you dislike. Jiangyu blushed at the sight of Lin Mo's profile. You should dress as well, it's rather alarming. Lin Mo glanced down helplessly and replied, it's beyond my control. It's just how I was born. He picked up his clothes, dressed, and hurried to the wardrobe, retrieving a Tang-style saber. This handcrafted long knife was a gift from a friend, meant as a decorative piece. Little did he expect it would serve a purpose one day. Holding the knife, he was flooded with memories. It had accompanied him throughout the entire apocalypse. What are you doing with that knife? Jiangyu, familiar with it, asked, having heard him speak of it often. It will be useful shortly. You're acting quite strangely today. Could it be that I've somehow triggered something unusual in you? Lin Mo's lips twitched indeed. Something had been awakened. He glanced back at Jiangyu's alluring figure, regretting that he had forgotten so much. However, he knew there would be ample opportunities ahead. This life would be different. Lin Mo approached the window, drawing back the curtains to observe the world below. People continued their daily lives, seemingly unaffected by the impending doom. Lin Mo, I truly do not wish to marry. If it weren't for that man I cannot confront, I would have slapped him long ago. Lin Mo believed her during college. A persistent male classmate had harassed Jiangyu until she finally broke his arm in frustration. Since then, no one dared to harbor any strange thoughts about her, allowing Jiangyu to live in peace. You'll soon have the chance to realize that wish. Jiangyu shook her head, watching Lin Mo's silhouette, feeling he had changed overnight. Could it be that the transition from boyhood to manhood brought such a transformation? Ding. The apocalypse survival assistance system has been successfully bound. Lin Mo paused, wondering who was speaking. Was he hallucinating after dying? Host, this is not a hallucination. I am here to assist you in surviving the apocalypse. Lin Mo inwardly questioned. Is this akin to the systems in novels? Indeed. What can you provide me? Ding. The novice gift package has been dispatched. Do you wish to open it? Open it. Ding. Congratulations, host, for obtaining a storage space of 100 cubic meters upgradable. Ding. Congratulations, host, for acquiring the exclusive passive ability, Plunder. Ding. Congratulations, host, for obtaining the unique skill, Dragon and Phoenix Carefree Technique. Lin Mo understood the third item without needing an introduction and glanced back at Jiang Yu, who was also looking at him. I've noticed a significant change in you today. It's quite odd. There's nothing strange. You should hurry and get dressed. After all this time, Jiang Yu remained her usual self. With a resigned roll of her eyes, she began to dress. Lin Mo perused the details of the items received. The storage space needed no explanation, although the conditions for upgrading were not specified. Plunder. Defeating zombies grants attribute points. First tier allows for 100 kills, second tier allows for 200, and so forth. The quantity varies with different zombies killed. Dragon and Phoenix Carefree Technique. Affect 1 affection over time. Initial affection towards the opposite sex with a score above 85 increases by 10 points. If 2 individuals spend over 3 hours within 4 meters of each other, they may randomly gain an additional 110 points of affection. Note, affection can reach a maximum of 100 points, with any excess convertible into redeemable affection value for goods. Different interactions may yield varying affection increases, with potential critical affection boosts that do not conflict with regular affection scores. Effect 2 Spirit Link. Upon reaching 100 points of affection, an invisible link connects the 2 individuals. The host gains 50 of the energy points from any creatures killed by the other. Effect 3 Spirit Net. The host can adjust the damage received. Anyone with 100 points of affection can reside within the net, and the damage taken can be adjusted between 0-50, with the number of individuals adjustable based on the host's level. Indeed, it was more formidable than Lin Mo had anticipated. This meant that he would hiss. The prospect was simply exhilarating. Initially, upon returning to life, Lin Mo intended to seek out the members of his previous team. However, after witnessing these capabilities, he abandoned that notion. With these gifts, what need had he for a team? The system interface also featured a shop, and upon opening it, Lin Mo discovered it offered nearly everything imaginable. The establishment offers an impressive array of various weapons, all at quite reasonable prices. There's also a pink button. When pressed, it reveals a currency known as affinity points. The items available for purchase are even more remarkable, including potions for enhancing abilities, developing dual abilities, and physical enhancement. Lin Mo couldn't help but lick his lips. This was not merely assistance, but rather the creation of deities. Knock, knock, knock. Do not be afraid, I assure you. I mean you no harm. Chapter 2, A Madman. Lin Mo placed the knife upon the back of the sofa and approached the door to open it. Everything unfolded just as it had in his previous life. Jiang Yu, come out and face me. I will deal with you shortly. Jiang Mingho forcefully shoved Lin Mo aside and commanded the 2 individuals behind him, lock the door. Yes, young master. Hearing the commotion, Jiang Yu leisurely emerged from the bedroom, still clad in Lin Mo's attire. With no alternative, Jiang Yu understood that evading the confrontation was futile. Upon noticing the clothes she wore, Jiang Mingho's eyes flared with rage, feeling as if the grasslands atop his head were ready for a gallop. You pair of dogs. How could you possibly have gotten together? Lin Mo regarded him with a composed demeanor. Jiang Mingho, a wealthy second-generation heir with a family construction business, found himself in a similar situation to Jiang Yu, whose family was slightly less affluent. Their engagement was merely a result of Jiang Yu's father's demands. Jiang Yu harbored no resistance towards this union and possessed no feelings for Jiang Mingho whatsoever. In a previous life, the circumstances mirrored this, and not long after, Lin Mo had been beaten to a pulp and lost consciousness. Upon awakening, he found himself amidst the apocalypse. Lin Mo had thought that revenge would elude him, but fate had granted him a second chance. Given this opportunity, he would not be held accountable. It was merely a minor incident yesterday. There's no need for such dramatics. Besides, weren't you off with that little internet celebrity, Sha? You seem to be enjoying yourself. Jiang Yu casually tossed her long hair over her shoulder, leaning against the wall. You. Jiang Mingho was at a loss for words. What she said was indisputable. Hand me the bat, it'll take this man down a notch. Upon hearing this, Jiang Yu rushed to Lin Mo's side, spreading her arms protectively. If you dare lay a finger on Lin Mo, you shan't sleep soundly tonight. Beware, I might just feed that thing of yours to the dogs. For reasons unknown, Lin Mo felt a chill at her words, instinctively tightening his legs. So, you still speak up for this man? Damn it, when I get back tonight, I'll deal with you properly. The more Jiang Mingho pondered, the angrier he became. He couldn't even touch her, and now she had taken refuge in another man's bed. He felt utterly robbed. Jiang Mingho shouted to his 2 bodyguards, subdue this woman, let's see how tough this man really is. Young madam, my apologies. The 2 bodyguards advanced to restrain Jiang Yu. Let me go? Jiang Mingho, if you dare lay a hand on me, I will not let this go. Despite her strength, Jiang Yu was no match for the 2 robust bodyguards. Worrying for Lin Mo, she resolved that if Jiang Mingho dared to act, She would find a way to ensure he was rendered incapable of fathering children. Meanwhile, Jiang Mingho was consumed by rage, disregarding Jiang Yu's protests. He glared at Lin Mo with a sinister grin. You should blame yourself for touching her. Do not worry, I won't kill you, will merely injure you. There will be plenty of opportunities to play with you later. I hope you can survive in Fengjing. He could inflict pain, but he would not leave someone severely wounded. Raising the baseball bat, he swung it toward Lin Mo. Thud. Lin Mo delivered a powerful kick, sending Jiang Mingho crashing to the ground, the bat flying from his grasp. Young master, are you all right? Do I look fine to you? Go teach him a lesson, but don't cripple him. Jiang Mingho felt a sharp pain in his chest, struggling to breathe. He gazed at Lin Mo, astonished by his strength and his ability to fight back. Jiang Yu stared at Lin Mo in disbelief. He had undeniably changed. Once a delicate young man, he had now embraced a more robust persona. Was the effect truly that profound? What Jiang Yu witnessed next left her utterly astonished. Was Lin Mo truly willing to risk his life? One of the bodyguards approached with the baseball bat, but Lin Mo swiftly drew a broadsword hidden behind the sofa and struck at him. The bodyguard was taken aback. Him using a blunt weapon, and you're wielding a sharp one? Isn't that excessive? Yet, it was too late for him to evade. The blade had already sliced into his shoulder, leaving a gash over 30 centimeters long, deep enough to reveal bone. The bodyguard staggered back, but Lin Mo was relentless, pursuing him and delivering a fatal blow to his neck. Exhaling deeply, Lin Mo felt no remorse for taking a life. It was as if he had become accustomed to it. Jiang Mingho, witnessing this scene, momentarily forgot his pain, his mind consumed by a singular thought. This man is a madman. He retreated in panic, stammering, "Come on, it's just one woman, there's no need for violence. Killing is a crime, you'll end up in prison. Just turn yourself in. Law? In 2 hours, there would be no law." Lin Mo paid no heed to Jiang Mingho's words and approached him slowly, knife in hand. Step by step, each footfall echoed in Jiang Mingho's heart, sweat dripping from his brow. "Li Mingwei, save me." The other bodyguard, Li Mingwei, released Jiang Yu's shoulder and cautiously made his way toward the door. He was no fool. This man was serious about his intent. Money could always be earned, but a life was singular. Seeing Lin Mo's attention diverted, Li Mingwei felt a surge of relief. He placed his hand on the doorknob and pressed down gently. Whoosh! A flash of white light passed before him, and his wrist felt numb and warm. Click! His hand returned to its position. "Brother, I'm just a bodyguard. This has nothing to do with me." He was terrified. The reckless were afraid of those who had nothing to lose. He was merely a strong bodyguard, not a reckless outlaw. Moreover, he was unarmed, with the only weapon lying on the ground. Lin Mo sneered. Even he bore some responsibility for the beating. With another strike, Li Mingwei instinctively raised his arm, sweat pouring down his face as he turned to flee towards the kitchen. Thud! Lin Mo kicked him down, delivering a swift strike. After dispatching the two men, Lin Mo stood before Jiang Mingho. "Young Master Jiang, I wonder how you intend to deal with me." I was just joking, please spare me." "I can give you money, just let me go." Jiang Mingho stammered, trembling in fear. How could Jiang Yu find herself entangled with such a person? And what of the investigator? Was it not established that he was merely an ordinary salesman? Which salesman resorts to such brutality? However, I do not believe this to be a jest. Thus, "Wait, Lin Mo, cease your actions, you could end up imprisoned." Regaining her composure, Jiang Yu, suppressing the discomfort in her stomach, grasped Lin Mo's arm. "You heard what he said. If I cannot remain in Fengjing, I am left with no choice. I do not wish for this. It is they who compel me." Lin Mo lamented with a look of regret. Witnessing this scene, Jiang Yu steeled herself and seized the long knife from Lin Mo's grasp. "If imprisonment is inevitable, then let us share the fate." With both hands gripping the blade, she raised it above her head. "You have lost your mind. You will both end up in prison. Just release it quickly." Yet the blade descended. Jiang Yu shut her eyes, her hands repeatedly lifting and falling. Meanwhile, Lin Mo had quietly stepped aside, his eyes twitching intermittently. This was far more merciless than what he could have mustered. He would have ended it after just a few strikes. This was too tragic. Lin Mo found himself feeling a twinge of sympathy for Jiang Mingho. He had merely intended to tease Jiang Yu, thinking that with the apocalypse upon them, what prison could possibly await? Yet he had not anticipated Jiang Yu's response, and he felt a peculiar sense of gratitude. Lin Mo approached, swiftly intervening to halt Jiang Yu's relentless swings of the knife. "Enough. One might think you were preparing dumplings today." As Lin Mo focused on Jiang Yu, a translucent screen appeared before his eyes. Chapter 3: The Arrival of the Apocalypse. Name: Jiang Yu. Age: 25. Score: 88. Affection level: 88. 0-30 ordinary, 30-60 friendly, 6,170 friends, 7,180 close friends, 8,190 infatuated, 9,1100 devoted until death. Lin Mo raised an eyebrow. The two had previously been good friends, but he had not anticipated their base affection level to be so high. Even after deducting 10 points, there remained a commendable 78 points of fondness. Achieving the maximum value of 100 seemed exceedingly simple. Should we turn ourselves in, or deal with these bodies? After the chopping was done, Jiang Yu felt a twinge of regret. Yet, if given the chance to do it all over again, she would undoubtedly make the same choice, for all of this stemmed from her actions. Lin Mo shook his head and said calmly, "There is no need to worry. No one will pursue this matter. There will be far more deaths to come." Jiang Yu was perplexed, yet she placed her trust in Lin Mo. As he glanced at the time, he noted that the apocalypse was imminent. "You should lie down now. Otherwise, you may experience considerable pain later." "How annoying. What time is it, and you still want to think about this?" Jiang Yu's cheeks flushed as she shot Lin Mo a glare. "What nonsense are you imagining? If you trust me, just lie still." "All right, fine." For some reason, Lin Mo could sense a hint of disappointment in her expression, which puzzled him. Standing at the window, he gazed outside. This harmonious scene would soon be a thing of the past. "Aren't you going to bed?" "I'll be there shortly." Half an hour later. With only a minute remaining until midnight, Lin Mo laid down on the bed. A resounding boom echoed globally. Lin Mo felt a sharp pain that persisted for nearly a minute. Jiang Yu fainted the moment the sound erupted. "System, what is happening? Why am I unharmed?" "The system has shielded the host. Please remain at ease." Such a fortunate turn of events. Lin Mo shook his head and approached the window. He resided on the 5th floor, affording him a clear view of the chaos below. Dozens of bodies lay strewn across the ground. Some vehicles had crashed into stores. Others collided with walls, while others were caught in a chain reaction. In the upper left corner of Lin Mo's vision, a countdown of 1 hour was displayed. "System, is that timer accurate?" "Indeed, in 1 hour, everyone will awaken." Upon hearing that there was 1 hour left, Lin Mo hurriedly slung on his backpack and dashed out of the door. With only 1 hour to spare, he could not afford to waste a moment. He pressed the elevator button, and it soon arrived from the 1st floor. Ding! The elevator doors opened to reveal a man and a woman lying inside. Lin Mo nudged them in with his foot and pressed the button for the 1st floor. Upon reaching the ground floor, he dragged the two of them out and left them outside the elevator. He then rushed out of the building, heading towards a nearby convenience store. He had considered going to a supermarket, but the closest one was a 10-minute bus ride away, and time was of the essence. A nearby convenience store was far more suitable. After raiding 2 local convenience stores, Lin Mo hurried back home. As for the remaining 2 stores, he had no more space to carry anything, so he had to forego them for the time being. Upon returning home, only 10 minutes remained. He retrieved a bottle of red wine from his storage, poured it into a glass, and ceremoniously swirled the drink. Welcome once again to the apocalypse. He downed it in one go. Ugh, what a terrible concoction. It tastes spoiled. Lin Mo set the wine bottle aside, preferring the taste of soda instead. What is wrong with me? I feel a bit dizzy. Hearing the noise, Lin Mo stored the Tang-hung knife into his space and made his way to the bedroom. You're awake? You could have just told me directly. No need for all this. Lin Mo was speechless. What was Jiang Yu thinking? Am I that kind of person? No more jokes. What happened? Why did I suddenly faint? I fainted too, but I have a rough idea of what it is. Come look at the balcony. The two of them stepped onto the balcony. Jiang Yu gazed at the scene outside, completely stunned. The cries for help and shouts from below were still clear even from the 5th floor. 4 or 5 people were on their knees, gnawing at a man, while vehicles careened wildly. She turned to Lin Mo and inquired, what is going on? Why are those people eating others? When I came to, I saw all of this. It seems like it's akin to the zombies from movies. Lin Mo had no intention of divulging that he had been reborn. This is utterly terrifying. Jiang Yu trembled. Leaning against the window, Lin Mo placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. Do not worry. I am here. With the system and the experiences from his past life. Lin Mo remained composed in the face of such turmoil. Knock, knock, knock. Is someone coming? A flash of insight struck Lin Mo as he recalled who might be arriving at this moment. However, glancing at Jiang Yu, he wondered if this place would turn into a battleground. Hopefully not. Someone is knocking. Go take a look, but be careful. Okay. Lin Mo approached the living room and peered through the peephole. Indeed, it was them. He quickly opened the door. Sister, wake up. A girl with twin ponytails shook the woman on the bed. Ugh, Luo Yun, stop shaking me. My head is going to split. The woman on the bed opened her eyes, exasperated. You scared me to death. Come look outside. It's terrifying. Luo Yun pulled her sister Luo Fei to the window. Upon seeing the chaos below, Luo Fei's first thought was, what has happened to this world? Though somewhat flustered, she quickly regained her composure. She could not panic. If she did, Luo Yun would too. Luo Fei rushed to a storage cabinet and retrieved a long gun. Let us go, sister. We need to find Lin Mo. We can only survive in numbers. Calming down, Luo Fei immediately thought of Lin Mo, the man she had secretly admired for a long time. Huh. Even now you're thinking about your crush. He is so weak, you'll have to protect him, Luo Yun said, puffing up in annoyance. In her eyes, her sister was a martial arts champion, while Lin Mo was merely a frail scholar. Stop messing around. The world outside has changed. We can only survive in numbers. Although he lacks strength, his intellect is rational and calm. Though unsure if those things outside were indeed the zombies depicted in television, having more people was definitely an advantage. All right, then let us go. When it came to rationality, Luo Yun had to concede. As for intelligence, he was probably a bit smarter than them. Take all the food you can carry. We can come back for what we can't take. Chapter 4 Sisters arrive with supplies. Their home was merely 1 unit away from Lin Mo's. The two stood at his door, backpacks on their backs. Sister, can you please knock? If you don't, I will. Watching her sister take deep breaths, Luo Yun could no longer contain herself. I'll do it. Knock, knock, knock. Creak. How did you all arrive? Please, come in. I noticed the situation outside and was concerned you might not have any food. We brought some provisions, if it's insufficient. We have more at home. Lofi tucked her hair behind her ear, her cheeks slightly flushed. Lin Mo stepped aside to let the two pass. Bang. Upon seeing Jiangyu, Lofi froze. That outfit must belong to Lin Mo, but what about your pants? Oh, it's Lofi. Long time no see. Indeed, Jiangyu, it has been a while. I didn't expect to see you here. I had a bit too much to drink last night and ended up sleeping here. I must say, that bed was quite comfortable. I suppose you are only comfortable because you are well fed. You guessed it accurately. The two women momentarily forgot the gravity of the situation. Exchanging playful banter, Jiangyu's gaze shifted. We haven't seen each other in ages. Let us go to the bedroom and have a proper chat. Sounds good. The two women walked into the bedroom, closing the door with a click. Lin Mo, witnessing this scene, was at a loss for words. Looks like you're doing quite well for yourself, with beautiful company too, said Luo Yun. Glancing up at Lin Mo cleared his throat. It's been all right. By the way, why weren't you waiting for rescue at home? It's my sister's fault. She was worried you might be without food and insisted on coming to find you. Luo Yun shot him a look, perplexed by her sister's reasoning. What is so special about Lin Mo? He's just a bit handsome and taller, isn't he? Well, I must thank you both for your concern. In their previous life, the two women had also come to seek Lin Mo. It could be said that without Lofi's presence in the early days, Lin Mo might not have survived. Later, during a zombie outbreak, they got separated, and Lin Mo searched for a long time without any news of them. This time, however, he was determined not to let that happen again. Of course, Lin Mo was not drawn to their beauty, but rather their strength. Despite her petite and adorable appearance, little Lu Yun's awakened abilities were fearsome. Lin Mo glanced at Lu Yun, and a light screen appeared. Name, Lu Yun. Age, 24. Rating, 87. Affinity, 61. Her affinity was surprisingly high. Lin Mo had thought Lu Yun would have little fondness for him. It seemed that being handsome had its advantages. Aren't you worried the two women inside might end up fighting? My sister is quite formidable. They know their limits. They won't come to blows. Moreover, Jiangyu is no delicate flower. Before long, the two women emerged from the bedroom, laughing and chatting as if nothing had just transpired. What is this? Lin Mo looked at them in confusion. Oh, we're doing just fine. So, what should we do now? With the matter at hand, Lin Mo disregarded whatever had occurred between them. The chaos outside was apparent. Those things were likely the so-called zombies. Our next course of action is to clear the building of zombies and then gather supplies for survival. Afterward, we must wait for rescue. Although given the current circumstances, it seems it will be quite some time before help arrives. Even though he had gathered a fair amount of supplies earlier, it was hardly sufficient. Most of it consisted of instant noodles and bread, which would not suffice for hunger. Furthermore, the crucial point was that without killing zombies, there was no way to awaken supernatural abilities. He wondered if the abilities in this life would mirror those of his previous one. As for rescue, it was a daunting prospect. All right, let us set out now. Jiangyu was the first to respond. Although the zombies were somewhat repulsive, survival was a challenge worth overcoming. I'll join too. With Jiangyu speaking up, Lofi naturally wanted to follow suit. Then I'll go as well. With her sister going, Lu Yun felt compelled to join. Let us go together. We can look out for one another. Though Lu Yun currently lacked strength, once awakened, she would be formidable. Taking this opportunity, Lin Mo also checked Lofi's information. Name, Lofi. Age, 25. Rating, 92. Affinity, 92. Goodness, another with high affinity. By the way, what else with that pool of blood? Did you slaughter a pig? Well, something like that. Lin Mo refrained from mentioning Jiang Mingho and the others, fearing it might frighten the two women. Once the group was ready, they opened the door. Lin Mo and Lofi each wielded a long blade, while Jiang Yu held a baseball bat, and Lu Yun was empty-handed. When you get a weapon, be sure to give me one. I feel uneasy without anything in hand. In reality, Lu Yun was far more anxious than she let on. She had only pretended to be brave. It wouldn't do to let others gather supplies while she enjoyed the benefits. Don't worry, if we find something good, you'll be the first to know. Arriving at the adjacent room, Lin Mo knocked on the door. After confirming there was no sound, he took a piece of wire and a metal plate from his pocket. In 2 minutes, he managed to unlock the door. The living room was empty. Where did you learn to pick locks? Since when could you do that? Jiang Yu looked at Lin Mo in astonishment. She had never heard of him possessing such a skill. An old man taught me when I was young, but I never used it, as it's technically illegal. All right. Be careful. Kill zombies outright. And if it's a human, proceed with caution. The most terrifying aspect of the apocalypse was not the visible zombies, but the unseen hearts of men. Lin Mo had struggled through 4 years in the apocalypse, witnessing too many turn against each other, especially among strangers. The term good person in this world either signified death or a source of resentment. After searching, they found no one in the room, indicating that the inhabitants had likely left early. Our objective is food and water. Let us not worry about anything else for now. Lu Yun, see if you can find anything that could serve as a weapon. The four split up to search. Their findings were meager. They only discovered a pile of drinks and snacks, with not a single staple food in sight. Lin Mo sighed. It seems the residents here are all young. Not even a grain of rice or flour. What a waste of time. He now questioned how much food could be found in this entire building. Heading outside was not an option yet. There were too many zombies to venture out recklessly. Can this be used as a weapon? Lu Yun held up a hollow iron pipe, its texture indicating it was likely a curtain rod. She had no other choice. Who would keep weapons at home? Her sister was a martial arts champion and trained regularly, while Lu Yun had no idea how Lin Mo came to possess a knife. Let me modify it for you. It should work. Lin Mo took the pipe and taped a sharp kitchen knife to it. For now, sturdiness was not the main concern. At least it would offer some degree of safety. Chapter 5. The first maximum affinity. Lu Yun accepted the weapon Lin Mo had fashioned, swinging it a few times playfully. It should be sturdy enough, but I hope I don't end up dead before I even kill a zombie. That is not necessarily the case. At most, it will be used a few times before needing to be resecured. You may use it for now, and I will find you new weapons later. Aside from him, the weapons of the other 3 must be replaced. Lofi's lance can only stab zombies. Whipping merely drives them away without killing them. As for Jiang Yu's baseball bat, it requires considerable effort to crush a zombie's head. In terms of efficiency, these 2 weapons are hardly commendable. Once I confirmed that nothing was overlooked, Lin Mo led them to the next house. They continued to knock on doors in search of supplies. 505, 504, 503. When they reached 502, Lin Mo knocked, and an unusual sound emanated from within. Be cautious this time. If any of you get bitten, do not blame me. Lin Mo's words were devoid of warmth. Yet the 3 women found no issue with them. Even Lu Yun, who had little interaction with Lin Mo, harbored no objections. One cannot blame others for one's own injuries. Drawing from their experience with the previous doors, Lin Mo opened the door in under half a minute. A withered hand shot out from the crack of the door. With a swift motion, Lin Mo severed the hand with a single strike. Perhaps due to the transformation into a zombie, the bones had become brittle, and Lin Mo felt minimal resistance. Kicking the door open, Lin Mo struck the zombie in the chest, sending it sprawling to the ground. He wasted no time and plunged his blade into the zombie's skull. A peculiar warmth coursed through Lin Mo's body. Ding! Killed a level 0 zombie, strength 1. Energy points 2. Lin Mo felt a slight increase in his strength. Be careful in the other rooms. Do not let any zombies attack you. Rest assured, we will be cautious. Jiang Yu led the 2 women toward the bedroom, knocking on the door, which indeed yielded zombie sounds from within. Do you want to open it? Or shall I? Jiang Yu glanced at Lofi. You open it, I will strike. Lu Yun was completely overlooked by Jiang Yu, given her petite stature of just over 1.5 meters, which hardly suggested any combat prowess. Jiang Yu slowly pressed the handle and opened the door. In a flash, a gleam of cold steel pierced the center of the zombie's skull, ending its life in one swift motion. The entire process, from opening the door to striking the zombie, took less than 2 seconds, demonstrating Lofi's solid fundamentals. Clap, clap, clap. Truly impressive marksmanship, worthy of a provincial champion. Jiang Yu could not help but admire. Had it been her, it would likely have taken at least 10 seconds to resolve the situation. The sight was undeniably gruesome, with a dark red and gray mixture splattered across the ground, making it hard to stomach. Lin Mo observed the scene and, seeing no need for his assistance, remained still. Since binding with the system, Lin Mo had yet to check his personal information. Having just dispatched a zombie, he decided to take a look. Host: Lin Mo, rank, level 0, experience, 1100, attributes, strength, 10, constitution, 9, agility, 8, spirit, 11, the average for normal males is 10, and for females, it is 8. Awakened abilities, none. Storage space, 100 cubic meters. Energy points, 2. Skills, exclusive passive plunder, 1. Unique technique, dragon and phoenix carefree skill. Examining his data, Lin Mo frowned. How could his constitution be inferior to that of an average person? After all, he possessed well-defined pectorals, biceps, and 4 abs. Moreover, why was his plunder ability infinite? Wasn't he said to be capped at 100? Sensing Lin Mo's confusion, the system provided clarification. Physical fitness is developed through training, not merely observed. Plunder at level 0 is indeed infinite. With this explanation, Lin Mo understood. So, if I train, will my physical fitness improve? Strength, constitution, and agility can be enhanced through training, with minor increases in the early stages, but little change in later stages. Spirit cannot be trained. Minor increases hardly seem worth the effort. I could simply slay a few zombies. Even those without a system would gain attributes from killing zombies, diminishing the significance of training. It would be more beneficial to spend that time honing my killing techniques or exterminating zombies. Lofi. I felt a warm flow through my body after killing the zombie, she said, momentarily stunned after her victory. Her long training had made her acutely aware of her own condition. The change in her body was unmistakable. Could slaying zombies truly enhance one's physical fitness? I experienced a similar sensation. It seems that everyone is undergoing this phenomenon, which should be a good sign, Lin Mo replied, nodding. I want to kill zombies too. I want to kill zombies too, Jiang Yu and Lu Yun echoed in unison. Lin Mo shook his head. There will be plenty of opportunities later. For now, let us seek food. Killing zombies is not our primary objective. Room 502 contained only 2 zombies, which they promptly eliminated. After gathering the supplies, they proceeded to room 501, the final house adjacent to Lin Mo's. Fortunately, this house was silent, indicating that it was likely uninhabited. Lin Mo felt relieved that it was Sunday, as most people would be out enjoying themselves. Had it been Saturday, they might not have been so fortunate, given that many residents tend to stay home on that day. After clearing this room, Lin Mo and his companions' backpacks were filled to the brim, each carrying 2 large bags of food. These provisions would ensure they had enough to eat for at least a month. Upon returning to Lin Mo's home in room 507, they set down their supplies. Phew, I was worried you wouldn't have enough food. It seems I was mistaken, Lofi remarked, glancing at the heaps of food scattered across the floor, feeling somewhat embarrassed. Compared to what she had brought, it was negligible. Lin Mo quickly reassured her. Let us not speak like that. True feelings are revealed in times of hardship. In this apocalyptic era, your ability to bring me food speaks volumes. The quantity is of no consequence. Lu Yun stood to the side, rolling her eyes and rubbing her arms in disdain as she shot Lin Mo a glance. Lin Mo ignored her. She was not his primary concern at the moment. Ding. Lofi's critical affection level increased by 10. Ding. Congratulations, host. Lofi's affection level has reached 100, granting the reward. Desert Eagle with unlimited ammunition. Wow, a reward? How come I didn't know about this? Lin Mo exclaimed, excitement coursing through him, yet he maintained a tender gaze toward Lofi, feeling the sincerity in his eyes. Lofi's face flushed. All right, everyone is tired, and it's past noon. While we still have gas, let us prepare something warm to eat. There may not be another opportunity, Lin Mo declared, hastening to the master bedroom to close the door, eager to inquire with the system. System, oh system. Chapter 6, something to see, but not to use system. Oh system, how come there are rewards, and I was unaware? Isn't this a standard feature of the system? Is it necessary to state the obvious? Lin Mo stood in stunned silence, realizing that there was indeed no flaw in that statement. Yet, without having had a system before, how could he possibly have known? Lin Mo retrieved the Desert Eagle, identical to the one he had previously encountered in a game. Its sleek silver body bore no extravagant designs. Curiously, he pressed the button on the side, causing the magazine to drop. Gazing at the magazine, a multitude of questions swirled in his mind. Wasn't it said to have infinite bullets? Why then the presence of a magazine? Host, please explore them all. Perhaps the system, unable to endure his confusion, provided him with a hint. Following the system's guidance, Lin Mo opened them all. However, he found no firearms in the ordinary mall. He then accessed the Affection Points Mall and searched for the Desert Eagle, which instantly revealed dozens of products. The most basic Desert Eagle could be acquired for merely 100 affection points, but the bullets required separate purchases. Lin Mo even spotted a golden Desert Eagle, priced at 500 affection points. He couldn't help but scoff. Who in their right mind would purchase a golden weapon? Was there truly such wealth with no better use? The bullets themselves varied. Ordinary ones could be obtained for just 1 affection point for 100 rounds, while armor-piercing and explosive rounds demanded 10 affection points for the same quantity. Additionally, he discovered bullets unique to the game, such as flame, freeze, and lightning rounds, all requiring 100 affection points for 100 rounds. Naturally, these were not what he sought. At the bottom, he found the infinite bullet version of the Desert Eagle, priced at 1,000 affection points. Gasp! How exorbitantly costly! Moreover, there were magazines. The ordinary bullet magazine was 1,000 affection points, the armor-piercing magazine 5,000, and the flame magazine a staggering 10,000, all offering infinite rounds. Lin Mo now understood why he could return the magazine. It was meant for swapping different types of bullets. Yet, he pondered where he could amass such affection points. Even if a person could provide 20 points a day, it would take 10 individuals to accumulate 200. Furthermore, he had no such entourage. Sigh, had he known, he would have refrained from searching. Seeing, but not utilizing was truly vexing. Host need not worry. Affection points can be exchanged using energy points at a ratio of 100 energy points for 1 affection point. How utterly unfair. Killing one only yielded 2 energy points. He would have to slay 50 to exchange for a single point. A fool's errand indeed. Adjusting his mindset, he holstered the pistol and exited the room. Meanwhile, the dining table was laid with 4 hot dishes, as 3 women sat contentedly chatting, seemingly oblivious to the impending apocalypse. You've finished. Hurry and join us for dinner. We've prepared the perishable food first, fearing a power outage later. Jiang Yu indicated towards the food on the floor. Quite right. That was precisely what I intended to say. Lin Mo approached the table, glanced around, and then turned towards the balcony, firmly closing the window and drawing the curtains. Are you concerned about the neighbors, or those above? Luo Fei inquired, puzzled. Before Lin Mo could respond, Luo Yun interjected, Sister, if the aroma wafts out, those above and below will surely take notice. We'll become easy targets, and the curtains are to prevent prying eyes from across the way. Indeed. That's exactly the point Luo Yun was making. Lin Mo nodded approvingly, surprised that this little one had such insight. Luo Fei looked apologetic. I'm sorry. I hadn't considered it so thoroughly. No need for concern. I only just remembered as well. Let us eat. The 4, having grown hungry, devoured the meal before them. Lin Mo was particularly famished, having exerted himself the previous night and faced numerous matters that morning. He felt as though his stomach was glued to his back. Half an hour prior, 4 men sat on a couch in room 607, munching on bread. I told you to prepare some vegetables and meat from the fridge. And now look, only bread is left. A man wearing gold-rimmed glasses and a gray suit glared discontentedly at the 3. Second brother. What do you mean, second brother? Call me elder brother. But wasn't the elder brother deceased? The 5th brother rubbed the back of his head, looking aggrieved. Scared. If he's dead, doesn't that make me the leader? Zhang Xiang glared at the 5th brother, feeling exasperated, as if he were conversing with someone devoid of sense. He pondered how on earth this individual had joined their ranks. Elder brother, it's not that we don't want to buy, but there's no one to cook. Haven tea we always order takeout. These are merely the leftover boxes of bread I bought online. The 5th brother replied, somewhat defensively. Who could have anticipated such a turn of events? Indeed, elder brother, don't blame the 5th brother. If it weren't for him buying a box of bread, we would likely have starved. The 3rd and 4th brothers chimed in to support the 5th. Enough, let us drop this matter. What happened earlier with Zhang Hao and Wang Jie? How did they end up like that? Zhang Xiang felt a chill at the memory. The 6 had originally gathered to discuss their grand plans for wealth, only to suddenly lose consciousness. Upon waking, they found Zhang Hao savagely consuming Wang Jie, nearly severing his neck. The 4 hastily dispatched Zhang Hao, severing him into several pieces, yet his head still moved. Within half an hour, Wang Jie had similarly transformed into a creature akin to Zhang Hao. It was utterly terrifying. It must be some sort of virus. Like those depicted in movies, once it attacks a person, mutation occurs. The 5th brother mumbled. Zhang Xiang's expression shifted. Had he known it would come to this, he would have refrained from visiting them today. He still had some food at his place, enough to last half a month. All he had to do was wait for rescue. Who could have foreseen such calamity? Sniff, sniff. Zhang Xiang's nose twitched as he asked the 3, do you smell cooking? They all nodded in agreement. Indeed, there is a scent, one of which seems to be braised pork, and another likely a sweet and sour dish. Let's see whose home it is. The three approached the balcony, scanning their surroundings. The aroma wafted from directly below. Could it be the downstairs neighbors? It seems so. After a quick survey, they noted that the window downstairs was ajar. Damn it, here we are gnawing on bread while they feast on dishes. Come, let us descend and confront them. We shall seize their food. As for legality, what semblance of law remained in this chaotic world? Elder brother, don't rush. Let us first check the situation outside with the camera. The third brother retrieved his phone, observing the hallway through the camera. Elder brother, there are no zombies outside. We can venture forth. Zhang Ziang nodded approvingly, satisfied with the camera's placement. Gather the weapons, and bring my bow as well. Elder brother, perhaps we should forego the bow. Your aim is rather lacking. Zhang Ziang shot a glance at the fifth brother, increasingly disliking him for his thoughtless remarks. By saying that, do you not render me quite embarrassed? The third brother, noticing the tension, quickly interjected. Fifth brother, what nonsense are you spouting? Elder brother's archery skills are impeccable. He can hit a fly from 20 meters away. Zhang Ziang nodded in satisfaction. At least the third brother knew how to speak. Equipped and ready, the four made their way to room 507. Fifth brother, you knock on the door. If they inquire about your purpose, just say you wish to borrow some bread. Rest assured, elder brother. Chapter 7. Each has a share. Knock, knock, knock. The group dining within the room paused at the sound of a knock at the door. Linimo, do you have friends residing here? Jiang Yu inquired, puzzled. No, I don't know anyone here. Huh, didn't you encounter my sister before? Well, that doesn't count. Lin Mo rubbed his nose, momentarily forgetting the Luo sisters. Could it be a neighbor from nearby? We've already cleared the left side. Only a few households remain on the right. Knock, knock, knock. The knocking persisted. I'll check it out. You all better be ready with your weapons. They might not come in peace. Lin Mo glanced at the balcony, a conjecture forming in his mind. Approaching the door, he peered through the peephole and saw the fifth brother. Narrowing his eyes, Lin Mo called out, Hello, may I ask what you need? This young brother. We have no food at home, and with the chaos outside, could you spare us a couple of loaves of bread? I'll return the favor once I find food. The fifth brother relayed, following Zhang Ziang's instructions. Observing the fifth brother's demeanor, Lin Mo realized there was likely more than one person outside. However, ignoring the situation was not an option. Allowing such a ticking time bomb to linger outside would disrupt his peace of mind while sleeping. I have some. Come in, and I'll give you some. The fifth brother hadn't expected things to go so smoothly. He quickly glanced at Zhang Ziang. Nodding, Zhang Ziang unsheathed his long knife and readied his compound bow. Lin Mo gestured to the others to conceal their weapons behind them. As Lin Mo opened the door and stepped back, it unfolded just as he had anticipated. The fifth brother entered, followed closely by Zhang Ziang and the others, who lined up with knives pointed at Lin Mo and his companions. Upon seeing Jiang Yu and the other three women, Zhang Ziang gulped. They were truly stunning. His gaze shifted to Lin Mo. Humph. Just some pretty boy? This place is now under my control. From now on, you will all heed my commands. The men will gather supplies, and the women will have their assignments at night. This is my home. On what grounds do you claim it? Lin Mo feigned resistance. Jiang Yu could not suppress her laughter. Zhang Ziang frowned. What's so funny? The one with the strongest fist has the final say. Boy, you'll understand when you grow up. Regardless of their laughter, Zhang Ziang had resolved to claim this place as his own, not only for the three women but also for the food on the ground. Enough to last a month. As for the man before him, he could be useful or disposed of if he proved otherwise. Once Lin Mo confirmed there were no more individuals outside, his heart settled. With this assurance, he felt free to act. Just as he reached for the hilt of his knife, he warned, I advise against making any sudden moves. We possess 4 knives, and a reckless swing could easily end your life. The other 3 advanced a step, their blades aimed at Lin Mo. I'm merely lowering my weapon. There's no need to be so agitated. Although he was strong, he currently lacked abilities and was not a match for the 4. From the outset, he had no intention of drawing his knife. Zhang Ziang nodded in satisfaction. You're quite perceptive. Clang. Seeing Lin Mo truly discard his knife, Zhang Ziang and his group relaxed their stances. The 3 women, however, were far from his concern. Bang bang. Several gunshots rang out, and the group collapsed to the ground. Fortunately, the proximity allowed for precise shots. Zhang Ziang's knees were shattered, while the others received a bullet each, with Zhang Ziang being struck 4 times. His knees were beyond repair. The pain, it's unbearable. Zhang Ziang gasped, looking at Lin Mo in terror, bewildered at how this person possessed a firearm. Not only Zhang Ziang, but the 3 women behind Lin Mo were equally shocked by his possession of a gun. In Hua country, firearms were strictly prohibited. They were not supposed to exist. Yet, the women had no inclination to inquire. Only a fool would ask where such things came from. There are 4 in total. Each of you take one and eliminate them. Bang! Lin Mo struck true, sending Zhang Ziang to his demise. Since they had come here, there was no chance they would leave alive. Lin Mo would not allow any unstable factors to remain. The Luo sisters stared at Lin Mo in astonishment. He was instructing them to kill. They had no qualms about dispatching zombies, but humans were of their kind. Jiang Yu felt no pressure, having undergone a similar experience before. Facing it again was not beyond her capability. She picked up the long knife that had fallen and approached the third brother. At that moment, the third brother realized they had bitten off more than they could chew. Please, spare me. I have elders and children. Uft, uft. The third brother's eyes widened as he grasped his throat, helplessly collapsing to the ground, his light fading. Luo Fei and Luo Yun were stunned by the scene. Was it truly that simple? Did you not feel even a hint of psychological conflict? The remaining 2 looked fearfully at Lin Mo. To them, he was nothing short of a demon. Luo Fei swallowed hard, taking the long knife from Jiang Yu's hands and advancing toward the fourth brother. Taking a deep breath, she closed her eyes and struck down. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Luo Fei hastily withdrew the blade from his shoulder, even stepping on him to gain leverage. Subsequently, she slashed across his throat, ensuring he met a less painful end. The final 5th brother understood his fate and ceased all resistance. Observing that her sister had already acted, Luo Yun knew she could not lag behind. Gritting her teeth, she stepped toward the 5th brother. Luo Yun, you haven't taken a knife yet, Lin Mo reminded her. Shaking his head, he aimed to teach them that in this apocalypse, humanity was the most dangerous species. To survive, one must be more ruthless than others. In this world, human life was the least valuable commodity. Oh, Luo Yun accepted the long knife from her sister and approached the 5th brother. I'm sorry. With a decisive stroke, she severed his neck, clearly feeling the blade connect with bone. Clang. Luo Yun dropped the knife and hurried to the window, throwing it open. Ugh. Luo Fei could no longer hold back and joined the retching crowd. Jiang Yu, having endured the experience before, felt somewhat nauseous but managed to maintain composure. Lin Mo nodded in satisfaction. It's the first time. It can be a bit overwhelming. Once you adjust to the first time, the second will feel much easier. They would soon comprehend Lin Mo's good intentions. Carrying the bodies, Lin Mo approached the balcony and flung them out of the adjacent window. The zombies below, drawn by the scent of blood, surged forward to claw and bite. As more bodies were tossed down, the gathering horde of zombies only intensified. All right, let's continue dining, Lin Mo said as if nothing were amiss, resuming his meal. As the 3 women gazed upon the meat laid out on the table, a wave of nausea washed over them. Jiang Yu fared slightly better, managing to eat, albeit only vegetables with her chopsticks. Chapter 8. The system's flaws are indeed difficult to exploit. After finishing their meal, a notification chimed as a video was pushed to everyone's phones. Lin Mo opened the video and called the 3 women to watch together. The host's face bore a serious expression as he addressed the public, urging all citizens to remain indoors and await rescue, cautioning against venturing outside. Experts had determined that the creatures roaming outside exhibited high levels of contagion, and any misstep could lead to assimilation. These beings were temporarily dubbed zombies, and citizens were implored to trust the national rescue efforts being organized across various regions. This was a nationwide alert, reaching anyone with a mobile device. From that day forth, chaos ensued. He says we should wait for rescue, Luo Yun remarked towards Lin Mo. Rescue? I think not. The thought of 10 individuals confined within such a vast space was indeed unsettling. Lin Mo gestured towards the living room, and the 3 women shuddered at the image it conjured. It's better to avoid that. Our current situation is quite satisfactory. The zombies are not as formidable as imagined. We are managing well. All right, enough pondering. Weapons were to be sought, and now they have conveniently arrived, he announced, pointing to 4 machetes and a compound bow that Zhang Ziang and the others had brought. I'll take this and this, Luo Yun declared, swiftly claiming the compound bow and a machete. Do you know how to use this? Lin Mo inquired, initially intending to wield it himself, as the compound bow had been a vital tool in his past life. Remove the question mark. I was the runner-up in the National Youth Archery Championship, Luo Yun replied proudly. Lin Mo, taken aback by her petite stature of just over 1.5 meters, found it hard to reconcile her with such an accolade. What else with that look? Archery doesn't require height, she retorted, well accustomed to such scrutiny. Just a moment of surprise, Lin Mo replied, pleased with their current team. Luo Fei was a provincial martial arts champion. Although her skills were primarily aesthetic, who said forms couldn't be lethal. As for Luo Yun, her prowess was evident. While Jiang Yu had trained in Sanda since childhood, though she might struggle against stronger opponents, she was quite adept at handling local ruffians. In terms of martial strength, the four of them were more than capable. Let us refrain from any further chatter and clear the remaining rooms on the 5th floor, Lin Mo instructed. First, I need to change clothes, Luo Yun quickly interjected, her dress proving impractical for movement. Very well, let's south head to your place, Lin Missouri responded. He resided in 507, while they were in 508. Despite their proximity, they had rarely visited each other. Lin Mo had hesitated to engage with Luo Fei, given the significant difference in their circumstances. Upon arriving at Luo Fei's apartment, Luo Yun dashed into the bedroom, shedding her long dress for comfortable athletic wear. Much better, she sighed, slinging the compound bow over her shoulder and holding the machete in hand as she emerged. Let us go? Within an hour, Lin Mo and the group successfully cleared the remaining 5 rooms, with Lin Mo personally dispatching 2 zombies. However, upon checking the system notification, he noted, ding, killed 0th, tier zombie. Strength 1, energy points 2. Lin Mo pondered, system, I killed 2 zombies. Why is there only 1 notification? Using firearms will reduce plunder efficiency. Pistols and sniper rifles have a plunder effect of 50, while automatic rifles and machine guns yield 20. Grenades and landmines provide 10, while other firearms yield nearly 0. Lin Mo grimaced, realizing the system's limitations. He observed his data, noting his experience had risen to 3. This meant the experience from the 2 zombies had been counted, but the plunder had only been triggered once. If he had used a machine gun, what should have yielded 300 or 400 plunder opportunities at this tier would likely result in only a handful. This was certainly not profitable. He had initially hoped to accumulate goodwill points to exchange for more powerful weapons, but that seemed unnecessary for now. Sigh, the system's flaws are indeed challenging to navigate. It seems I'm being compelled to utilize cold weapons in the early stages. Lin Mo, are we leaving now? There's nothing more of use here. One of them suggested. Let us head back. We should treat ourselves tonight, Lin Mo proposed as they made their way back to his home. He lingered behind with Jiang Yu, gently resting his hand on her waist and murmuring, by the way, I may have had a bit too much to drink last night. Jiang Yu's face flushed instantly. Stop it, the Luo sisters are still here. Her cheeks reddened further as a thought crossed her mind. Lin Mo leaned closer to her ear. It's fine, we can wait a little longer. Feeling her ears warm, Jiang Yu swiftly distanced herself from him, whispering, can we postpone for a while? Lin Mo hadn't intended anything untoward. His concern was solely for Luo Yun. After all, Luo Yun's goodwill points were quite significant. Let us delay it then. Ding. Jiang Yu's critical goodwill points increased by 20. Wait, 20 points all at once. Ding. Congratulations, host. Jiang Yu's goodwill points have reached 100, granting a reward of 10 spaces. Wow, fantastic. This is far superior to a handgun. With this, I could practically clear out a small supermarket. Hurry up, you two. Luo Yun called back, noticing they were lagging behind. Why is Jiang Yu's face so red? Upon hearing Luo Yun, Luo Fei turned to glance at Jiang Yu, recalling their earlier conversation, and felt her cheeks warm in realization. What's wrong with you, sister? Is it hot in here? Luo Yun inquired curiously. It is a bit warm, Luo Fei replied, fanning her face with her hand. Upon returning home, they placed the food on the floor. Lin Mo surveyed the scattered provisions and glanced back at the 3 women. Surely, his exceptional talents warranted some revelation regarding his spatial abilities. Otherwise, this food would go to waste. There would be more than just this food in the future. They couldn't simply leave it as is. With a wave of his hand, all the food vanished into his spatial realm. The 3 women, who had been conversing, gaped in astonishment at this display far exceeding their comprehension. Are you using magic? How did those things just disappear? They inquired, their curiosity piqued. Perhaps I possess extraordinary talents. I might have unintentionally awakened spatial abilities, granting me storage capability. Just know this, and if anyone else finds out, we're doomed. Given their current goodwill levels, Luo Fei and Jiang Yu had reached a steadfast bond of 100 points. Regarding the notion of maximum value, Lofi bestowed upon him an outrageous nuclear option. As for Li Yun, she would remain silent about it. Subsequently, all that was left was to exchange for an ability that could gauge the affection levels of others. You all go ahead and prepare dinner. I have a few matters to attend to. Chapter 9. A slight loss from a clever method with a click. Lin Mo closed the door, ensuring that no sounds could escape outside, and hurriedly inquired of the system, why did my affection level increase by 20? The theoretical maximum for critical affection is 1000. The values obtained vary based on interaction methods. The host may explore this gradually. Different methods, perhaps? Reflecting upon the sensations in his hands and recalling the name of his singular technique, a realization dawned upon him. He seemed to understand how to accrue even more affection points. So, this is the nature of your system. I find it rather appealing. At 9 in the evening, the three women sat together, engaging in conversation, while Lin Mo approached the window to gaze outside. In the opposite building, only 20 to 30 households had their lights on. The remaining rooms were shrouded in darkness. Either they had succumbed to zombification, or they were simply absent. The scene below was no better, although darkness had fallen. The faint glow of the moon allowed him to discern the silhouettes of wandering zombies. Fortunately, Lin Mo resided in the eastern outskirts, a less developed area where the population was sparse. The only densely populated location was a pedestrian street about a kilometer away. Lin Mo, my sister and I will head back now, Lofi remarked, noticing the late hour. The primary reason for her departure, however, was Lu Yun's presence. Had Lu Yun not been there, she would have preferred to linger, reluctant to leave Lin Mo's side. Upon hearing her words, Lin Mo furrowed his brow and cautioned, returning is fine. But do remember to lock the door and barricade it with a heavy object. Regardless of who knocks, do not open the door. As he spoke, he cast a casual glance at Jiang Yu. Jiang Yu rolled her eyes in silence, realizing that rest was not on the agenda for the night. Lofi, with Lu Yun in tow, opened the door and cast one last reluctant glance at Lin Mo before turning to close it. The room was left with only Jiang Yu and Lin Mo. Well, I'm off to take a shower, Jiang Yu announced. Go ahead, just remember to wash thoroughly. Lin Mo teased. Jiang Yu shot him a disapproving look before entering the bathroom. Lin Mo stood on the balcony, deep in thought. Perhaps that method was indeed viable. He turned, extending his hand, causing the coffee table to vanish, the distant sofa to disappear, and even the far-off teacup to cease to exist. After repeated tests, Lin Mo discovered that his collection range was approximately 5 meters. This revelation further solidified his resolve. He was determined to act. Without hesitation, Lin Mo opened the bathroom door. Are you trying to scare me to death? Jiang Yu exclaimed, staring at Lin Mo in disbelief. Come on, we've seen each other before. Why the shyness? I just wanted to inform you that I'm stepping out for a moment and will return shortly. Upon learning that Lin Mo had business to attend to, Jiang Yu, disregarding her earlier modesty, inquired, what do you need to do? It's dangerous outside. Do you want me to accompany you? Feeling warmth in his heart at her concern, Lin Mo gently ruffled her hair and retrieved his handgun. With this, I doubt anyone will pose a threat. Besides, I'm only staying on this floor. You needn't worry. All right then, just be careful, Jiang Yu replied, visibly relieved. Lin Mo waved her off and exited through the door. Earlier, while observing the zombies below, he had noticed that they appeared closer to the building than before. Lin Mo suspected this was due to the gunshots he had fired earlier. After all, the weapon lacked a silencer, with its loud report effectively signaling to the zombies that there were living beings within. However, his current thoughts were unrelated to that. Lin Mo approached room 506. Turning on the light, he proceeded to collect the refrigerator, coffee table, and television cabinet into his storage space. Subsequently, he spent 1 energy point from the system to exchange for 10 glow sticks. After igniting one and tossing it vertically, its landing spot was illuminated clearly. There were quite a few, though he was uncertain how many would actually hit their target. Without hesitation, Lin Mo hurled the largest bed downwards. Boom. The resounding crash attracted the zombies in the vicinity. The outcome was as he had anticipated. Ping. Killed 0 level zombie. Strength 1. Energy point 2. Ping. Killed 0 level zombie. Strength 2. Energy point 4. Ping. Killed 0 level zombie. Constitution 1. Energy point 2. Ping. Killed 0 level zombie. Agility 3. Energy point 6. Lin Mo opened the system panel, nodding in satisfaction at the stream of notifications. He glanced down at the gathered zombies, noting that they had amassed sufficiently, and tossed the coffee table down as well. Boom. Almost every few minutes, Lin Mo would discard another item into the abyss below. By the time he had exhausted all throwable objects from room 506, he had only managed to eliminate around 60 zombies. Lin Mo accessed his personal information panel. Host. Lin Mo. Level. 0. Experience. 69,100. Attributes. Strength. 50. Constitution. 39. Agility. 43. Spirit. 26. Awakening ability. None. Storage space. 1,000 cubic meters. Energy points. 133. Affection points. 10. Skills. Exclusive passive plunder. 67. Unique technique. Dragon and Phoenix soaring skill. Lin Mo stroked his chin, pondering the discrepancies in his data. It seemed rather low, considering he had slain over 60 zombies. Why did he possess only such a meager amount of points? Furthermore, he did not feel the surge of energy flowing through his body as he did when using his firearm against the zombies. It was merely a slight increase in attributes and energy points compared to using a gun. When faced with uncertainty, one must consult the system. Long-range kills of zombies do not yield evolutionary energy. Energy requires a medium, even something as simple as a wooden stick. As for your experience, it is a result of the system. Others cannot advance through this method of killing zombies. Now I understand. So, does this mean I possess an advantage over ordinary individuals? While others cannot gain such benefits, I can ascend through this method thanks to the system. Nevertheless, Lin Mo had no intention of relying solely on this approach, for it significantly diminished the number of attribute points gained. In close combat, using a blade to slay zombies would not only grant him a point or two from the system, but also the attributes obtained from the zombies themselves. Now, he was left with only the system's rewards, devoid of the additional attributes provided by the zombies, resulting in a considerable loss. Yet, he was still vastly stronger than the average person. Upon returning home, Jiang Yu hurriedly approached Lin Mo, inspecting his body. That noise earlier was you, wasn't it? Were you hurt? Lin Mo grasped Jiang Yu's hands reassuringly. I'm fine. I was just next door, and nothing happened. Now, let us get some rest. He swept her up in a princess carry. You scared me, Jiang Yu exclaimed, clearly taken aback by his sudden action. Once inside their room, Lin Mo shut the door behind them, eliciting a surprised gasp from Jiang Yu. It was not apparent that your capital was so substantial. Perhaps you simply overlooked it yesterday. Clearly, he had forgotten the structure of the adjacent dwelling, room 508. Sister, Chapter 10. She was utterly exhausted from training. Just past midnight. A notification from the system chimed. Ding. Jiang Yu's critical affection level reached 999. Lin Mo exclaimed, how could it be so high? At that moment, he comprehended why the limit was set at 1,000 and why the manner of interaction was emphasized. It was all becoming clear. No wonder the items in the shop were so exorbitantly priced. It was because there were ways to gain more affection points. What's wrong? I just suddenly thought of something more interesting next door, 508. Sister, I can't sleep. Luo Yun glanced at the wall in exasperation, after staying there for several days. She was surprised to discover how poorly the walls insulated sound. As for yesterday, it was likely due to sleeping early or some other reason. Regardless, she had slept quite soundly. Closing her eyes, she drifted off to sleep almost immediately. Luo Fei tightly shut her eyes, trying not to listen to the noise from next door. Had she turned on the light, Luo Yun would have noticed that her sister's face was unusually flushed. I want to sleep too, but it's too noisy. Why don't you go tell him? Luo Fei rolled her eyes at her sister. If you go, you'll just end up sleeping alone. Sleep, I'll go take a shower. Luo Fei quickly jumped out of bed and dashed into the bathroom. Luo Yun stared blankly at the ceiling. 3 hours later, the noise from next door finally ceased. Luo Yun let out a sigh of relief. God knows how many positions she had tried, yet sleep eluded her. Now, she could finally rest. She couldn't help but mutter to herself, is this person a workhorse? Unceasing and tireless in their labor. She vigorously hugged the pillow between her legs and gradually succumbed to slumber. The next morning, Lin Mo stood on the balcony, feeling refreshed. Today was significantly better than yesterday. He had felt noticeably sore in his legs the day before, but today he felt nothing at all. This attribute was indeed beneficial, providing unexpected effects. He opened the system to check his data. The increase in affection points caught his attention. Ding. Luo Fei's affection increased by 5. Ding. Luo Yun's affection increased by 5. Ding. Jiang Yu's affection increased by 5. Hadn't Luo Yun and Luo Fei returned to their rooms? How could their affection levels rise? Weren't the conditions supposed to be within a 4-meter radius for 3 hours? Unless. Lin Mo's expression shifted as he evidently pieced something together. This was not particularly good news. He had not noticed the room's layout yesterday and had not anticipated that the bedrooms of the 2 units were adjacent. This could become quite awkward. At 10 o'clock, a knock sounded at the door. Lin Mo casually opened it to find Luo Yun and Luo Fei standing at the threshold. Their faces weary. They had intended to sleep early, but due to the quality of sleep, thanks to Lin Mo, it had been less than satisfactory. Good morning. Let us have breakfast together. Lin Mo set out several cans of 8 treasure porridge and some bread on the table. Luo Fei nonchalantly glanced at the closed door. But recalling their conversation from the previous day, she deemed this behavior rather normal. Where's Jiang Yu? Lin Mo replied earnestly. Oh, it's not the end of the world. She mentioned she wanted to train, but it seems she may have overexerted herself. Luo Yun and Luo Fei's eyes twitched in unison. They had never encountered such brazen audacity. They were not deaf, after all. With a creak, Jiang Yu emerged from her room, albeit with a somewhat awkward gait. Upon seeing the Luo sisters, her cheeks flushed. They probably had no idea. Since you're feeling better, let us eat quickly. We aim to clear 2 floors today. Lin Mo's plan was straightforward, to gather supplies from this building while awakening his abilities. Once he awakened, he intended to take them outside to hunt zombies and find potential safe havens. Naturally, if his powers were the same as in his past life, he would have to rely solely on physical strength. At 11 o'clock, the group set out again, heading straight for the 6th floor. Upon reaching the 6th floor, Lin Mo prepared to start from the beginning. There were relatively more people on this floor. In the first 3 rooms, they dispatched 8 zombies, including 2 that appeared to be children, likely around 7 years old. Alas, what a tragedy that such young children have turned into zombies. Who knows? It just happened all of a sudden. The sight of the 3 rooms evoked a sense of melancholy in the 3 women. However, Lin Mo felt indifferent. In comparison to what lay ahead, this was trivial. He was more intrigued by the system notifications. Ding. Jiang Yu killed a level 0 zombie. Host gains 1 energy point. Ding. Luo Fei killed a level 0 zombie. Host gains 1 energy point. This notification appeared 6 times. This meant Lin Mo had done nothing and yet earned 6 energy points. While seemingly insignificant now, what if there were more people? 10, 100, or even 1,000? Of course, that was a bit exaggerated, but imagine if level 0 zombies were replaced by level 3 or level 4. Regardless, the efficacy of this was astonishing. Upon reaching the door of room 604, Lin Mo was about to knock when the door swung open. Everyone immediately prepared for combat. After yesterday's experience, the 3 women heightened their guard. Regardless of the intentions behind the door, it was prudent to be cautious. Hello, are you part of the rescue team? A man inside inquired hesitantly. Lin Mo shook his head. We are not part of the rescue team. Lin Mo squinted at the man, glancing into the room through the crack in the door, a faint smile playing on his lips. I thought you were part of the rescue team. Since you're not, I'll be closing the door. Bang. The door slammed shut, and the man inside even locked it. I was under the impression that only women lived here. I didn't expect there to be a man. Upon hearing Jiang Yu's words, Lin Mo felt curious. Why do you say that? Look at the shoe rack outside the door. All the shoes are women's. There isn't a single pair belonging to a man. Jiang Yu pointed at the small shoe rack by the door. If there were indeed a man living here, it would be impossible for there to be only women's shoes. Lin Mo shook his head. Perhaps you are right. Let us move on to the next one. From the scar on the man's neck, Lin Mo had already deduced the situation inside. He had a rough idea of what had transpired, but it had nothing to do with him. These were the actions of those who considered themselves heroes. He merely wished to remain alive. Upon reaching room 605, he opened the door to find it empty and devoid of zombies. As per usual, let us gather anything useful, and I will take it with me. Hey, look, chapter 11. Sleep early tonight, or risk poor rest. Inside the bedroom, Luo Yun's voice echoed. The 2 women followed in curiosity, while Lin Mo continued to collect items from the room. Lin Mo, come take a look. Is this person the man next door? Jiang Yu called out to Lin Mo. Lin Mo shook his head and stepped into the room. There, 3 women held a picture frame, within which was a man wearing gold-rimmed glasses and dressed in a suit. The background suggested it was during an award ceremony, and he held a certificate indicating his position as manager. Indeed, it was the man from next door. Oh, so this room belongs to that man, while the owner of the adjacent room is a woman. Though Jiang Yu did not finish her thought, everyone understood the implication. Well, none of this concerns us. We must focus on ourselves. Remember, this is the apocalypse, so caution is paramount regardless of whom we encounter. The 3 women exchanged glances and nodded. They felt fortunate to have met Lin Mo. Otherwise, they could not fathom the outcome. The trio continued their search on the 6th floor. Once they completed their search, almost every room contained at least 1 zombie, and 2 rooms had people inside. When Lin Mo knocked, the person inside opened the door, but quickly closed it upon realizing they were not part of a rescue team. Lin Mo did not attempt to seize their belongings, as he found them utterly unworthy of his attention. Continuing with the 3 women, they ascended the stairs. They worked swiftly, and by 5 in the afternoon, they had cleared 2.5 floors, with only a few rooms remaining. Upon reaching room 810, Lin Mo knocked, but no sound came from within. Using a tool, he opened the door. A kitchen knife loomed large in Lin Mo's sight, and suddenly, a man lunged at him. The man swung at Lin Mo, who frowned, recognizing he did not know him, yet the man's aggressive intent was palpable. Since you struck first, do not blame me. Lin Mo unsheathed his knife and countered. Limited by his weapon, the man's arm was merely fractured, not severed. Ah! The man collapsed, helplessly wailing. Lin Mo shook his head and swung his knife again, granting him an earlier release. The 3 women were still processing the scene when this farce concluded. What was the matter with this man, attacking without provocation? Jiang Yu asked, puzzled. Lin Mo shook his head, equally bewildered. It was only the second day, surely. One should not resort to murder just yet. However, recalling the man they had encountered earlier, it was possible that some individuals, witnessing the chaos, succumbed to their darker impulses. Never mind, let us proceed with caution and check for any others. If there is any sign of hostility, we will eliminate them, regardless of age or gender. In the apocalypse, women and children are often the most dangerous, as their seemingly harmless appearances can easily disarm vigilance. As they entered the room, a strong stench of blood assailed their senses. Clearly, this room was devoid of life. With such a powerful odor, anyone still alive would likely have perished. Indeed, in the bedroom, they discovered the corpse of a woman, her pants missing and her body riddled with stab wounds. TSK, it seems couples are most likely to turn against each other, but what could have driven this? Lin Mo glanced at the wedding photo on the bedside table, utterly perplexed. The other three women shared his confusion, unable to comprehend such behavior. If it were two strangers or roommates, it might be understandable, but a married couple? The four conducted a thorough search of the area before proceeding to the next room. Half an hour later, Lin Mo checked the food supplies in his space, confirming they would last them a month, and that was with casual consumption. Let us go. The 8th floor is cleared. Tomorrow, after we finish the 3rd floor, we can leave. What about the upper levels? Luo Yun looked at Lin Mo in surprise. Did we not agree to take everything? No, we must seize the moment and occupy a supermarket. We also need medical supplies and a place to settle. The three women nodded. Since Lin Mo had spoken, they would follow his lead. At 9 that evening, the Luo sisters prepared to depart. As they opened the front door, Luo Fei cast a resentful glance at Lin Mo. Get some rest early tonight. Otherwise, you won't recuperate well. Lin Mo rubbed his nose. Yes, don't worry. It won't be an issue tonight. Luo Yun looked at Lin Mo and then at Jiang Yu. She was certain that the night would not pass quietly. What activity? I am unaware. Jiang Yu smiled at Lin Mo. You truly do not know? Since you're oblivious, I shall teach you what true aerobic exercise entails tonight. Jiang Yu shot him a glare. I believe that is not aerobic exercise, but rather oxygen-depriving exercise. Her previous experiences had only strengthened her resolve to recruit Luo Fei, and if possible, to include her sister as well. 3 individuals should suffice. If not, they could always add more. It was not that she wanted to monopolize, but rather that she could hardly bear the burden alone. She wished for more days of rest. If this continued daily, she would collapse from exhaustion before the zombies could even reach her. Previously, her friends often claimed that men only lasted 3 to 5 minutes, never exceeding an hour. Utter nonsense. Lin Mo was oblivious to her thoughts, focused solely on venturing into the adjacent rooms to eliminate more zombies, hoping to awaken his latent abilities. I will step out for a moment. You can amuse yourself at home. Without allowing Jiang Yu a moment to respond, he exited the room. His speed was swift, but the military was swifter still. In the early days of the apocalypse, those with abilities in the military were the most numerous and powerful. Yet, even they could not withstand the later surges of zombies. Therefore, he needed to expedite his pace. Not only he, but the other 3 as well. Arriving next door, Lin Mo looked down and saw the same zombies as yesterday. However, the items thrown previously had blocked the entrance, preventing the zombies from advancing. Lin Mo had to choose another room. In a different room, he tossed down a glow stick. After surveying the number of zombies, he nodded. These would be sufficient for his ascension. He casually threw down a teacup. Crash! The sound of shattering glass drew the nearby zombies toward the noise. Seeing that the crowd had gathered, Lin Mo began throwing more items down. Refrigerators, coffee tables, beds, all crashing to the ground. Ding! Killed 0-level zombie. Gained 2 strength. For energy points, ding. Killed 0-level zombie. Gained 3 spirit, 6 energy points, ding. Chapter 12, Awakening, ding. Congratulations, host level has risen to 1. Reward, a fully equipped dimensional RV. A matte black RV materialized in Lin Mo's space. Upon inspecting it with his consciousness, he gasped in astonishment. Wow! The vehicle stood nearly 3 meters high, with a chassis half a meter off the ground. It spanned over 4 meters in width. The tires alone were over a meter in diameter and about half a meter wide. It resembled an armored vehicle more than a recreational vehicle, and Lin Mo could hardly discern its resemblance to one. The system provides a brief introduction. The all-terrain dimensional vehicle can traverse any road conditions. Enveloped in bulletproof armor and equipped with bulletproof glass, it boasts an energy shield capable of withstanding a full-force attack from a 9th-tier ability user for half an hour. The interior is a dimensional space, featuring 5 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. Is this truly a vehicle? It resembles a mobile fortress. The system further elaborates that this vehicle is also armed with various weapons. However, it currently only possesses a chainsaw blade for clearing zombies in its path. Other components must be installed at Lin Mo's expense. Nevertheless, this is sufficient. With this vehicle, Lin Mo can venture wherever he desires. Most importantly, it requires no fuel, as it is equipped with water, electricity, and gas. After inspecting the all-terrain vehicle, Lin Mo remembers that he has awakened his abilities and hastily attunes himself to his powers. As in his previous life, he possesses a psychic ability. Alas, he had hoped that this second chance would grant him different powers. But it seems he has been overly optimistic. Nothing has changed. While psychic abilities sound formidable, they are indeed quite powerful. However, they are challenging to assess. When confronting zombies, at least in the early stages, Lin Mo finds them of little use. Zombies lack brains, particularly at this stage, which means they cannot be influenced by psychic energy. Yet, against humans, this ability proves nearly unstoppable. Those whose mental strength is inferior to that of a psychic ability user are almost invariably susceptible to psychic attacks. This illustrates the potency of this skill. Conversely, psychic ability users tend to have relatively low physical capabilities. Although awakening enhances their attributes somewhat, their base attributes are already limited, resulting in minimal improvement. In the later stages of the apocalypse, Lin Mo encountered fewer than 5 high-tier psychic ability users, many of whom perished in the first year of the apocalypse. However, this time will be different. With the system, Lin Mo's strength is assured. He has become a warrior-type psychic ability user. Lin Mo opens his attribute panel, and indeed, the data is astonishingly high. Host, Lin Mo, rank, Tier 1. Experience, 0-100, attributes, strength, 93, constitution, 81, agility, 87. Mental, 69, awakened ability, Tier 1 mental spike, storage space, 1000 cubic. Energy points, 197. Favorability, 1024. Skills, exclusive passive plunder, 0-100. Unique technique, Dragon Phoenix Leisure Technique. This data is simply invincible. As a psychic ability user, who would believe his strength attribute has reached such heights? Even a Tier 1 strength type ability user might not surpass these figures. It feels incredibly satisfying. Lin Mo glances at the zombies below, deciding it is best to handle them himself. He realizes he has likely wasted numerous value points on these 100 zombies. Otherwise, his current points would be 20 higher. Returning to the room, Jiangyu is lying on the bed, engrossed in her phone. Can the phone still be used? Of course, it can still function and even stream videos. However, some areas appear to be without service, reportedly due to damaged signal towers. Jiangyu shows Lin Mo a video about zombies on her phone. At this moment, Lin Mo has no time to watch videos. The long night is devoid of sleep. So he suggests a conversation about life. Can we speak properly? Jiangyu retorts, wrapping herself in a blanket, exposing only her shoulders. I was merely joking. I just wanted to sing you a song. What song? Big White Rabbit, 2 red eyes rising. Lin Mo explains the song's rise to fame in a detailed, yet accessible manner. They lower their voices to avoid disturbing the neighboring Luo sisters, but at times, their animated discussions become difficult to contain, especially Jiangyu, who struggles to maintain composure during heated exchanges. Lin Mo finds himself having to silence her until she calms down. Next door, Luo Yun stares intently at the wall, her teeth clenched. How can anyone endure this? She thinks, recalling the damp clothes still hanging on the balcony. With a deep sigh, she turns to Luo Fei. Sister, when will this end? Why can't he be more considerate? Luo Fei, observing her sister's flushed face, can't help but chuckle. It seems her sister is growing up. However, Lin Mo and Jiangyu are indeed being excessive by staying awake so late. Alright, I have earplugs. Let's manage with these for now. Luo Fei sighs, her mind involuntarily drawn into the situation. Luo Yun contemplates the earplugs in her hands. What else can she do? She rolls the soft earplugs into thin shapes and inserts them into her ears, waiting for them to expand. Once expanded, the earplugs will conform to the shape of her ears, effectively muffling most sounds. As she realizes she can no longer hear the commotion outside, she closes her eyes in satisfaction, finally able to sleep. A week later, Lin Mo and the 3 women stand in the lobby of the building. Over the course of the week, they have eradicated all the zombies in the building. They have also encountered numerous survivors, but Lin Mo chose not to intervene, allowing them the opportunity to survive on their own. Along the way, they encountered some overconfident individuals attempting to seize their supplies. But Jiang Yu and the others handled them without requiring Lin Mo's intervention. From their initial trepidation to their current cold detachment, The three women have grown remarkably during this week. Now that the outside is swarming with zombies, how do we get out? They observe the clearly visible horde through the glass of the unit door. Although Lin Mo has dispatched some zombies, their numbers remain substantial. Don't worry. We'll find a spot with fewer zombies and clear a path. I've acquired something remarkable. During this time, there is also good news. Luo Yun's favorability has reached 97. This means that after today, her favorability will be maxed out, and Lin Mo will receive a reward. Let us go. Chapter 13. The first target. Medicine. Lin Mo leads the three women through several rooms until they finally locate a suitable spot. Be quiet and swift. Don't attract any other zombies. The three women nod, following Lin Mo as they leap out the window. Before them stand only 7 or 8 zombies, which they dispatch with little effort. Lin Mo retrieves the dimensional RV from his storage. Although he had an inkling of its size while it was in storage, the impact upon its removal is even more pronounced. Truly, it is a marvel of the system, absolutely invincible. The vehicle stands nearly 3 meters tall, approaching 4 meters in height. The three women stare in astonishment. If memory serves, Lin Mo had been with them the entire time. There simply was no time to deal with the vehicle, and moreover, this car lacked both a license plate and a brand insignia. It appeared remarkably new. However, the three women did not inquire further. They understood what questions were appropriate and which were best left unasked. Lin Mo climbed into the driver's seat, turned the ignition key, and located the button for the side door among a multitude of controls. Once opened, he urged the three women to hurry. Get in quickly. Once we are inside, we will be safe. As long as we are in the car, no matter how many zombies are present, they will pose no threat to us. The three women promptly entered through the side door and shut it behind them with a bang. The sound of the door closing attracted nearby zombies. Lin Mo grinned. It was the perfect opportunity to test the vehicle's efficacy against the undead. He gently pressed the accelerator, and the car moved forward a few paces. The vehicle operated quietly, thus only the zombies directly in front were drawn nearer. Those farther away remained oblivious. Lin Mo scanned the area and noted that only zombies within a 10-meter radius were lured in. Anything beyond that was unaffected. As he collided with a zombie, the wheels crushed it effortlessly, barely registering any impact on the vehicle. Ding. Killed a rank 0 zombie. Gained 2 spirit points for energy points. Lin Mo quickly opened his information panel, and, as he suspected, only his spirit attribute had changed. This seemed no different from dispatching zombies with a coffee table, which felt somewhat disappointing. Naturally accrued attribute points were lost, and the plundering effect at rank 1 only yielded a mere 100 points. If all of those were spent on rank 0 zombies, it would undoubtedly be a waste. He resolved that he simply could not drive. Jiangyu, you take the wheel. Let us stop at the pharmacy on the way. We need to gather some supplies. All right, I'm on it, Jiangyu replied, taking over the driver's seat. However, Lin Mo did not move to the back, but rather settled into the passenger seat. Is there anything we can assist with? Luo Fei inquired from behind. No need. Just stay back there. Lin Mo shook his head. It was merely driving, after all. Jiangyu maneuvered the vehicle slowly onto the road. The zombies she struck, as Lin Mo had anticipated, did not trigger the plundering effect. However, she did benefit from the link effect. Ding. Jiangyu killed a rank 0 zombie. Gained 1 energy point. Ding. Jiangyu killed a rank 0 zombie. Gained 2 energy points. Within just a few dozen meters, a flurry of notifications erupted. Lin Mo's energy points visibly surged. Lin Mo, look. There's a group over there fighting zombies, and another one over there, Jiangyu pointed out. Following her gaze, Lin Mo indeed spotted several groups engaged in battle with the undead. Observing their gaunt features, he discerned that they were severely malnourished, clearly forced out in search of food. Moreover, some among them had already sustained injuries. These two groups were unlikely to survive. Their companions would soon turn into zombies. The RV, meanwhile, crawled along the road, drawing envious glances from nearby survivors. Wow, that vehicle resembles an armored car. The sense of security it provides is unparalleled. What good is that? It's clearly a gas guzzler. It won't last long before breaking down. Better than nothing. It's certainly safer than we are. Everyone, be quiet and focus. Don't get yourselves killed. Similar conversations unfolded among the nearby groups. While they fretted over food, others had already driven away. Lin Mo's predictions came to fruition. Not long after their departure, several members of the surrounding groups transformed into zombies. Fortunately, some groups reacted swiftly, eliminating their infected comrades before they could turn. After traveling 2 kilometers, Jiangyu spotted a large chain pharmacy ahead. Lin Mo, what do you think about that store? It's good. Try to get as close to the entrance as possible. Jiangyu deftly turned the steering wheel, and the vehicle barreled forward, sending zombies flying. Notifications continued to pop up before Lin Mo's eyes, prompting him to disable them. With a screech, the car came to a halt, and the nearby zombies began to converge. Lin Mo, however, paid them no mind and proceeded to the rear of the vehicle. This was Lin Mo's first time exploring the interior. The cabin was not dissimilar to an ordinary RV, featuring a bathroom, kitchen, bed, and tea table, all the essentials. Puzzled, he recalled that he had been told there were numerous rooms. Host, the door on the right side of the vehicle opens into a dimensional space. Oh, so that is how it is, he mused. No wonder. Yet, now was not the time to admire rooms. He needed to deal with what lay beneath the vehicle first. After all, those were energy points. In the middle of the cabin, he found a door on the floor and pressed the handle. It sprang open. Grasping the handle, he turned to the three women. When I open this, you all take action. I will refrain from intervening. The primary objective is to awaken your abilities. He was in no rush. In fact, he contemplated forming an all-female combat team composed entirely of high-level abilities, allowing him to lounge at home. However, for the sake of his own strength, he would not pursue such a course of action just yet. Still, the idea of a female combat squad lingered in his mind. As Lin Mo pulled the hidden door, a zombie was conveniently positioned beneath. Whoosh! Luo Fei reacted swiftly, delivering a fatal blow that pierced the zombie's skull. As the undead crumpled, more zombies below were drawn in by the scent of humanity. It was then that Luo Fei showcased her prowess. Jiang Yu and Luo Yun watched the scene unfold, reluctantly lowering their weapons. There was little they could do. Their weapons were simply not as effective. After 5 minutes without any new zombies appearing, Lin Mo approached the driver's seat and pressed one of the buttons. Steel plates descended around the vehicle, sealing it off securely. Let us disembark. Lin Mo opened the door and was the first to step outside, finding the area near the entrance devoid of zombies. He glanced at the pharmacy's entrance, raising an eyebrow. Turning back to the three women, he advised, Chapter 14, clearing the pharmacy. The door is locked from the inside. There must be someone inside, so let us proceed with caution. Rather than resorting to brute force, Lin Mo opted for tools to unlock the door. Once opened, he left the vehicle outside and led the three women inside. Without looking back, he instructed, lock the door behind us. He began to survey the entirety of the pharmacy. The store was spacious, roughly 200 square meters, with shelves stocked full of various medications. Assessing the situation, he noted that all the medicines were neatly arranged, and there were no signs of struggle on the floor. Either there was a back exit and the occupants had fled, or there was only one person who had hidden away, or perhaps the occupants had been cohesive and organized, with someone leading them. Given that it had been over a week since the apocalypse began, the third possibility was easily dismissed. In a large group, conflicts over resources were inevitable. It was unlikely that everything remained so tranquil. Lin Mo treaded lightly, advancing deeper into the store, his long knife firmly in hand. The three women followed at a distance of 3 to 4 meters, maintaining a buffer. Upon reaching a door, he surmised it likely led to their storage area. In the dimly lit storage room, a woman clad in a white coat crouched in the corner, a scalpel clutched in her hand. Her stockings were tattered, and the clothing beneath her coat was similarly torn. Beside her lay a male corpse, the blood on the ground long dried, indicating that he had been dead for some time, yet no foul odor lingered in the air. Lin Mo stood at the doorway, not hastily entering. Regrettably, he was only at the first tier. Had he been at the second, he would possess the mental acuity to sense the number of individuals inside without needing to step in. He gently knocked on the door, confirming that there were no zombies within before placing his hand on the doorknob. Twisting the handle, he found it indeed locked from the inside. With a resounding kick, he forced the door open. The woman in the corner covered her mouth, her scalpel trembling slightly. Lin Mo's gaze immediately fell upon the male corpse on the floor. Raising an eyebrow, a swift death, perhaps, he scanned the room, noting the absence of other figures, suggesting they had hidden themselves away. Will you emerge voluntarily? Or shall I venture inside? I happen to have 10 companions with me. It would be wise to show yourself rather than face an unceremonious fate. Despite his formidable strength, he believed caution was prudent. Upon hearing that there were 10 individuals, the woman, recalling how this man had locked the door, felt a flicker of belief. What should she do? Should she step outside? Gripping the scalpel, she contemplated suicide as a last resort, determined not to let the man outside triumph. She pressed the blade against her neck, slowly stepping out of the shadows. Seeing her emerge, Lin Mo's eyes brightened. Name, Hu Shiyun. Age, 27. Rating, 89. Affection level, 10. Such a high rating. But what on earth is this affection level? Why is it negative? Nevertheless, it would improve in time. Although Lin Mo was undeniably handsome, Hu Shiyun remained vigilant, prepared to take her own life at a moment's notice. In recent days, the man in the storage room had gazed at her with increasingly malevolent eyes. Just yesterday, he had finally lashed out at her. His grotesque visage was one she would never forget. Had it not been for being in the storage room, she might not have been able to retaliate. Do not be alarmed. We merely seek some medical supplies. Lin Mo genuinely worried that a tremor of her hand might lead to a disastrous outcome. Aside from bandaging and administering medication, he possessed little else in the way of medical knowledge. Should she injure her neck, it would likely result in a fate far worse than mere bleeding. She could very well strangle herself with his bandages. Hu Shiyun did not relax at his words. As she stepped fully into the room, she caught sight of 3 women behind Lin Mo, momentarily taken aback. The trio appeared to be in good spirits, suggesting they had not suffered any injustice. Could this man before her truly be a good person? Lin Mo raised an eyebrow. Noting that her affection level had dropped to 0, it seemed that affection could indeed fluctuate on its own. Why, then, did Luo Yun still rely on the system? Was it more challenging to build affection later on? Once you have gathered the supplies, I suggest you depart promptly, Hu Shiyun said, leaning against the wall with a subdued tone. Very well. Lin Mo turned to Luo Fei, signaling her to engage with Hu Shiyun, ideally to bring her into their fold. Both her rating and her medical expertise were of great import to Lin Mo. A knowledgeable healer was invaluable to any team, second only to those in combat roles. Having spent considerable time with Lin Mo, Luo Fei could surmise his intentions. Moreover, observing Hu Shiyun's appearance, she grasped the situation. You are mistaken. We mean you no harm, she reassured the startled woman. The world outside is teeming with zombies. Survival alone is nearly impossible. Seeing the gentle demeanor of Luo Fei, Hu Shiyun slowly lowered the scalpel, though she did not relinquish her grip. You must be hungry. Please, have something to eat. Luo Fei retrieved an unopened bag of bread and a bottle of mineral water from her backpack. These were rather mundane provisions, seldom consumed by the group due to their preference for meat and rice. Yet for Hu Shiyun, they were a boon. Initially, she and another man had managed to eat instant noodles, but soon resorted to mere vitamins and glucose. Though still plagued by hunger, she was at least spared from starvation. When she had heard of a rescue team, she had dreamt daily of their arrival, but a week had passed, leaving her heart heavy with despair. As she munched on the bread, Hu Shiyun cast furtive glances at Lin Mo and the others. Their demeanor gave her no sense of malice. In fact, the 3 women appeared quite content. Perhaps the man before her was not so wicked. Finishing the bread, she took only a quarter of the water. Deciding to save the rest, Lin Mo quickly cleared the room of all the medical supplies, leaving nothing but a stool and the cash register behind. Let us proceed to the next location, he urged the 3 women, beckoning them to follow. Lin Mo, we should take this young lady with us. Luo Fei implored with a pleading look that Hu Shiyun interpreted as sincere. Lin Mo hesitated, expressing doubt. We are already struggling with 4. She may prove to be a burden, but it is perilous for her to be alone, Luo Fei countered. Given her experience in the pharmacy, she must possess considerable medical knowledge. Luo Fei exchanged knowing glances with Hu Shiyun, whispering, Sister, we have seen countless victims of the undead and those slain by humans. It is far too dangerous to travel alone. Our captain is genuinely kind-hearted. Hu Shiyun studied Luo Fei and the other 2 women, her resolve solidifying as she fixed her gaze on Lin Mo. I do have some understanding of medicine. I hope you will consider taking me with you. Chapter 15. Joining casting a glance at the 3 women, Hu Shiyun made her decision. If this man truly bore ill intentions, she could still take her own life. With that thought, she tightened her grip on the scalpel and looked up at Lin Mo. I am a clinical medicine graduate from Fengjing Medical University, having just completed my studies this year. While I cannot claim to be an expert, I can at least identify basic ailments. I hope you will allow me to join your group. A smile crept onto Lin Mo's lips. See, this is precisely what we needed. Her age made sense. After all, it was common for medical students to graduate later than expected. Reluctantly, he acquiesced, then come along with us, but should you prove unhelpful in medical matters, you will be left behind. Lin Mo's words were earnest. While her appearance was appealing, he could not afford to carry a liability. He sought a team that was both highly rated and skilled. I understand, Hu Shiyun replied, lowering her defenses. Let us go. With that, Lin Mo took the lead, unlocking the door and stepping into the vehicle. After everyone boarded the vehicle, Lin Mo turned to Jiang Yu and said, You drive. Our next destination is the villa area in the eastern suburbs. Lin Mo settled into the passenger seat, engrossed in scrolling through videos on his phone. Meanwhile, the Luo sisters engaged in conversation with Hu Shiyun. Lin Mo glanced at the rearview mirror, nodding in satisfaction. Jiang Yu leaned in and whispered, Are you attracted to her beauty? Or is it her role as a pharmacy salesperson that piques your interest? Both, Lin Mo replied. Even if Hu Shiyun isn't a medical student, working in a pharmacy implies she has some knowledge of pharmacology. Among us, we only recognize common medications like cold medicine, anti-inflammatory drugs, and painkillers. Beyond that, we know very little. Even superhumans can sustain injuries, and medications shouldn't be taken lightly. We are not cultivators who can expel toxins from our bodies. What if we took the wrong medicine and faced dire consequences? Come on. I believe you're simply enamored by her looks. If you were genuinely seeking a doctor, why not go to a hospital? Well, you're spot on. But that would be troublesome. Think of how many zombies are in hospitals. It would be a hassle for us to navigate through. Lin Mo's assertion was indeed valid. Hospitals were swarmed with thousands of zombies, making entry nearly impossible. Suddenly, a helicopter roared overhead. Look, Lin Mo, there's a helicopter in the sky, someone pointed out. It must be the rescue team, but they are likely only assisting important figures. Ordinary people wouldn't have enough helicopters for rescue operations. Back in the day, rescuers entered the city from the ground, but they only managed to stay on the outskirts. The city center won't be accessible for at least another half-month. Let us disregard those helicopters. Our aim is the suburbs, Lin Mo directed. Captain, look at that vehicle below, Wang Hao remarked, glancing down at the black RV slowly traversing the street. It must belong to some wealthy individual. It certainly seems robust enough to withstand a horde of zombies. Indeed, being affluent has its advantages, the captain replied. But money has become worthless now. It serves no purpose. Lin Mo and his companions arrived at a villa area that was eerily quiet, with fewer than 100 zombies nearby. If we clear this place, it can serve as our base, he suggested. Let us charge ahead and find an unoccupied villa to settle in. I've considered staying in the vehicle, but not at this moment. For now, I want to avoid any actions that might count as looting. He intended to wait until the first wave of zombies evolved before making any decisive moves. Jiang Yu maneuvered the vehicle, crashing through the barriers and into the villa area. Upon reaching a villa, Lin Mo peered through the window and spotted a lone zombie wandering inside. This one will do. Let us go in and check. Utilizing tools, he skillfully opened the front door and swiftly dispatched the zombie with his blade. You three check the basement. I'll handle the upstairs. As for you, stay put. Lin Mo instructed, glancing at Hu Shiyun, who lacked any combat skills and would only be a burden. 10 minutes later, they reconvened in the living room. The upstairs was clear, just one zombie. What about downstairs? Nothing but some liquor, they replied. All right, we will temporarily use this place as our base. Starting tomorrow, everyone will begin training, focusing on strength and combat skills. To survive in this apocalypse, one must possess strength, otherwise, all is in vain. Given the current situation, Lin Mo surmised that many superhumans had already emerged from the military, while their presence in civilian life remained relatively scarce. He glanced at his own status panel. Realizing he could not afford to wait for the zombies to evolve, he needed to advance to level 3 before considering his next steps. Let us prepare dinner, Lin Mo announced, retrieving ingredients from his storage space for everyone to select from. Shouldn't we make a trip to the supermarket first to gather some food? Although fresh produce and meats are unavailable, we could still get rice, flour, eggs, and ham, Luo Fei suggested. I had that in mind. After training tomorrow, we'll head to the largest nearby supermarket, then visit the local wholesale market. Between the two locations, there will be enough supplies to feed 10 people for a century. Moreover, there are plenty of places with food. Actually, not far from the eastern suburbs, there's a cold storage center filled with frozen goods, Hu Shiyun interjected. Let us add that to our plan, Luo Yun chimed in. There's also a processing factory nearby. We should check it out. I remember there being many food processing plants. Food will always be our top priority, Lin Mo agreed. So, we'll make rounds to these locations in the coming days. He pondered whether his current capacity of 1,000 cubic units would suffice to store all these supplies. Across the street from their villa, several men observed the vehicle parked at Lin Mo's door. Behind them lay two cold corpses, a man and a woman. Boss, someone else arrived. Should we go take care of them? One man asked, brandishing a dagger. Forget it. We have enough food for now. Let us avoid unnecessary conflict. The man sitting on the sofa replied, continuing to polish his homemade pistol. But our supplies will only last a month, and there are 4 of us, the man persisted. The sofa-bound man paused, moving to the window to scrutinize the RV across the street. Let us wait until nightfall to act. Chapter 16. What happens when you start shooting upon arrival after dinner? Lin Mo led the 4 women outside. Luo Fei, you can practice on your own. The rest of you follow my lead. I want to practice too. I'm quite good with a bow and arrow, Luo Yun protested, glancing at her long knife with discontent. If someone gets too close, will you stab them with your arrows? We cannot constantly safeguard your safety. You need to be capable of protecting yourself. Fine, Luo Yun acquiesced, casting her gaze downward. She too wished to learn. However, it felt somewhat cumbersome. You three, join me for chopping practice first, then we'll shift to strength training. Lin Mo stood before the trio, demonstrating chopping techniques. Once they grasped the basics, he would only need to provide occasional reminders. As for safety concerns outside, Lin Mo felt no anxiety. The villa was flanked by 2.5-meter-high walls, and although the front was secured by iron fencing, it was largely shielded by their vehicle. Moreover, firearms were not easily accessible to everyone, especially in Huagua. In a place like Freedom Country, Lin Mo might have felt a twinge of concern. As for nearby threats, Lin Mo's mental powers were no trivial matter. With his current psychic strength, he could perceive clearly within a 50-meter radius and vaguely up to 100 meters. As his psychic abilities grew, so would the range of his perception. After an hour of chopping practice, they transitioned to strength training, squats, push-ups, sit-ups. Lin Mo felt parched, occasionally glancing at Luo Fei, hoping tonight would suffice for her training. Given Luo Yun's already high favorability, he anticipated she wouldn't mind as much. Lin Mo turned his gaze towards the direction of the vehicle. Someone was approaching. For individuals, to be precise. Everyone, stand down. We have visitors, he cautioned. Be careful. The four women ceased their training, their clothes drenched in sweat, their exquisite figures laid bare before Lin Mo's eyes. A fervent sensation surged within him, stronger than before. This is peculiar, he mused internally, perplexed at how easily his emotions were ignited now, unlike before. He inquired of the system, what is happening to me? Host. Do not fret. This is merely a minor side effect of the dragon and phoenix leisure technique. He pondered how a man who once prided himself on self-control could now be so easily provoked. Soon, the four men came into view. Pushing open the door and stepping inside, their eyes lit up upon seeing the four women. Bro, these ladies are quite the catch. Let us share them, one for each of us. To them, Lin Mo was already inconsequential. Jiang Yu and the others were merely trophies. All right, I'll pick the leftovers for you. Kid, this villa complex belongs to me, Wang Chuani. Anyone who enters my territory must pay a protection fee. Hand over your food. Wang Chuan, hands shoved in his pockets, regarded Lin Mo with arrogance. He had dealt with numerous pretty boys like him before, mere decorations, lacking substance. Lin Mo chuckled. To be honest, I have no desire for conflict. It would be wise for you to leave. As for your earlier remarks, I shall pretend I did not hear them. Otherwise, it would be quite the joke. Do take a moment to consider whose fists are mightier. Bang, bang, bang. Is that all you've got? Is that big enough? Just as Wang Chuan drew a firearm from behind, Lin Mo swiftly fired 3 shots. Wang Chuan collapsed to the ground, gazing in terror at the gun in Lin Mo's hand. How could this person possess a firearm? His was a homemade piece, purchased years ago. Why was he not adhering to the expected protocol of exchanging harsh words before escalating to gunfire? Blood streamed from Wang Chuan's wrist and knees, saturating the courtyard with a metallic scent. The 3 lackeys accompanying him had long since discarded their weapons, trembling in fear. Lin Mo sighed softly. Despite being human, he had no desire to resort to violence. Yet, when faced with a drawn weapon, he had no choice. One of the lackeys, seeing Lin Mo momentarily distracted, glanced back at the door less than 5 meters away and fled. Bang! The ground was painted red and white. Lin Mo surveyed the remaining 3, then glanced at the pale-faced Hu Shiyun behind him. Bang! Bang! He dispatched 2 of the lackeys, leaving only the incapacitated Wang Chuani. Hu Shiyun, finish him off. He is going to die anyway. May as well let you practice. Upon hearing Lin Mo's command, she shuddered. She had indeed killed someone, but that was in self-defense. A moment of impulse. What? Can't you bring yourself to do it? Lin Mo's gaze bore down on her. Hu Shiyun swallowed hard, gripping the knife tightly as she approached Wang Chuani. I'm just a bit anxious. Closing her eyes, she struck, ending Wang Chuan's life in one swift motion, then turned and ran to the corner to vomit. Lin Mo shook his head. This was not what he had envisioned. Shouldn't a medical student be accustomed to such scenes? How could she falter at the mere act of taking a life? He stored the body in his space, disregarding the blood on the ground. After all, there were few zombies nearby to attract. Just past midnight, Lin Mo stealthily entered Luo Fei's room. Adjusting to the darkness, he slowly pulled back the covers and slipped into bed. However, as soon as his hand brushed against the figure beside him, ding! Luo Yun has achieved a critical favorability rating of 88. Blast! Why is it Luo Yun and not Luo Fei? Ding! Congratulations, host. Favorability with Luo Yun has reached 100, granting a reward of 10 space points. System, You are indeed a timely savior. Knowing we are in search of supplies and upgrading the space directly, suddenly, the person in his arms turned to Lin Mo and whispered, "Did you mistake me for my sister?" Without a moment's hesitation, Lin Mo replied, "How could I? Your heights are distinctly different. I could never mix you up. Then you came looking for me?" "Of course." Lin Mo leaned down slowly, while Luo Yun closed her eyes. 10 minutes later, she cautioned, "You should keep your voice down. Your sister is still here. It's because of you that I'll be mindful," he retorted. At 3:30 in the morning, Lin Mo switched rooms. Ding. Jiang Yu has achieved a critical favorability rating of 999. Upon returning to his room at 7, regret filled Lin Mo's heart. He had lost out significantly with Luo Yun, who only garnered an 88 critical rating. Had he acted sooner, he could have avoided this wasted opportunity. After a brief 2-hour nap, Lin Mo emerged from his room. Jiang Yu and Luo Fei were preparing breakfast, while Luo Yun and Hu Shiyun watched television. Currently, the television only broadcasted news. Residents, please do not panic. The emergency shelters have been confirmed in various cities, and rescue operations have commenced. We hope everyone can find a radio, as future communications will be transmitted via radio waves. Perhaps this would be the last television broadcast. Chapter 17, Supermarket Raids Lin Mo. Do we need to go to this so-called shelter? Jiang Yu inquired curiously. Lin Mo shook his head. Such places are unsuitable for us. Without the dimensional vehicle, I might have sought a safe haven, but with it, I have no intention of staying in one location for long. Official shelters are not on my agenda. Hu Shiyun, why do you look so pale? Are you still shaken from yesterday? Hu Shiyun, sporting dark circles under her eyes, glanced at Lin Mo and shook her head. No, I just didn't sleep well last night. Her room was wedged between Jiang Yu's and the Luo sisters, and who knew what she had endured from midnight to morning. At around 3 or 4 in the morning, the noise had finally ceased, only for another to begin shortly thereafter. Despite the volume lowering, in such a quiet environment, how could she ignore it? She couldn't help but wonder what kind of creature Lin Mo was, with such boundless energy. Are you 3 ladies so willing to serve as beasts of burden? All right, after breakfast, our first stop will be the nearest supermarket, as we agreed yesterday. With Jiang Yu driving and Lin Mo in the passenger seat, they set off, their expressions relaxed, showing no concern for the zombies outside. Lin Mo even felt a chuckle coming on. Ding. Jiang Yu has slain a level 0 zombie, earning 1 energy point. Ding. Jiang Yu has slain another level 0 zombie, earning 2 energy points. The system had not paused throughout their journey. They encountered numerous emaciated groups along the way, each showing signs of malnutrition. As they neared the supermarket, the number of zombies increased. Lin Mo felt relief at not being behind the wheel. Otherwise, his looting abilities would have been squandered. In another week, these zombies would evolve, and then he could hunt with confidence. Although they still encountered first-tier zombies, the likelihood of such encounters was significantly reduced compared to the present. We must approach from the side. The main door cannot be compromised. Lin Mo instructed Jiang Yu as they headed toward the side entrance, preserving the main door to fend off any zombies. After all, should the zombies breach the interior, he would be compelled to take action. Jiang Yu parked the vehicle, and Lin Mo led the group to the side door, using his tools to unlock it before swiftly rushing inside. If they delayed any longer, they would soon be surrounded by zombies. Upon entering the supermarket, Lin Mo unleashed his mental energy. Through his psychic perception, he discerned approximately a dozen individuals and several zombies on the basement level, while the upper floors, particularly the clothing section, appeared deserted. However, the dining area on the 6th and 7th floors was bustling with people. Prepare yourselves. Let us first investigate the underground supermarket, Lin Mo declared, drawing his long knife, followed suit by the other 4 women who similarly brandished their weapons as they descended to the basement level. Just as they reached the foot of the escalator, a zombie slowly turned its head to face them. With a resigned sigh, Lin Mo raised his blade and dispatched the creature, deeming it a waste. Ding. Killed a first-tier zombie, gained 4 mental points, 8 energy points. Oh. It seems evolution is imminent. The increase in attributes and energy points has become quite significant. In a moment, you will be responsible for eliminating zombies while I provide support. Luo Fei is on the brink of awakening, as is Jiang Yu. The only one lagging behind is Luo Yun. However, there is no cause for concern. We have ample time. Upon descending, they found themselves adjacent to a food court teeming with zombies. Fortunately, their distance kept them undetected. Remain vigilant. Let us proceed to the supermarket first, Lin Mo advised. The food in the food court was scarce and many items lay exposed to the air. Who could ascertain whether they were contaminated with the zombie virus? Lin Mo led the 4 women towards the left side, positioned at the rear of the group. Lin Mo kept a watchful eye on their surroundings while Luo Fei guided the way. As they neared the supermarket, Luo Fei halted. Lin Mo? There seemed to be quite a few zombies inside. Peering within, Lin Mo confirmed her observation. There were indeed 30 to 40 zombies at the entrance, with likely more lurking behind. Looks like we cannot avoid confrontation today. Exercise caution. Do your utmost to eliminate them. If it becomes too overwhelming, I am here to assist. Hu Shiyun, I do not expect you to slay many, but it is imperative that you avoid injury, for if you are harmed, I shall personally deal with you. Lin Mo regarded Hu Shiyun with a calm demeanor. She gulped nervously, aware that he was not jesting. Should she sustain any injuries, he would indeed act. You may refrain from killing zombies, but you must not allow yourself to be injured. Relying on others for salvation is unacceptable. The group cautiously approached the supermarket. Lin Mo gently shutting the large door behind them. Bang! Despite their caution, the noise echoed, drawing the attention of nearby zombies. Engage, Lin Mo instructed, feeling the weight of his weapon at his side. The vastness of the supermarket amplified every sound, making stealth a challenge. After more than a week of experience, the Luo sisters and Jiang Yu had grown accustomed to such encounters. However, Hu Shiyun still struggled. Dispatching a single zombie left her exhausted. Yet, it was her first time, so there remained hope. Lin Mo, with his knife in hand, positioned himself behind them, prepared to provide support at a moment's notice. Observing the incessant notifications from the system, he contemplated the necessity of expanding their team. Ideally, he envisioned a battalion of thousands, a surefire path to victory. As they cleared each area, Lin Mo collected the goods into his spatial storage. With a capacity of 10,000 cubic units, he had no fear of running out of space. Even if two supermarkets of the same size were to appear, he could easily accommodate them. At noon, they found a secure corner to share a modest meal before resuming their extermination of zombies. By 3 in the afternoon, Lin Mo had completely cleared the supermarket of its contents. Lin Mo, I feel as though something within me is reaching its peak, Luo Fei remarked. Her expression, one of confusion. Lin Mo's brow twitched. Her description was rather apt, though he wished she had refrained from such expressions. You may be on the verge of awakening. It seems your time has come. Gazing at Luo Fei's visage, he pondered whether she was indeed about to awaken, becoming the Queen of Lightning. Both sisters wielded lightning powers, and once they awakened, their combat prowess would be unparalleled. A force to be reckoned with. Casting a glance at the large door in the corner, which he suspected led to a storage room, he noted that 12 individuals were inside. While their presence was not of paramount importance, the supplies within were invaluable. However, the door appeared firmly locked from the inside. Let us investigate the warehouse, Lin Mo suggested, leading the group to the storage area, where he knocked on the door. Is anyone inside? Please, open the door. In his perception, he sensed movement within, yet no one approached the entrance. Shaking his head, Lin Mo realized they were unwilling to open the door. However, he longed for the treasures within. Turning his attention to the system store, he grimaced as he spent 1,000 affinity points. 2 items materialized in his hands. Chapter 18, Then Let Us Kill. Since they refused to open the door, he could not be held accountable for his actions. Whistling a tune, Lin Mo began to manipulate the clay he had exchanged for. Though it was a mere 100 grams, it was more than sufficient to deal with the door lock. Applying the clay to the lock, he proceeded to connect the detonation device's wires. Move to the sides. Do not stand directly in front, as this contraption possesses considerable power. Though 100 grams seemed substantial, anyone within a 15-meter radius of the explosion would be in peril. Once he confirmed that they had distanced themselves, Lin Mo pressed the red button. With a resounding boom, he underestimated the force of the explosion. It exceeded his expectations. The blast was far more potent than he had anticipated, perhaps due to the nature of the system's provision. Approaching the entrance, Lin Mo found that not only had the lock shattered, but the door itself had been blown open. The ceiling above and the ground below were also damaged, debris occasionally raining down. Assessing the interior, he discovered all individuals sprawled on the ground, writhing in confusion. It was no surprise. The explosion within a confined space amplified the sound exponentially. Lin Mo pushed open the door, waved away the dust in the air, and retrieved a flashlight, illuminating the walls of the entrance. Click! Lin Mo found the switch, illuminating the warehouse with sudden brightness. The scene unfolded before him. 12 individuals, 8 men and 4 women. Among them, 2 women were notably disrobed, and it was not difficult to surmise the circumstances. Several men bore grievous injuries, blood oozing from their ears, indicating their proximity to the explosion's epicenter. Keep an eye on them while I gather the supplies. Should anyone act out of line, do not hesitate to eliminate them. There shall be no mercy. Lin Mo understood that survival was the common goal, and he preferred to avoid unnecessary bloodshed. The four women stationed themselves at the entrance, weapons at the ready, with Luo Yun removing her composite bow from her shoulder and knocking an arrow. Meanwhile, Lin Mo began collecting food items from the warehouse, though he generously left behind 2 boxes of bread and 2 boxes of bottled water for them. After all, there are other matters at hand. This is but a trifling concern. Let us proceed. Lin Mo cast a glance at the few individuals in the warehouse who had their heads bowed, choosing to disregard them. Wait, I can leave with you. I have practiced taekwondo. A young woman, clad in a white dress and possessing striking beauty, hurried after him. She halted a meter away from Lin Mo, her urgency palpable. However, Jiang Yu had already raised her knife, its tip directed ominously towards her. Lin Mo turned to regard the woman before him, whose beauty rivaled that of his companions, and offered a sardonic smile. Taekwondo is of little use. Name, Li Lu. Age, 21. Rating, 92. Affection, 70. Though her rating was commendably high, that affection score left much to be desired. It was only natural, given that he had blown up her door and taken her provisions. I just need food. You can do whatever you wish to me, Li Lu declared resolutely. Lin Mo shook his head, turning away as he remarked, I harbor no interest in a woman who possesses nothing. Yet, even if he did, his interest would remain negligible. Li Lu glared at Lin Mo's retreating figure, her eyes ablaze with resentment. Not only had he refused to take her along, but he had also insulted her. Lin Mo, that woman seems quite furious with you. Is that so? At this distance, can you kill her with a single arrow? Of course, it's barely 20 meters. Then do it. Lin Mo had not intended to take a life, but given her blatant hostility, he felt compelled. Very well. Luo Yun was initially taken aback, but remembering recent events, she swiftly turned and drew her bow. Whoosh! An arrow pierced Li Lu's throat. In disbelief, Li Lu watched the scene unfold. She had only come to observe, yet they had resorted to murder. Alas, with her throat pierced, she found herself unable to speak, left to silently await her demise. Well, another arrow wasted. Now only 13 remain. No matter, once we find an outdoor supply store or a sports equipment shop, we shall see. They ascended to the first floor, and Lin Mo glanced upward. Do you have autumn and winter clothing? Even those with abilities can feel the cold, with the exception of fire and ice users. Staying warm is essential, otherwise, one might freeze before even engaging the zombies in winter. Although the winters in Fongjing are not excessively harsh, it is prudent to prepare adequately. No, I don't have time to return home, Jiang Yu replied. Lin Mo cleared his throat softly. My sister and I do, but we have only 2 or 3 items. Don't look at me. I have none, as I am still wearing this lab coat. Lin Mo regarded Hu Shiyun, who made the lab coat appear quite charming. After a day together, Hu Shiyun's affection had risen to 50 points, bolstered by the system and her own merits. Let us head upstairs, find some clothing, and perhaps kill a few zombies in the process. Luo Fei is on the verge of leveling up, and likely needs only to eliminate a few more zombies. Upon reaching the second floor, the 4 women began to browse through various shops as though shopping, while the zombies that had appeared on their way up were swiftly dispatched. Apart from Hu Shiyun, the other 3 women showed no hesitation in Lin Mo's presence, but he chose to step outside. He could not remain there. The interference from that technique perpetually afflicted him with negative states. Fortunately, they understood the apocalyptic setting, and after trying on a few garments for fun, they began selecting their favorites, requesting Lin Mo's assistance in carrying them. Upon reaching the 3rd floor, Luo Fei struck down 3 more zombies, momentarily halting in place. Lin Mo recognized that she had awakened her powers. The initial awakening did not require an extended duration. I have awakened my abilities. It seems to be lightning related. Luo Fei extended her hand, a blue spark dancing at her fingertips, which she casually tossed to the ground, creating a small crater. Wow, sister, that is amazing. Will you be as fast as the Flash? Luo Yun exclaimed with excitement. It seems possible, but I can't maintain it for long. After saying this, lightning surrounded Luo Fei. Whoosh. In the blink of an eye, she appeared 10 meters away. I can only move short distances. Beyond that, my body cannot handle the strain. Powers are but one aspect. One also requires formidable physical strength, or else the body cannot withstand the pressure exerted by such abilities. All right, let us withdraw. There is nothing more we need here. Lin Mo glanced at the 6th floor, finding no interest in it whatsoever. Chapter 19. A good meal arriving at the side door. Lin Mo surveyed the outside, noting that zombies still congregated nearby, making it increasingly difficult to avoid detection. Luo Fei, you take the left, I'll take the right. The rest of you, get in the car. Understood. Luo Fei nodded. With her newfound abilities, she found it much easier to deal with the zombies. Besides engaging in close combat with firearms, she could also utilize her powers for attacks. Furthermore, with a spear over 2 meters long, it was impossible for zombies to approach. The two positioned themselves on either side, establishing a safe zone. Once the other 3 women were in the vehicle, Lin Mo called out to Luo Fei, and they all climbed aboard. Jiang Yu drove them back to the villa. The day's haul would suffice for several years, yet for safety's sake, they intended to venture further. While food could also be exchanged at the mall, acquiring energy points remained quite challenging at present. Lin Mo glanced at his status panel. He had just eliminated over 20 zombies, significantly boosting his attributes. Yet, he lamented the loss of his plundering ability. However, there was little choice, regardless of how one evaded. Eventually, one must act. Hey look, it seems to be a rescue team, and quite a sizable one at that. To their front right, a squad of 20 was advancing towards them. With the windows closed, the sounds from outside were muted, so Lin Mo opened a small gap. Rat-a-tat-tat, rat-a-tat-tat. The rapid gunfire echoed incessantly. At this pace, how long will it take them to reach the city center? By the time they arrive, there will likely be nothing left but corpses, Luo Yun scoffed, observing their sluggish advance. Do you think the zombies are a joke? It's quite commendable that they have made it this far from the suburbs. At least the residents here are safe. Lin Mo held deep respect for these rescue team members. If it were up to him to save anyone, he knew he could not do it. Having endured enough of such ungrateful tasks in his previous life, he had no intention of repeating them in this one. All right, let's hurry back. Tonight, we shall feast on hot pot. Sounds great. I want 2 plates of meat. Wah. I want duck blood, beef tripe, and fatty beef rolls. Just thinking about it makes my mouth water. Hu Shiyun, watching the 3 cheerful women ahead, felt grateful for her decision. Had she not joined them, she would likely have faced a grim fate. She turned her gaze towards the rescue team outside. Even with their presence, it remained uncertain when they would reach the pharmacy. Captain, this vehicle is truly remarkable. It effortlessly sends numerous zombies flying without a hitch, and its wheels manage to avoid getting snagged on any corpses. Just look at the quality of the tires. What kind of body could possibly get caught? Why don't we drive an armored vehicle into the fray? The inspection is underway, and once it's completed, we'll be able to proceed without concern for these miscreants. Prepare the grenades, fire. One by one, the grenades soared into the air, targeting the mass of zombies ahead. Boom. The explosions echoed, creating several clearings amidst the horde. Lin Mo and his companions had returned to the villa in the eastern suburbs, where the nearby zombies appeared to have been eliminated. At least, in the vicinity of the villa, they had not encountered many undead. In Lin Mo's view, they had either been cleared out by the locals or by the military. One must not underestimate firearms in the early stages. They are the most advantageous weapon against zombies. Furthermore, several nearby shops had their doors flung open, their contents strewn across the ground, clearly looted. Everything is here. Feel free to choose whatever you desire, Lin Mo said, placing various hot pot ingredients such as meatballs, slices of meat, and beef tripe on the coffee table for them to select. In addition, he produced some chips and beverages. Most importantly, he also retrieved several packs of different brands of sanitary napkins. Even though humanity had evolved into superhumans, women still experienced their monthly cycles. This thought led Lin Mo to ponder the world of cultivation. Could one cultivate away the monthly cycle? Wow, I'm due in a couple of days, and I'm unsure how to handle it. This is wonderful, exclaimed Luo Yun, throwing her arms around Lin Mo's neck and planting a quick kiss on his cheek, leaving him momentarily bewildered. Was this appropriate with so many people around? Aside from Luo Yun, Hu Shiyun also gave Lin Mo a kiss, as everyone understood the situation. Since it had come to this, why bother with decorum? Hu Shiyun, holding a pack of sanitary napkins, felt somewhat at a loss. Although her time had not yet arrived, it would inevitably come. Observing the 3 women kiss Lin Mo, she found herself in a quandary, unsure whether to join them or not. Noticing her discomfort, Lin Mo swiftly changed the subject. Let us handle the ingredients and snacks. Whatever you choose to eat, keep it. I'll take care of the rest. The power will likely be out soon, so we must hurry. However, it was not a problem, as his vehicle was equipped with a kitchen, and not just one. An hour later, the 5 of them sat around the table. Come, let us toast to Luo Fei's successful awakening. Each person raised their glass in celebration. The chilled beer paired with hot pot was a sheer delight. Lin Mo glanced at Hu Shiyun. Her favorability towards him had reached 80, increasing at a pace even faster than Luo Yun's. At this rate, she would likely reach maximum affection in a day or 2. He wondered what treasure she might bring him. In stark contrast to the merriment at Lin Mo's table, the people in the city were suffering greatly. Only a small fraction dared to venture out in search of supplies, while the majority remained holed up in their homes, awaiting rescue. Even when their food supplies ran out, they resorted to merely drinking water to stave off hunger. This desperation led some to transform into zombies. The next morning, the radio Lin Mo had placed in the living room crackled to life. Starting today, the water, electricity, and gas systems will be officially shut down. Do not drink the tap water, as it may harbor the zombie virus and lead to mutations. Rescue teams are on their way. Please remain patient. Lin Mo glanced at the radio, aware that the evolution of zombies was about to commence, and he could begin to slay them indiscriminately. Moreover, mutated zombies and various undead creatures would soon emerge. From this moment forth, human survival would become increasingly arduous. Pack up, we're setting out, Lin Mo instructed, leading the 4 women to the vehicle, with Jiang Yu still at the wheel. They drove towards the wholesale market in the eastern suburbs. There were 2 large wholesale markets in Fengjing, one in the east and one in the west. Lin Mo had no intention of considering the western market, as it was too far and impractical. The time spent on a round trip would be excessive, with too many variables involved. It was better to stick with the nearest option. Half an hour later, they arrived at the wholesale market. Lin Mo surveyed the scene before him, marveling at the scarcity of zombies. However, the number of people present seemed excessive. Near the entrance, he spotted no fewer than 5 small teams. Some consisted of only 4 or 5 individuals, while others boasted over 20. This was indeed problematic. Conflict over resources was inevitable, which would force Lin Mo's hand. Jiang Yu, park the vehicle at the entrance. We're getting out. Understood. Jiang Yu maneuvered the car to the right, halting directly at the entrance. Lin Mo pressed a button, and a voice emanated from the vehicle's interior. Self-defense system activated successfully. During the journey, Lin Mo had discovered that the vehicle was equipped with a self-defense system. If anyone exhibited hostile intent towards the car, it would automatically retaliate. However, the vehicle was not outfitted with any weaponry, so it would likely just ram into assailants. Gripping his long knife and feeling the handgun at his waist, Lin Mo declared, "Let us head in and search for supplies, prioritizing rice and flour," followed by various dried goods, and finally seasonings. The 4 women nodded in agreement, trailing behind Lin Mo as they exited the vehicle. The sight of the vehicle had drawn the attention of several nearby teams, primarily due to its conspicuous appearance and high level of safety. Some gazes were filled with greed, desiring to claim the vehicle for themselves. Especially upon seeing 4 women and 1 man disembark, their interest only intensified. Lin Mo paid them no mind. If they could manage to steal the vehicle, he would commend their skills. He cast a sidelong glance and then disregarded them entirely. If they chose to make a move, they would not find him to be merciful. As the 5 entered the wholesale market, they encountered 3 teams already engaged in moving supplies. However, they lacked space and could only carry items in their hands, unable to take much, as they still had to contend with zombies. As Lin Mo and his company passed by, several of these individuals cast curious glances at them. They appeared remarkably clean compared to the others, whose clothing was stained with zombie blood and various dirt. Some had hair so greasy it could be used for cooking. The deeper they ventured, the fewer people they encountered. The rice, flour, and oil should be located in the back area. Lin Mo cautioned them to remain vigilant around any individuals they might encounter. He felt particularly protective of Hu Shiyun, while Jiang Yu and the other 3 had mostly adapted to life in this apocalyptic world. Arriving at a grain and oil wholesale store, Lin Mo effortlessly picked the lock with his tools. As he rolled up the shutter door, a trove of food greeted his eyes. "We're in luck. This place has quite a bit of stock." Generally speaking, their food supplies are typically stored in warehouses. Those kept here are usually not in excess, serving merely as sample displays. However, this establishment holds a considerable quantity, with each type of product comprising at least 6 or 7 bags. Lin Mo cast a cursory glance, noting that most were bags of rice and flour, each priced at 20. He estimated around 200 bags, amounting to approximately 4 tons. Without hesitation, Lin Mo collected all of it, even taking the open bags. Within a minute, the entire shop was emptied. Subsequently, Lin Mo opened the door to gather more supplies while the other 4 women stood guard. Luo Yun promptly secured her long knife, replacing it with a composite bow and arrows, ready to strike at a moment's notice. In just an hour, Lin Mo cleared all the grain and oil stores along that road, amassing over 100 tons of food and more than 300 barrels of oil, along with approximately 5 tons of grains. Their haul was indeed bountiful. They then proceeded to the dried goods area. After raiding 4 shops, they encountered a group of 10. Lin Mo wished to avoid conflict and intended to pass by unnoticed, but the opposing group had other plans. "Hey kid, how about joining our crew? We're quite well known around here," said the slender young man with gold-rimmed glasses, his gaze leering back and forth among Jiang Yu and her companions, filled with sinister intent. Lin Mo shook his head, wondering why they couldn't simply seek resources without resorting to intimidation. No thanks, we five are quite fine as a team. The young man's companion, a brash individual with yellow hair, pointed a club at Lin Mo, exuding arrogance. Lin Mo sighed. You speak of resources, yet you choose to provoke us. I am not particularly fond of your demeanor. He directed his gaze at the yellow-haired man. With a swift motion, an arrow shot through the yellow-haired man's neck. Help! He dropped his club, clutching his throat in terror as he looked around at his comrades. But it was too late for rescue. Wang Riyun's expression shifted, and he shouted, Anyone who dares harm my brother, attack. They are only 5. Capture the women and kill the men. This was the first time one of his men had been slain. He was accustomed to being the one who killed. Little did he know who he was truly facing. Lin Mo and Luo Fei alone sufficed to handle the situation, and within a minute, the ground was littered with corpses. What a transgression, he muttered, having repeatedly tolerated their provocations. He wiped his blade and glanced back at Hu Shiyun. So, can you handle such scenes now? Standing amidst the carnage, Lin Mo and Luo Fei bore traces of blood, appearing as harbingers of death. Fortunately, Hu Shiyun found it more acceptable than before. Her speech flowed more easily, and her body no longer trembled. As long as you can accept it, otherwise, I would have to leave them here. Seeing Lin Mo's serious demeanor, Hu Shiyun swallowed hard. Lin Mo was indeed not jesting. If she could not endure this, what would happen in the future? The apocalypse had only just begun. They were still in the early stages. In 2 months, you'll witness the true nature of humanity outside. All right, let us continue. As they proceeded, they encountered several other groups, yet everyone was preoccupied with searching for food, allowing Lin Mo to move about unimpeded. By 4 p.m., they finished their last stop, a shop selling spices. The array of spices, from Sichuan peppercorns to cinnamon and bay leaves, was impressive. These would prove invaluable in enhancing the flavors of their future meals. Let us return. The 5 of them were the only ones defying the tide. The zombies outside had been cleared, and nearby individuals flocked to gather supplies. There were still 2 areas left with considerable goods, but they consisted of small shops where each establishment might only contain 500 units of food, and some merely displayed samples, collectively yielding less than 100. Lin Mo clearly found such endeavors unworthy of his effort. Chapter 21. I had too much to drink, boss. This won't do. 2 people have already perished. A man with a pointed face observed the 2 corpses in front of the vehicle with a worried expression. Let us send one more person to try. If that fails, we retreat. Zhang Zihui, gazing at the bodies on the ground, wore a frown. Upon exiting the wholesale market, he had spotted this RV and immediately fancied it. With this vehicle, their travels would not only be more convenient, but also significantly safer. As for gasoline, they could always visit a few more gas stations. Thus, he dispatched 2 subordinates. However, as soon as they attempted to open the door, 2 steel rods shot out from the side, killing them instantly. Losing men without acquiring the vehicle was intolerable for him. Moreover, he still could not comprehend where those steel rods had originated. After his words, a long silence ensued. What are you dawdling for? Go. But boss, that thing is lethal. Perhaps we should reconsider and seek a bus or a truck instead, the pointed-faced man urged fervently. Why not try the passenger seat? Or perhaps the rear door? Yet, regardless of his suggestions, no one stepped forward. Life is singular. Death is irreversible. I am truly at my wit's end, Zhang Zihui lamented, realizing that even if he wished to pursue this vehicle, he would have to relinquish it. Determined to leave, he resolved to make the owner uncomfortable. Let us find something to smash their windshield. Whose windshield are you smashing? Lin Mo coldly regarded the 6 individuals before him. After Hu Shiyun's remarks, they had approached, only to overhear them plotting to vandalize the vehicle. While vehicles produced by the system rarely suffered damage, he would not permit anyone to act recklessly. Zhang Zihui turned and noticed Lin Mo's youthful face. Is this vehicle yours? Perfect. Hand over the keys, or I won't hesitate to be impolite. The 4 women exchanged glances, realizing this scene felt eerily familiar, as if they had just experienced it. The man with the beady eyes quickly grabbed Zhang Zihui, pulling him back. This big brother has had too much to drink. Please don't take offense. He gestured to the others, indicating they should retreat. The others quickly understood and pulled back several meters. Go Fu, you idiot. Go Fu's left hand clamped over Zhang Zihui's mouth, whispering urgently in his ear, look at that man's knife. It's still stained with blood. He has definitely killed someone. Why are you provoking him? Go Fu felt a pang of despair. How could they be confronted by such a ruthless individual? Zhang Zihui ceased to resist. Glancing at Lin Mo's bloodied blade, a cold sweat broke out on his forehead. Seeing this, Go Fu released him. Ah, my apologies, young brother. I was still inebriated. We are leaving now. I wish you all a delightful time. After speaking, he led a few people away and, having walked a mere 5 meters, broke into a run. Quickly, quickly, do not stop. Lin Mo glanced at the knife in his hand, noting the faint traces of blood on the blade. He hadn't expected such keen eyesight from that person. The 4 women were somewhat bewildered. Why did they leave? What had transpired? I don't know. They were just trying to steal our car, and now they are gone. I had already readied my bow and arrows, Luo Yun said, her expression eager, as if she were ready to shoot someone at any moment. Lin Mo shot a glance at Luo Yun, his eyelid twitching. How had this child transformed into such a state? Surely, it was unrelated to him. The words spoken by that man had only been heard by Lin Mo. With his heightened attributes and proximity, even the faintest sounds were audible to him. They must have truly been intoxicated. Let us forget about them. We shall return and have a meal. On the way back, they encountered even more military personnel, indicating that the rescue operation in the eastern suburbs had progressed significantly. Upon returning to the villa, they discovered numerous military vehicles within the vicinity. They also noticed troops emerging from the opposite villa. Let us drive right into the courtyard. I'll open the door, Lin Mo said, hopping out of the vehicle to unlock the entrance. The vehicle came to a steady halt inside the courtyard. Lin Mo turned back, casting a glance at the troops not far away, hoping they wouldn't come knocking. They were quite bothersome. After locking the door, he headed straight inside. The 4 women returned to their rooms, and the first order of business was to prepare food. They were not particularly fatigued today, and rest was unnecessary. Jiangyu, do you think those troops are here for rescue? They must be. Otherwise, they wouldn't venture into such a remote location. I didn't expect them to act so swiftly. Shiyun, please help me with this, one of the 3 women requested while tidying up the ingredients. While Lin Mo and Luo Yun settled on the sofa. Why aren't you helping? I can't. If you dare to eat, I might as well cook. Luo Yun replied, her eyes filled with anticipation. Lin Mo simply stood up from the sofa, ignoring her. Through the window, he observed that the troops had begun cooking. Suddenly, darkness enveloped the room. The power is out, Lin Mo said. There's no gas either. Should we cook in the car? Let us cook in the car. He agreed after checking his phone and finding no signal. It appeared the power was completely gone, plunging Fengjing City, and perhaps the entire world, into darkness. The only places with any power were the research and administrative departments of the survivor bases. Lin Mo carried a bowl of prepared ribs, while the others held various ingredients as they made their way to the vehicle. Do we have enough gasoline? I've been driving the past few days, and this vehicle seems to consume a lot. Jiangyu expressed her concern. Don't worry. This car is guaranteed to have fuel because it doesn't require it at all. An hour later, a sumptuous feast was laid out on the table. Oh, it's been ages since I've had braised ribs. This is delicious. Luo Yun exclaimed, her face alight with joy. Indeed, I feel the same, Hu Shiyun chimed in. Though she was perhaps the most qualified to say so, having once survived on nothing but glucose. No worries, there will be plenty of such food in the future. Enough for all of you. In the marketplace, pork was merely 10 points per pound, which Lin Mo could afford. If necessary, they could always hunt a few zombies for more resources. After the meal, Lin Mo opened the side door. Let us go. Feel free to choose any room. This will be your home from now on. As for the villa outside, Lin Mo had no intention of residing there, using it solely as a base. The reason he chose this location was its seclusion, with fewer people and zombies. What a magnificent living room unfolded before them, accompanied by a dining area and a kitchen, significantly larger than the one outside. After Luo Yun spoke, he immediately covered his mouth. Lin Mo glanced at him, but did not dwell on it. There were some things he could not hide forever. You all may use these items. Given our relationship, there's no need for excessive formality. The 4 women blushed. Though Hu Shiyun had not yet experienced this, her time would come eventually. Let us take a look. In total, there were 5 rooms. The Luo Fei sisters chose one. Jiang Yu took another, and Hu Shiyun claimed a third. The largest room belonged to Lin Mo, while the last would eventually be occupied by someone. Back in the living room, Lin Mo attempted to turn on the television, surprised to find it functional. As he navigated the remote, he discovered that every program available on Blue Star could be accessed here, even educational shows featuring renowned teachers. Upon catching a glimpse of the 4 women, he quickly exited the educational channel. Such content was ill-suited for the present moment. Beep. Congratulations, host. Your affinity with Hu Shiyun has reached 100, granting you the dimensional RV component for a star-level energy shield. Star-level energy shield. Protective energy shield capable of withstanding the force of 10 nuclear explosions. A splendid item, though somewhat impractical. Even in the future, nuclear weapons would not typically be deployed. In 4 years of the apocalypse, Only 40 nuclear missiles had been launched, targeting only desolate areas. Cities had never been struck. The night was always exhausting. Rising early, Lin Mo surveyed the newly appeared information in the system, feeling quite satisfied. Beep. Hu Shiyun has achieved a critical affinity increase of 999. Beep. Jiang Yu has achieved a critical affinity increase of 999. Each individual's sensations varied. The experience was simply delightful. Lin Mo entered the kitchen and brewed a cup of black coffee. The only downside was a touch of drowsiness. Lin Mo opened his personal information panel. Host. Lin Mo. Level. Stage 1. Beginner. Experience. 8,100 attributes. Strength. 100. Constitution. 83. Agility. 89. Spirit. 88. Awakening ability. First stage mental spike. Storage space. 10,000 cubic units. Energy points. 2,399. Affinity points. 13,880. Skills. Exclusive passive plunder. 8,100. Unique technique. Dragon and Phoenix soaring technique. His energy points had reached 2,400, and his affinity had skyrocketed past 10,000. Lin Mo browsed the marketplace, purchasing several weapons. The long knife in his possession had developed a chip, and the weapons of the 4 women were in poor condition as well. Moreover, Luo Yun's remaining arrows were dwindling. Lin Mo directly bought 4 finely forged Tang broadswords for a mere 100 energy points each, and a fine steel spear for the same price. 100 combination arrows cost only 1 energy point, an absolute bargain. After a moment's hesitation, he also purchased 5 sets of combat uniforms, depleting 1,500 energy points and clearing his saved energy. Regarding firearms, Lin Mo found himself without any immediate needs. Nevertheless, he procured 4 Desert Eagles, along with 16 magazines and 400 rounds of ammunition, in addition to 10 grenades. This amounted to a total expenditure of 664 energy points, a modest price for such commonplace items. It was then that Lin Mo realized that the most easily acquired resource was, in fact, favor points rather than energy points, which was a stark contrast to his initial expectations. With this configuration, he could handle most situations adequately. After all, he was not in direct conflict with the military, and ordinary civilians lacked firearms and ammunition. Moreover, with his abilities, that was more than sufficient. Lin Mo retreated to the restroom to address a physiological need. Observing the flowing water in the toilet, he curiously inquired, "System, is the water in this vehicle infinite?" "Indeed, it is limitless. All water is sourced from the dimensional space," came the reply. "Well, everything produced by the system is inherently reasonable." He settled onto the sofa, turning on the television. Around 9 o'clock, the 4 women finally emerged leisurely. One was supporting her waist, another was rubbing her knees, and yet another was massaging her lips, all appearing as if they had just awakened. "Really? You all sleep too much. I've been waiting here for nearly an hour." The 4 women cast glances of reproach at Lin Mo, particularly Hu Shiyun, who was incessantly rubbing her lips, her expression almost melancholic. "Do you not have any awareness of how late it is?" "Exactly. Don't you know what is going on with my sister and me?" Given that everyone was already aware of the circumstances, there was no need for concealment. Hu Shiyun opened her mouth, but decided against speaking. Her throat felt strained. She headed straight to the kitchen and downed a large glass of water, finally alleviating her parched throat. "Cough, cough. I'll be more mindful next time. However, we must venture out again today, to the food factory." Initially, he had no urgency to go. Considering the military's presence, it was likely that there were others there as well. Yet upon observing the quantity of energy points he possessed, Lin Mo felt a trip was warranted. Every little bit saved mattered. If food could be purchased with favor points, he would have opted for a more leisurely lifestyle, simply driving to a remote location and living unabashedly each day. Alas, such a scenario was utterly impossible. Furthermore, he had no desire to live in such a manner. After all, the number of zombies in the future would be overwhelming, and he certainly did not wish to reside among them daily. After dining, the 4 women rested for a while before exiting the dimensional room and entering the vehicle. As they approached, each cast another reproachful glance at Lin Mo. The 4 exchanged glances and sighed in unison. Once outside, they huddled together, and Hu Shiyun quietly asked the other 3, "Can you all handle this?" Without needing to specify, the trio understood her meaning. "I can't handle it. It's utterly unbearable. If you ask me, if we encounter suitable recruits along the way, we should immediately integrate them into our team to relieve our stress." "I wholeheartedly agree with that sentiment." Lin Mo cast a glance at the 4 women before taking his seat in the passenger side. Having keen ears was both a blessing and a curse. He overheard their whispered conversation. Ultimately, The women reached a consensus that they must expand their team to 10 members. As they departed, Jiangyu took the wheel, while the Luo sisters opened the gates. They drove towards the outskirts, where only the corpses of zombies littered the road. Not a single living zombie was in sight, nor were there any humans. After half an hour of driving, a vast array of processing factories came into view. Here, not only were there various food processing plants, but also some light industrial zones with minimal pollution. However, those light industrial areas were not Linmo's target. Their focus was solely on the food factories. Chapter 23. Did you think you couldn't be killed without a knife? A miscalculation ahead. It appeared that a military convoy was stationed near the food factory. What should they do? Numerous green vehicles, unmistakably military in nature, were parked in front of the factory. Linmo furrowed his brow and cracked the car window open slightly. The sounds of gunfire rang out continuously, indicating a tense standoff. Let's find an alternate route and assess the situation from the rear and sides. After making a circuit, he discovered that all routes were occupied. What now? Should we still proceed here? Linmo glanced at the military presence ahead. In truth, it wouldn't be a disaster if they didn't go. However, having come all this way, they couldn't leave empty-handed. He parked the vehicle and waited. Jiangyu maneuvered the car into a secluded corner and turned off the engine. Linmo pressed a button, lowering a screen that displayed the view directly in front of the vehicle. A control panel rose from the rear table, allowing him to adjust the camera's direction and zoom. Everyone can rest in the back or do whatever they like. There's no need to wait here while I keep watch. The military personnel won't be leaving anytime soon. However, Linmo felt no apprehension. At night, zombies were notoriously difficult to deal with. Both their speed and strength would double, turning nighttime into their battleground, where even the slightest misstep could spell doom. Nevertheless, the women refused to leave him alone. It was impossible to allow Linmo to guard the area by himself. Feeling bored, they decided to play a game of cards while they waited. As night fell around 7 o'clock, darkness enveloped the surroundings. The military personnel began to withdraw, with trucks leaving in succession down the main road. They're gone. Let's move in. Jiangyu started the vehicle, keeping the lights off as they cautiously advanced into the factory area. Once they confirmed that no military personnel remained, Jiangyu finally turned on the headlights. The beams illuminated the ground, revealing bullet holes and the scattered bodies of zombies. The main entrance was wide open. Surely, there would be no food left inside. Jiangyu activated the side spotlights, casting light all around. Let us proceed ahead. There should still be some food in the middle. While the military vehicles were numerous, the food within the factory was even more abundant, far exceeding what could be transported. Just as Linmo had anticipated, zombies had already appeared in the center, indicating that this place had yet to be cleared. They would need to force their way through a door. Linmo had no intention of taking too much. He merely aimed to empty 1 or 2 small warehouses. Food was merely a means to change their diet. He didn't require more than that, even when their numbers increased. He had enough energy points to exchange for food. With a resounding crash, the door was smashed open, provoking the surrounding zombies to converge upon the sound. However, these zombies were no match for Linmo's vehicle. Jiangyu pressed a button, and circular saw blades emerged from the front of the vehicle. Each zombie was sliced in half as they fell to the ground, only able to crawl with their hands. How did you know what this was for? Linmo asked. I read the manual in your hands, but unfortunately, many options remain unavailable. Otherwise, we wouldn't even need to exit the vehicle to handle everything. Linmo shook his head. That won't do. We must engage directly to level up. It is essential to confront zombies. I was merely commenting. I certainly understand. After driving and killing so many zombies these past few days, I haven't felt any changes in my body. Jiangyu maneuvered the vehicle to slice through the zombies, ensuring that they would finish them off shortly thereafter. As the number of zombies in the yard diminished, Jiangyu parked the vehicle. The group swiftly disembarked, commencing their merciless assault on the remaining zombies. Naturally, Linmo refrained from participating. He awaited the evolution of these zombies to the first tier. Whoosh! A shadow darted past, prompting Linmo to draw his blade with his left hand, amplifying his senses. An unidentified creature was scurrying about. Luo Fei stays behind. The other 3 quickly get back in the car. The remaining 3 women, unwilling to linger, hastily climbed into the vehicle and secured the doors. Seeing them safely aboard, Linmo approached Luo Fei. Prepare yourself. It could be a mutated beast or a transformed zombie. Exercise caution. Yes, rest assured, Luo Fei replied, gripping her long spear tightly, which crackled with arcs of electricity and emitted a series of creaking sounds. Linmo cast a glance at the weapon, distributing the items he had procured. It seemed this spear was nearing its limits. In his heightened perception, the creature's speed was increasing. Without hesitation, Lin Mo lunged forward, swiftly swinging his blade. Bang! He struck the creature down to the ground. Though a wound was inflicted, Lin Mo's blade was already battered, rendering the injury shallow. Upon closer inspection, it was revealed to be a mutated cat. The dazed creature shook its head, preparing to lunge at Lin Mo. Bang! 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 A barrage of 7 or 8 shots shattered the mutated cat's skull. Foolish creature, did you think you could escape unscathed without a blade? Ding! Killed a first-tier advanced mutated cat, strength 9, energy points 45. What a loss! Lin Mo exclaimed, realizing it was a first-tier creature. This deduction had cost him half the potential gain. Otherwise, he would have received an additional 18 points in strength. Oh well, loss is loss, he muttered, glancing at his battered blade, chiding it for allowing him to stray from the task at hand. Luo Fei climbed into the vehicle, and the two returned to their seats. What happened just now? Did you encounter any dangers? Jiang Yu inquired anxiously. Just a mutated cat, easily dealt with. Such creatures are products of this mutation. Unlike zombies, they are not infectious, yet they will attack humans. Moreover, mutated animals tend to attack one another as well. In addition to mutated animals, there are also zombie animals, which are akin to zombies, failed products of mutation. Here are 4 combat suits for you to wear. They are bulletproof and provide protection against zombie attacks and various sharp weapons. The combat suits resemble standard bulletproof vests, designed to be worn over clothing. Besides this, Lin Mo also distributed the cold weapons he had purchased. The group eagerly donned their new armaments, deeming their previously dulled weapons obsolete. And here are 4 handguns. Load your own ammunition. Under no circumstances should you use them unless absolutely necessary. If you must, ensure that all witnesses are silenced. The apocalypse is just beginning, and firearms remain restricted. We must avoid drawing attention. Lin Mo wished to avoid any complications, aware that the law still existed, albeit with little enforcement amidst the chaos. The only solution was to ensure that those who knew would vanish, confident that he and his companions would not confess. He placed the bullets on the table, instructing them on how to load the firearms. Next, he produced 10 grenades, distributing 2 to each person. Observing the equipment in their hands, Lin Mo felt a significant increase in their safety. Let us proceed and continue our cleanup. Chapter 24. Seize the moment. Begin upgrading. Ding. Jiang Yu killed a 0-tier zombie. Energy points 3. Ding. Luo Yun killed a 0-tier zombie. Energy points 1. Ding. Hu Shiyun killed a 1st-tier beginner zombie. Energy points 8. How are there still 1st-tier zombies? What a loss. Lin Mo pondered. System. Is there no way to detect the tier of zombies? I've already missed 2 1st-tier ones. Insight skill. Price. 10,000 favor points. Wow. So expensive. I currently have just over 10,000 points. Purchasing this would return me to square one. However, he resolved to make the purchase regardless. If necessary, he could endure a bit of hardship later and recruit more members into the team. Ding. Congratulations, host, for purchasing the insight skill. Lin Mo opened the system, discovering the newly acquired insight skill in his interface. Upon accessing it, he realized that this ability had 2 functionalities: automatic marking and the ability to discern human attributes. Instantly, he felt that his expenditure of 10,000 favor points was worthwhile. He promptly selected all 1st-tier and above zombies, mutated animals, and zombie animals. Glancing up at the yard, he confirmed, "All right, none are left. It seems that 1st-tier 1 was merely an anomaly. I am about to awaken. I too shall awaken." Jiang Yu and Luo Yun felt a surge of energy coursing through their bodies, as if something within them was poised to erupt. Lin Mo hurried to their side. "Stay alert." Luo Fei and Hu Shiyun raised their weapons, scanning their surroundings as Lin Mo maximized his abilities. Soon, the 2 women began to move about. "Hey, I also possess lightning abilities, just like my sister. But why can't I move as swiftly as she does?" Luo Yun attempted to dart forward, but received no response. "What kind of lightning ability do you have?" It's the ability to conjure lightning." A bow made of lightning materialized in her hands, and as she drew and released, the arrow vanished instantaneously, only to explode in the distance. "Perhaps yours is an offensive type," Lin Mo speculated, recalling that Luo Fei possessed a balanced lightning ability with a variety of skills. In contrast, Luo Yun's abilities seemed to be heavily weighted towards offense, with damage output being significantly high, even greater for area skills than for single-target attacks. "And you, Jiang Yu?" Lin Mo was curious, having had no knowledge of her abilities from their previous life together. "I can conjure ice. My first ability is Ice Arrow." 5 ice arrows floated before Jiang Yu, moving with her as she gestured. With a flick of her hand, they struck the distant wall, leaving behind a frosty residue where they shattered. Hu Shiyun gazed at the two women with envy, longing to awaken her own powers. Unfortunately, her brief time in the group and the fewer zombies she had dispatched meant she would need to wait longer for her awakening. Lin Mo's expression shifted as he used the insight skill on the four women, noting that Jiang Yu, Luo Fei, and Hu Shiyun all possessed commendable attributes, while Luo Yun's attributes were the weakest. However, it made sense. She primarily utilized a bow and only resorted to a blade in close combat. Name: Luo Yun. Level: First Tier Beginner. Ability: Lightning. Attributes: Strength, 25, Constitution, 21, Agility, 18, Spirit, 42. Her attributes lagged significantly behind the others, but her mental strength was notably robust. Nevertheless, she still fell slightly short in comparison to Lin Mo. Reflecting on his own attributes, he found it somewhat amusing. Despite being a mental type, his strength was notably high. Let us proceed to find the warehouse. Along the way, Hu Shiyun aimed to eliminate more zombies. Lin Mo resolved to help Hu Shiyun strive for her awakening by the following day. A team of 5 possessed individuals, at this stage, could only be countered by those within the military. At midnight, Lin Mo emptied a sausage factory and a mixed canned goods factory before retreating. The others remained untouched, as the remaining space was limited and needed to be reserved for future use. Upon returning to the villa area, everyone chose to forego sleep and instead drifted off into slumber. However, the necessary activities could not be neglected. Lin Mo felt a twinge of bitterness, yet he remained silent and found enjoyment in the chaos. Come on, why is everyone so lethargic? We need to hasten our efforts to eliminate zombies and level up. The 4 women, weary and sluggish, exited the dimensional room and exchanged glances. They increasingly felt the urgency of recruiting more individuals. Otherwise, they would soon find themselves at a disadvantage. Notably, Hu Shiyun was in the direst situation, as she had yet to awaken her abilities and her overall attributes remained weak. Next in line was Luo Yun, whose strongest attribute was her mental prowess. Thus, while she was not overly fatigued, her physical condition was beginning to falter. Jiang Yu returned to the driver's seat and drove away from the villa area. Where are we headed today? Let us head towards the second ring road and seek a location with a higher concentration of zombies. All awakened individuals should utilize their powers. The more you use them, the higher your proficiency will be, which will facilitate future battles. Hu Shiyun, just use your weapon. We will draw more zombies to you. Lin Mo intended to facilitate Hu Shiyun's awakening today, transforming everyone into a power wielder. In this apocalyptic world, strength was paramount. All notions of power and wealth were rendered obsolete. Even within survivor bases, without a modicum of strength, one could not effectively manage a base. The RV sped along, and as they approached the second ring, they encountered an increasing number of teams scavenging for resources. Particularly at the supermarket they had previously visited, the crowd was abundant. Yet they were met with disappointment as Lin Mo and his group had already cleared it out. After traveling another 2 kilometers, Lin Mo instructed the vehicle to halt. Let us go? Upon disembarking, Lin Mo led them on foot towards the second ring road. The teams they encountered maintained a respectful distance, each wary of the other. Utilizing his insight, Lin Mo scanned the nearby groups. While there were indeed ability users, their numbers were scarce. The largest team boasted a mere 2 ability users, and it was evident that they were slowly retreating into hiding. Thus, he needed to quicken their pace. Possessing the ability of insight, Lin Mo could swiftly identify first-tier zombies, which stood out as conspicuously as bikinis on a beach. Let us go. Those zombies ahead, aim for a clean cut, and leave them to Hu Shiyun. But ensure your own safety first. Do not leave any alive. Understood, Hu Shiyun replied. Her face flushed as she felt like a burden. After giving the orders, Lin Mo charged into the horde of zombies, swiftly dispatching several first-tier zombies. With each notification of a kill, Lin Mo felt an exhilarating rush. Ding. Killed a first-tier low-level zombie, Spirit 12, Energy Points 26. Ding. Killed a first-tier mid-level zombie, Physique 15, Energy Points 46. In addition, there were the energy points accrued from the 4 women's kills, which proved to be immensely profitable for Lin Mo. An hour later, I think I've awakened. Lin Mo brought them to a storefront, waiting for Hu Shiyun to complete her awakening. As she opened her eyes, she expressed her dissatisfaction. I've awakened, but my abilities seem to lack any offensive power. Lin Mo reassured her, it's all right. Every skill has its utility. What have you awakened? A first-tier ability, Healing Light. As she spoke, Hu Shiyun's right hand glowed with a radiant white light. Lin Mo gazed at her in astonishment, realizing he had stumbled upon a treasure. Initially drawn by her ratings, now, even if she were to become a burden, Lin Mo would not cast her aside. It is well known that a healer's position within a team ranks just below that of the vice captain, often surpassing some combat ability users in status. A healer can significantly reduce mortality rates, especially in a post-apocalyptic environment where medical resources are scarce. While there may be doctors, how can one guarantee they won't be infected? How can one ensure the availability of medicines? In this world, a physician's skills are not only a matter of technique, but also of luck. Your ability is exceptional. In the event of injury, we will rely on you. Lin Mo instinctively glanced at her chest, pondering whether this was the key to awakening healing abilities. Compared to others, she was indeed quite ample. Although they were of the same model, there were variations in size. Let us have something to eat first, and then we will continue. In the coming days, we should aim to eliminate more zombies to level up and ensure our survival. Lin Mo glanced at his data, feeling that something was amiss with his panel. It is known that the energy provided by zombies of different tiers differs significantly. Logically, killing a first-tier zombie should yield the equivalent energy of 3 or 4 zero-tier zombies. Yet in his experience, it only equated to 1. He voiced this concern to the system. The system also requires energy support, so please make an effort to eliminate more zombies. So, does that mean if I kill a 9th-tier zombie king, it would be equivalent to the experience gained from killing a 0-tier zombie? Precisely. Lin Mo was left speechless. If Luo Fei were to kill a 4th-tier zombie, she would level up directly, while he was treated as if he had slain a mere ordinary zombie. How absurd. Yet, it was somewhat reasonable, given the uniqueness of his abilities. After their meal, the group resumed their hunt for zombies. Lin Mo's gaze swept through the horde, searching for first-tier zombies. Whenever he spotted one, he would immediately rush over to eliminate it, ensuring that none escaped. These were the most valuable targets at this stage. Oh, look over there, a lone woman with impressive sword skills. Luo Fei noticed a long-haired woman wielding a sword and dispatching zombies with remarkable speed not far away. The more she looked, the more familiar she seemed, prompting her to call out, "Yu Linglong." The woman looked up, her expression brightening upon recognizing Luo Fei. Luo Fei? It's really you. As they fought through the zombies before them, they joined forces. Why are you alone? My parents and brother have all turned into zombies. I am the last one left. I'm sorry to hear that. No worries. Luo Fei opened her mouth, hesitating to voice her thoughts, but ultimately held back. Are all those people with you? Yu Linglong inquired, glancing at the 1 man and 3 women. Yes, we have been together since the onset of the apocalypse. I envy you for having team members. Yu Linglong had always fought alone. She had hoped to find a team, but each one she encountered left her feeling unsettled. There was even a 5-member team that attempted to lay hands on her, but she managed to eliminate them all. Afterward, she was left in a daze, taking 3 days to recover. The first thing she did upon regaining her senses was to seek food, yet the sheer number of zombies had hindered her efforts, leaving her empty-handed. Wait for me, I'll ask my teammates. With that, Luo Fei dashed off to find Lin Mo. After much effort, encountering an individual deemed worthy was essential, for it would alleviate their burdens. This was a consensus they had reached early on. Lin Mo? I've met a friend who is a master of swordsmanship. Indeed, Lofi understood that in a world teetering on the brink of collapse, trust should not be bestowed lightly. Yet, her desperation for companionship was palpable. She yearned for a reprieve from her daily exhaustion. Following her gaze, Lin Mo spotted a stunning woman with a ponytail, wielding a long sword. Dressed in form-fitting leather and jeans, her silhouette was striking, though regrettably lacking in certain proportions. Name, Yu Linglong. Age, 25. Rating, 90. Affinity, 30. This affinity rating surpassed that of Hu Shiyun, likely due to Lofi's influence. This individual was a necessity. Even if her swordsmanship rating was modest, she must be included. Indeed, we still have a room available. It's perfect. Really? That's wonderful. Upon receiving Lin Mo's affirmation, Lofi hurried to Yu Linglong's side. I've spoken with my friend. He has no objections. Would you join our team? Yu Linglong hesitated, pondering if her presence as an outsider would be appropriate. Rest assured, our team is harmonious, and everyone possesses commendable skills. Yu Linglong nodded. Then I appreciate your kindness. No trouble at all. Lofi exclaimed, grasping Yu Linglong's hand as they approached Lin Mo. I just hope you can help us share the load when the time comes. Unbeknownst to Yu Linglong, who lacked the ability to discern others' thoughts, had she overheard Lofi's words, she would have resolutely declined to join the group. Lin Mo? This is my former martial arts teammate, Yu Linglong. Meet our team leader, Lin Mo. Hello. Greetings. Lin Mo offered a gentle touch before releasing her hand, leaving a favorable impression. Let us postpone further conversation. We must first deal with the zombies. Time was pressing, and they could not linger outdoors for long. Just as those words left his lips, a volley of gunfire erupted. Rat-a-tat-tat. Lin Mo glanced back, sensing imminent danger. We must retreat. A battalion of soldiers approached, firearms blazing. We are from the Fengjing base, here for rescue. Residents on the upper floors, please descend. We will be leaving shortly. The soldiers repeated their message through a loudspeaker, drawing the attention of nearby zombies. However, against the might of firearms, all else proved futile. Let us depart. There is no reason to linger here. He was not foolish enough to accompany armed individuals into a horde of zombies. By the way, miss you, will you accompany the troops? Despite Yu Linglong's impressive capabilities, Lin Mo had no intention of detaining her. Every individual had their own choices. Yu Linglong cast a glance at the soldiers' weapons, recalling the surge of energy coursing through her when vanquishing zombies, and shook her head. I will not go. I am content to remain with Luffy. In that case, let us return. Lin Mo led the group towards their vehicle, passing by the soldiers. A captain in the unit squinted at Lin Mo's retreating figure. What is wrong with the captain? He noted how adeptly those few had dispatched the zombies, and despite their repeated calls, this group chose not to join the base, indicating they possessed some form of assurance. I suspect they are quite powerful, possibly even possessing abilities. Abilities? That could be formidable indeed, though their specific powers remain unknown. Lin Mo turned back to observe the lieutenant, utilizing his insight. Name, Jiang Quan. Level, first stage, beginner. Ability, strength enhancement. Attributes, strength, 33, constitution, 20, agility, 20, spirit, 15 indeed. While ordinary individuals could level up by slaying zombies with firearms, the growth of their attributes was rather meager. They must have eliminated a significant number of zombies. Finally, he grasped the principle of leveling up. In his previous life, he had fought merely for survival, leaving little time for such contemplation. He had always known that among those with similar abilities, some were strong while others were weak. This must be the reason. Upon entering the vehicle, Yu Linglong marveled at its interior. The other young women exchanged glances, avoiding mention of the door behind them, a topic best left for Lin Mo to address. They drove towards the villa district, noting the scarcity of people along the way. It seems the residents nearby have already been evacuated. Surely, given that it was the military's intervention, their efficiency is commendable. Does that imply the zombie threat is being contained? Hearing Jiang Yu's inquiry, Lin Mo paused for a moment. It may not be so simple. He opted for silence, unable to articulate the gravity of the situation. The speed of zombie infection was alarming. The extent of the infection worldwide was uncertain, but he was acutely aware of the situation in Fengjing. In a city of 20 million, fewer than 1 million remained in the shelters. This indicated that at least 18 million had succumbed to zombification, while the remaining 1 million likely fought for survival in the shadows. With such a vast city, countless others existed across the nation. Moreover, various regional cities and counties lacked comparable military strength. Even if some troops were present, they merely extracted a fraction of the survivors. It must be noted that not all nations reacted as swiftly as Huagua. Numerous smaller nations had fallen, and the zombie tide had swept into Huagua. In such times, one could witness not only black-haired zombies, but also those with dark skin, blonde hair, and varying statures. Ultimately, the apocalypse would not be easily resolved. Should the world prove irretrievable, Lin Mo contemplated retreating to highland regions, seeking a remote area with fewer zombies to spend his remaining days. With this dimensional RV and the system, survival remained within reach. Upon returning to the villa, a celebratory feast was planned to welcome the new team member, Yu Linglong. Hooray! I want hot pot. Yu Linglong gestured dismissively. There's no need. Food is scarce. We should conserve our resources. The thought of depleting supplies due to her arrival stirred unease within her. Lin Mo, unperturbed, reassured her, not to worry, we have ample provisions. Just as Yu Linglong was about to speak, Luffy interrupted. Eat without concern. We have gathered quite a bit of food during the initial phase. I appreciate it then. Come on, there's no need for such formality. You are now one of us. Yu Linglong felt warmth envelop her heart, recognizing the kindness of her new companions. Regrettably, in a few days, her sentiments might shift. Perhaps due to the celebratory nature initiated by Lin Mo, her affinity towards him increased significantly, reaching a score of 65. Lin Mo nodded in satisfaction, knowing that with the passage of time, further opportunities to enhance affinity would arise. Sigh, for the survival of the team. He has sacrificed far too much. Today, he must replenish himself with some kidneys. To this end, Lin Mo specifically retrieved 4 lamb kidneys from his space and asked Jiang Yu to assist in their preparation. Upon seeing what was in her hands, Jiang Yu spat at him. You're as robust as an old ox, and yet you still need to replenish? What about us sisters? Just tell me whether you will do it or not. If not, I shall stay at your place tonight, and once he go out, I will do it. I definitely will. Jiang Yu nearly fainted at Lin Mo's response, recalling a certain incident that still lingered vividly in her memory. Back then, the two sisters lived next door, and she had endured quite a bit. Once the ingredients were nearly prepared, Jiang Yu found Lin Mo lounging on the sofa. Are we eating here, or in the car? Lin Mo understood the implications of her question and glanced at Yu Linglong. After a moment of contemplation, he said, let us eat in the car. Jiang Yu was somewhat taken aback. This was an answer she had not anticipated. She had assumed they would dine in the villa, but it appeared they would indeed be in the car. However, she refrained from inquiring further. Perhaps Lin Mo had his own plans. Lin Mo had already contemplated this matter long ago. It would not be reasonable for them to stay outside when a single person entered. The car was undoubtedly more comfortable. Of course, it depended on the circumstances, but at least with Yu Linglong's status and her current level of goodwill, it was permissible for her to dine in the vehicle. It seemed wise to consider acquiring a mobile home to attach to the car for decoration, or perhaps 2 tents would suffice. The group boarded the car and opened the dimensional door to step inside. Yu Linglong followed behind, and, upon seeing the spacious living room, rubbed her eyes in disbelief. Where did this living room come from? Linglong, don't dawdle, come over here. Oh. Yu Linglong nodded in a daze and obediently took a seat at the table. As she gazed at the spread of food before her, she couldn't help but swallow hard. She had forgotten how long it had been since she had enjoyed a proper meal. Before the water supply was cut off, she managed some instant noodles, but after that, she could only chew on dry rations. On lucky days, she could scavenge a loaf of bread. On unfortunate days, she had to survive on compressed biscuits or chocolate. Lin Mo took his place at the head of the table and raised his glass. Come, let us toast to our new companion, Yu Linglong. Cheers. Cheers. Yu Linglong looked at the scene before her, tears welling in her eyes. This was the team she had always yearned for. Chapter 27. Zombie Evolution. The next morning, after a night of hard work, Lin Mo rose early, satisfied as he noted the system's prompts. Ah, another fulfilling day ahead. While you feel fulfilled, we are utterly exhausted, Luo Fei remarked, staring at Lin Mo in disbelief. Are you not sufficiently fulfilled? That shouldn't be the case. Ugh. I never realized you could be so talkative, Luo Fei thought over his words, her face flushing crimson in embarrassment. How could he say such things? Fortunately, there was no one around. Otherwise, she would have wanted to disappear into a crack in the ground. Thankfully, she consoled herself. It was merely that she had become a bit more uninhibited since the apocalypse began. Lin Mo relished the current pace of life, wishing it could continue indefinitely. A little bickering each day was quite pleasant. Before long, doors opened one by one, and various beautiful women emerged from their rooms. Compared to Yu Linglong's vitality, they appeared somewhat lethargic, but they were certainly better than before. After all, they had awakened, and their attributes had significantly improved, enabling them to withstand greater damage from assaults. Jiang Yu and the others ventured into the kitchen to prepare breakfast, while Lin Mo turned on the television and indulged in gaming. Cooking was not yet a task he needed to undertake, as his culinary skills had previously driven the women from the kitchen. Are we heading to that place again? Let us go take a look. Although the army scouted it yesterday, I believe the zombies would have dispersed overnight. Each night, the zombies became increasingly active, their senses, both smell and hearing, remarkably acute, responding to the faintest sound or slightest scent. At 11:30, the group returned to the vehicle, observing the astonishing scene. Yu Linglong remained silent but curious. Lin Mo, glancing at her through the rearview mirror, noted her goodwill had risen to 85 points. It seemed the previous day's welcoming ceremony had left a positive impression. This girl appeared to be quite easy to manage. They arrived at yesterday's location, and, as Lin Mo had predicted, zombies had gathered once more. The only change since yesterday was the absence of other teams. All right, prepare yourselves. Suddenly, an unusual sound resonated through the air. Lin Mo's expression shifted. Stay in the car for now, let us wait a moment. The zombies in the distance stood frozen, all lifting their heads as if absorbing something. Lin Mo observed numbers appearing over the heads of the zombies, some marked with a 1, while others had transformed to 2. The evolution had commenced, and humanity's survival challenges had escalated. What is happening? Why are they standing still? Jiang Yu inquired, puzzled. They're likely mutating again. Let us observe the situation for a bit. Half an hour later, the zombies resumed their previous state, albeit their movement speed had increased slightly from the day before. The group prepared to disembark and continue exterminating the zombies. As for Yu Linglong, Lin Mo chose not to intervene too much. After all, her combat skills were not inferior to Hu Shiyun's. Once outside, Lin Mo charged into the horde of zombies, targeting the second-tier zombies directly. This drew the attention of the zombies, who began to pursue him. The others joined in, engaging the zombies as well. Luo Yun knocked her bow, unleashing a flurry of thunder arrows that incinerated every zombie she struck. Luo Fei, wielding her lightning-covered spear, danced through the horde, dispatching zombies with ease. Meanwhile, Hu Shiyun found herself in a more precarious position, resorting to primitive slashing with her knife. Yu Linglong was taken aback. She realized that since yesterday, her moments of daze had increased. Her close friends, teammates, and besties radiated power, crackling with lightning. Among the group, only she and the girl wielding a knife seemed normal. The sight of Lin Mo effortlessly cleaving zombies in half and Zhang Yu conjuring frost arrows appeared anything but ordinary. After a moment of contemplation, Yu Linglong's eyes brightened. She too desired such abilities. With determination, she brandished her sword and charged at the zombies. After Lin Mo had dispatched a dozen second-tier zombies, he gradually retreated from the encirclement. Ding! Killed a second-tier junior zombie, obtaining 22 mental points, 132 energy points. Ding! Killed a second-tier intermediate zombie, obtaining 26 agility points, 340 energy points. Ding! Killed a first-tier advanced zombie, obtaining 18 strength points, 89 energy points. It seemed that with a concerted effort today, he might reach second-tier intermediate status. It would be splendid if he could reach advanced. Alas, it appeared that such an opportunity might not present itself today. In the pursuit of eliminating these dozen or so second-tier zombies, he inadvertently dispatched several first-tier ones, consuming considerable time in the process. If he could eliminate second-tier foes, he had no intention of targeting first-tier ones. The advantage in attribute points afforded him strength comparable to that of a second or even third-tier fighter at the first tier. With prudent arrangements, he could possess the might of a ninth-tier combatant by the time he reached the sixth tier. Hence, patience was paramount. Lin Mo, the energy within my body is nearly depleted. Let us take a brief respite, Lo Yun panted softly. Lin Mo glanced at the corpses strewn across the ground and nodded in agreement. They would rest in the vehicle for a while before resuming their endeavors. Upon returning to the car, Lin Mo activated his personal interface. Host, Lin Mo. Level, beginner first tier. Experience, 55, 100. Attributes, strength, 309. Constitution, 333. Agility, 254. Spirit, 340. Awakening ability, first tier mental spike. Storage space, 10,000 cubic units. Energy points, 11, 470. Affinity points, 7, 219. Skills, exclusive passive plunder, 60, 100. Unique technique, dragon and phoenix free-flowing art. These attributes were simply unparalleled, though the energy points exceeded his expectations. He had anticipated a maximum of 8,000, yet they surpassed 10,000. Utilizing his insight, Lin Mo took a glance at Luo Fei, who had been more active in dispatching zombies, primarily using a spear. Name, Luo Fei. Level, beginner first tier. Ability, lightning system. Attributes, strength, 102, constitution, 46, agility, 76, spirit, 89. If Lin Fei represented the standard metrics of an ability user, then his data surpassed that of an ordinary ability user by more than threefold. Such statistics were highly favorable in Lin Mo's eyes. Even if someone were to ascend to the second tier at that moment, their strength would still likely pale in comparison to Lin Mo's. Moreover, others would not seek out high-level zombies to defeat as he did. Thus, he felt no urgency to level up. Steady progress would yield greater rewards. Yu Linglong, do you feel anything unusual? What do you mean by unusual? Yu Linglong was still immersed in the memory of their earlier encounters with the zombies, which felt utterly surreal. It's as if something is about to overflow from within me. Chapter 28. Failed mutation. Yu Linglong lowered her head slightly, her hands clenched, and whispered, "How did you know I am on my period?" A profound silence enveloped the vehicle. Yu Linglong sensed something was amiss and quickly lifted her head, discovering that everyone was looking at her with peculiar expressions. She blinked awkwardly, wondering if she had misspoken. Ha ha ha. Linglong, you are quite amusing. Lin Mo was inquiring if you felt any energy surging within you. Not. Luo Fei could no longer contain her laughter. I'm so sorry. I misunderstood. I do indeed feel that way. Yu Linglong's face flushed crimson, mortification washing over her as she realized her misinterpretation. She was baffled as to how Lin Mo could have known about her situation. No worries. It was my question that was poorly phrased. Lin Mo waved his hand dismissively, eager to offer her an escape from her embarrassment. He anticipated that someone so astute could also be shy. In Lin Mo's view, Yu Linglong should be the type to remain unfazed in any situation. Indeed, first impressions can often be misleading. The other women joined in laughter. Yu Linglong awkwardly fiddled with the sheath of her sword, at a loss for words to alleviate her embarrassment. Fortunately, the moment passed without further incident. After resting for over an hour, the group's energy was sufficiently restored, and they descended once more to continue their eradication of zombies. This time, however, they endeavored to conserve their abilities, utilizing them only in dire circumstances. Lo Yun, too, set aside her compound bow, opting instead for a long knife as they engaged in combat. Approximately half an hour later, Yu Linglong exclaimed, "I believe I am about to awaken my ability." Hearing her words, Lin Mo approached her side while the others continued their assault on the zombies. "I will stand guard." Moments later, Yu Linglong opened her eyes. "I seem to possess the ability to enhance my speed." It turned out to be a self-augmentation capability, a speed ability, which was quite commendable. Yet, compared to the abilities of Luo Fei and the others, it was still significantly lacking. However, this ability's effectiveness varied by the individual. Placed in the hands of Yu Linglong, a master swordswoman, it was undoubtedly suitable. Indeed, speed abilities are formidable, Lin Mo remarked. They not only allow for swifter movement, but also accelerate the speed of one's attacks. Imagine, while others strike once per second, you could strike 5 times in the same interval. What a disparity in damage. As the group advanced toward the second ring, they nearly cleared the street of zombies. Except for the newly awakened Yu Linglong, the other 4 women all felt a sense of progression to the intermediate tier. Even Lin Mo had successfully hunted numerous second-tier zombies, now just 20 away from reaching the first tier. At that moment, Lin Mo's mental reach had expanded to an astonishing 600 meters. Retreat. Something larger is approaching. Upon hearing Lin Mo's warning, the group abandoned the zombies before them and swiftly withdrew. They dispatched the pursuing zombies with a few effortless displays of their powers. The women did not inquire about the cause, instead choosing to remain quietly by Lin Mo's side as they awaited further instructions. Above them, through a window, a woman hesitated, contemplating whether to speak to the group below. Yet, considering her current predicament, she struggled to find the right words. Lin Mo sensed something and looked up. Name: Lu Wanqing. Age: 34. Rating: 91. Affinity: 25. What a pity. This person does not even leave her home. Even if she had the desire, she lacked the means. Although Lin Mo required more allies, he was not yet at the stage of venturing out for a single individual unless they were a powerful awakener. A glance with his insight revealed her to be an ordinary person. Luo Fei noticed Lin Mo's gaze and followed it, spotting the woman. A woman? Forget it. She is too high up. It appears she is on the 8th floor. How curious that she did not accompany the group. Attention, something is approaching. As Lin Mo's voice faded, a man burst around the corner and sprinted toward Lin Mo and the others, elated at the sight of them. With others around, he could escape. Be cautious, something large is behind you. A quadrupedal mutant, devoid of eyes and possessing a gaping maw, was in pursuit of the man, a first-tier speed-type mutant. From its swift movements, Lin Mo discerned it to be a failed specimen. The man reached Lin Mo's side, attempting to kick Lin Mo in a panic. Instead, he stumbled and fell, foaming at the mouth and convulsing on the ground. Lin Mo had initially intended to ignore him, but since the man attempted to put him in danger, he could not let this pass. He had not anticipated the individual before him would be so feeble. He couldn't even withstand a mere 30% of his mental strength before being overwhelmed. Truly pathetic. Lin Mo drew his long knife and unleashed a mental spike at the aberration before him, causing the creature to become rigid instantaneously. In a flash, Lin Mo appeared in front of the aberration and struck down, cleaving its head in twain. The blade, imbued with Lin Mo's power, crashed into the ground with a tremendous sound. Finally, his skills had found a purpose. His mental abilities proved effective not only against humans, but also against mutated zombies. Even the failed variants retained their mutated nature. However, they were ineffective against ordinary zombies, even those at the 9th tier. The exact reasons eluded him. Ding. Killed a first-tier advanced mutated, failed, zombie, agility 25, energy points 367. Lin Mo raised an eyebrow, surprised to find it had the stats of a second-tier zombie, an unexpected revelation. Very well, let us continue. There should be no more of these creatures in the vicinity. At 5:30, the horizon was painted with fiery clouds. Unfortunately, no one was left to appreciate such beauty. It was time to retreat. They would continue tomorrow. Lin Mo glanced at his panel, anticipating another wave of second-tier zombies the following day. The women stepped out of the battle circle and returned to their vehicle. Luo Yun, her face alight with excitement, exclaimed, "I feel an immense surge of energy within me. Me too, and I feel stronger, chimed in another. Same here, echoed the third, except for Hu Shiyun and Yu Linglong. The other three women sensed a change in their vitality. You must have leveled up again, Lin Mo observed. Under his keen insight, the three women had ascended to the intermediate level of the first tier, surpassing Lin Mo's level, though in terms of stats, he still outstripped them by over fourfold. Is that true? That's fantastic. Our strength has increased. Yu Linglong felt a twinge of envy towards the three women, whose abilities far exceeded her own, unlike her, who relied solely on herself. Nonetheless, she too sensed a slight increase in her own power. Wait, a female voice called from upstairs. Chapter 29. The chef don't celebrate too soon. We are evolving, and the zombies are evolving too. The creature we encountered was a mutated zombie, albeit a failed one. If it were a successful mutation, its speed would be 3 to 4 times that of what we just faced. The women gasped, realizing the gravity of the situation. Feeling suddenly diminished in strength, Lin Mo hoped they wouldn't become complacent just because they had gained some power. Countless ability users had perished at the hands of mutated creatures, often due to their own hubris. All right, let us get in the vehicle. Wait, can you take me with you? Lu Wanqing, hearing the sounds of battle below, opened her window. She glanced down at the group of 1 man and 5 women and felt a stirring of desire. Her supplies were nearly depleted, enough to last perhaps another week. If she didn't leave soon, she would be left to succumb here. Yesterday, she had intended to escape, but encountered several single men from her building who had been fixated on her since the onset of the apocalypse. Before she left, they warned her that as long as she appeared at the base, they would find a way to take advantage of her. Thus, she was forced to forego the sanctuary. Today, witnessing the spirited demeanor of Lin Mo's team, she felt this was the right group for her. Yet, she was uncertain if she would be welcomed. Lu Wanqing opened the door to her bedroom, revealing 2 lifeless bodies, one large and one small. Qingyuan, Xiaoying, I'm going to try. If they don't accept me, I'll come back to be with you, all right? With that, she began gathering food and hurried downstairs. Upon reaching the 3rd floor, she peered out to see a dozen zombies standing in the courtyard. Shaking her head, she realized the courtyard was inaccessible. Descending half a flight, she arrived at the street side, just in view of Lin Mo and his companions. As Lin Mo's group prepared to depart, Lu Wanqing called out to them urgently. She felt a flutter of anxiety as they turned to face her, but she resolved to take a chance. Upon seeing Lu Wanqing's beauty, the Luo sisters, along with Hu Shiyun and Jiang Yu, huddled together. This sister is stunning. I think she could join our team. That's not for us to decide. It depends on Lin Mo. Besides, we worry she might just be a pretty face. A pretty face is acceptable. The real concern is if she has a caring heart. All the women sincerely welcomed anyone who could share their burdens, yet they were apprehensive about compatibility. What are you all discussing? Yu Linglong asked, curious as she drew closer. Oh, it's nothing, just admiring this woman's looks. Not just her looks, she is quite ample too. I fear her blouse might burst. The group shared a few awkward laughs, for Yu Linglong was still unaware of the full situation, and they didn't wish to frighten her. Yu Linglong sensed that the others were withholding something, though it didn't seem overly significant. Lin Mo overheard their conversation, sharing in their concerns. Taking you along poses no issue, but do you possess any abilities? My team does not accommodate freeloaders. Even the willingness to fight zombies counts as a skill. However, if I discover you lack any capabilities, I will not hesitate to send you back. I can cook. I used to run a restaurant. I'm a chef. Lu Wanqing declared. I've killed 2 zombies. The latter statement seemed to strike a chord with Lin Mo, his eyes lighting up. This was excellent. Though the meals prepared by the women were delicious, they paled in comparison to the expertise of a professional chef. Moreover, her score of 91 warranted a trial, at worst. He could always return her. I'll let you demonstrate. Your first test is to jump down from there. I'll give you a minute to consider. With that, Lin Mo crossed his arms and observed her quietly. Lu Wanqing gazed down at the distance. Below was a commercial space, 2.5 stories, approximately 10 meters high. Jumping from such a height could result in serious injury, perhaps even a fracture. Yet, upon seeing the cleanliness and vitality of Jiang Yu and the others, she decided to take the plunge. With determination, Lu Wanqing swung her right leg over the window ledge, gripping the top edge, and leapt down. As she neared the ground, she closed her eyes. She felt herself being caught, and opened her eyes to see Lin Mo's handsome face before her. Her heart raced, though she maintained a composed exterior. Thank you, I'm Lu Wanqing. Lin Mo. Yet her burgeoning affection for him betrayed her. Her favorability soared to 75. You've succeeded in the first test. The second test involves preparing a dinner. Now, let us get in the vehicle. As they boarded the car and headed towards the villa, Lu Wanqing found herself in a daze. Wow, sister, your skin is amazing. What is your secret? Sister, how did you get so ample? I feel so self-conscious. Sister, do you have any tips? Why are you so soft? Lu Wanqing, when addressing Lin Mo, remained unfazed, but she flushed crimson in the presence of Jiang Yu and Luo Yun. At the age of 34, having a daughter, she found herself unexpectedly questioned by two women. The primary reason for her discomfort was their excessively loud voices, compounded by Lin Mo's presence in front of her, leaving her at a loss for words. Ultimately, she could only speak the truth. It was a natural trait. At times, she felt like a burden. Just moments ago, one of her buttons had popped off. As the saying goes, a great sea can accommodate 100 rivers. Oh, how she envied her sister's figure. Indeed, even in this state, her waist remained slender, and her curves were undeniably alluring, the very type that men gravitate towards. Hey, Yu Linglong, why are you sitting all the way in the back? Yu Linglong glanced down at herself. I am not of your kind. Lin Mo, seated in the passenger seat, raised an eyebrow and turned to Luo Fei. Has your sister always been this carefree? Yes, once she gets comfortable, she becomes quite lively. I've grown used to it. Luo Fei replied casually, though she found it amusing internally. As she drove, she noticed Lin Mo's persistent attention to the rear, suggesting an interest in the newcomers. How wonderful it would be to have a couple of days to rest. Upon arriving at the villa, everyone disembarked in unison, relieved to be free from the presence of the two young girls. Jiang Yu stealthily approached Lin Mo. Are we heading to the car or staying at the villa? Let us go to the car, but we should process the ingredients here. While the vehicle has self-cleaning features, it still feels uncomfortable to mess it up. Inside the villa, Lin Mo arranged the prepared lighting, illuminating the rooms. The entire villa area was now deserted. Even the previous military personnel had departed. Chapter 30. The female chef. Take a look at what ingredients we need among the six of us. I can cook whatever we have, Lu Wanqing stated. Aware that ingredients were scarce and determined to make the most of what was available, she resolutely aimed to prove her worth. In recent days, she had observed countless teams from above. Almost all lacked women, and even those who were present bore vacant expressions that spoke volumes about their circumstances. In contrast, Lin Mo's team represented the best living conditions for women she had witnessed. For this reason, she was prepared to exert herself fully to ensure the meal was a success. After all, she held a secondary chef certification, and her establishment was renowned in the vicinity. She could not afford to lose face. Lin Mo surveyed the ingredients in her space, retrieving half a pork loin and a variety of vegetables, albeit some appeared slightly wilted, yet still edible. You can prepare these. Lu Wanqing's eyes widened at the seemingly conjured ingredients. It wasn't the ability that astonished her, as she had witnessed the girls wielding electricity and ice above, but rather the presence of meat and vegetables. She touched them. While not exceedingly fresh, they were far from spoiled. Isn't this too much? After all, we are quite a few and may not finish it all. Lin Mo glanced at the marketplace. Just cook, there's plenty. To her surprise, she discovered live livestock available for a somewhat steep price, yet it was better than nothing. With Lin Mo's encouragement, she proceeded to the kitchen, picking up a chef's knife. Feeling a familiar sensation return, the rhythmic sound of chopping filled the air, and Lin Mo nodded, acknowledging the woman's skill. The others entered the kitchen to observe. In comparison, Jiang Yu realized her own cooking skills were quite rudimentary. Despite being the most adept among them, she felt like a child beside Lu Wanqing's expertise. Enough said. I share that sentiment, Luo Fei remarked, having believed herself to be only slightly behind Jiang Yu, only to be overshadowed by an even greater talent. Hu Shiyun remained silent, simply nodding in agreement. However, the atmosphere changed dramatically when Lu Wanqing set down her knife, went to the living room, and returned to the kitchen with a blade not found in the market. The scene shifted abruptly. She laid the pork loin on the cutting board and began to dissect it with precision. Each cut was perfectly executed, allowing her to separate portions effortlessly. Such proficiency was not merely due to the knife's sharpness, but also her understanding of the animal's anatomy. Ugh, I feel a tingling sensation at the nape of my neck. She exuded a captivating aura. Lin Mo, it seems you've stumbled upon a treasure. Hearing this, Lin Mo stepped outside the kitchen. At that moment, only a few parts of the pork remained. With a few deft strokes, they were entirely separated. Lin Mo's eyes twitched. She had initially perceived Lu Wanqing as a delicate woman, but here she revealed herself as a skilled butcher. So, Lu Wanqing, did you learn this skill from a butcher? Could it be applied to a human body? Such expertise could indeed be a formidable asset in combat. If one's physical fitness kept pace, few could withstand her prowess. After all, if given the opportunity, Lu Wanqing could dismantle her opponent. Upon hearing this, Lu Wanqing paused. If given 2 more tries, I could manage. Lin Mo raised an eyebrow, intrigued. More? It seems you have a story to tell, but she chose not to pry further. Lu Wanqing gazed at the pork, memories of her husband and daughter flooding her mind. At that moment, in her home, the largest corpse lay with its mouth incessantly opening and closing, while the zombie's body was severed into 4 parts, 2 arms, a torso, and a head. In a desperate bid for survival, she had utilized the terrain to detach her husband's arms and ultimately dismembered his head. All this, simply because she could not bring herself to kill him. And for her daughter, she wished to spare her from such horrors. Thus she plunged the knife into her daughter's head instead. Shaking her head, she acknowledged that they had already become zombies, and there was nothing she could do. Wiping her eyes, Lu Wanqing continued to prepare the ingredients. Moments later, Lin Mo clapped her hands. All right, everyone, let us load the ingredients into the car. Lu Wanqing was taken aback. Weren't they cooking here? There seemed to be no suitable place in the car. However, seeing everyone moving the ingredients, she followed suit. Chapter 31. If not enough. Then plant when Jiangyu pulled open what Lu Wanqing assumed was merely a decorative door to the vehicle, she was utterly astonished. What in the world is this vehicle? She turned to Lin Mo for clarification. Lin Mo nodded. You have proven your abilities through action, so you are now officially part of my team. Hearing this, Lu Wanqing felt a surge of joy. She could finally survive in this apocalyptic world. Thank you, Captain, she said, carrying the ingredients as she stepped inside. Lin Mo also smiled, pleased as Lu Wanqing's favor towards her increased. Truly, she was an easily satisfied person. An hour later, a table laden with a feast of delightful aromas and colors was set before them. As Lin Mo gazed at the food on the table, she swallowed hard. Lacking in resolve, aware that none present could escape the allure. It was inevitable. Such delectable dishes could only be crafted by a restaurant, and to have them prepare it would be akin to demanding their very lives. Following you Linglong, we have once again found a teammate, and from now on, our meals shall depend on you. Who would desire the ordinary fare when they could indulge in such exquisite cuisine? I shall strive diligently, as long as I can remain. I would gladly cook every day. Let us raise a toast and relish in this culinary delight. Cheers. With drinks emptied, everyone eagerly reached for their desired dishes. This is far tastier than what I can cook. It feels like dining in a fine establishment. It's absolutely delightful. A pang of sorrow struck. What if we can't have this dish again in the future? Observing everyone's enthusiasm for her cooking, Lu Wanqing felt a sense of satisfaction. In reality, she thought it was quite average. The vegetables were not particularly fresh, and the flavors did not meet her expectations. Lu Wanqing suspected that everyone was merely exaggerating to spare her feelings. After sampling a few bites, she found it aligned closely with her predictions, lacking in texture. The group turned their gaze toward Lu Wanqing. This is already quite good. To enjoy such delicious meals in this post-apocalyptic world is a true blessing. Indeed, tomorrow let us prepare something different. Perhaps we should refrain. I doubt we have enough ingredients left. Upon hearing Luofei's remark, the atmosphere settled. While they had indeed acquired a fair amount of supplies, meats and fresh vegetables were scarce. If consumed daily, they would likely be depleted within half a year. The mere thought of losing such culinary delights in the future cast a shadow over their spirits. Not only were they disheartened, but even Lin Mo felt a twinge of sadness. To think they might be deprived of such exquisite meals was truly tormenting. Fear not. We shall procure some seeds and cultivate them together. As for meat, we can find alternatives, Lu Wanqing quickly reassured, sensing the somber mood. True, seeds are not edible. Surely no one would want them. The group resumed their joyful dining. In less than half an hour, the entire table of food had been devoured. The girls reclined on the sofa, caressing their bellies, clearly satiated. Lu Wanqing, you should share a room with Yu Linglong tonight. Is that acceptable? Lin Mo turned to Yu Linglong. Of course, it's no problem at all. There are only 5 rooms in total, and with an extra person, sharing is only logical. Yu Linglong had no objections, especially since she would be rooming with such a lovely older sister. Who could refuse that? I shall return to my room now. All right. Lin Mo headed back to her room and opened the system marketplace. She currently had a substantial 25,000 energy points, with nearly 4,000 contributed by the girls. If more female teammates joined, earning 10,000 points a day would not be an issue. Her goal was clear: automotive components. Components for firearms required affection points for purchase, but expanding the rooms only required energy points. 20 SQM bedroom, 1,000 energy points. 40 SQM bathroom suite, 5,000 energy points. 100 SQM gym, 10,000 energy points. These were all room components, yet she had not found what she sought. After flipping through 2 pages, she finally located the desired items. 40 SQM 5x speed plant nursery, 10,000 energy points. 100 SQM 5x speed plant nursery, 30,000 energy points. In addition, there were 10x speed options and animal farms, but the 10x speed was still beyond her means. The animal farm started at 100 SQM, priced similarly to the 40 SQM plant nursery. She promptly spent 20,000 energy points to purchase a 40 SQM 5x speed plant nursery and a 100 SQM 5x speed animal husbandry facility. Ding! Purchase successful. The new room has been installed. Following the installation, Lin Mo discovered a new option for a mobile home on her system panel. Upon clicking, she was presented with a blueprint depicting the structure of the mobile home's dimensional room, featuring an additional door on the left side of the living room. This door led to a corridor, with 2 newly added rooms flanking it. She hurried into the living room, the other girls looking on in confusion as Lin Mo entered through the large door. Sister, was there a door there before? Luo Yun questioned, gazing curiously at Luo Fei. I'm not sure. I hadn't noticed. Jiangyu, did you see it? No. As for the others, their awareness was similarly lacking. Lin Mo entered the plant nursery, which housed a nursery divided into upper and lower sections. Aside from the corridor, nearly every space was available for cultivation. Above the nursery hung grow lights, and various planting tools were neatly arranged in a corner. It seemed that with seeds, fresh vegetables could indeed be cultivated. It was wonderful. System, if I plant these, will they grow successfully without the need for cross-pollination? Host, have no worries. This is fully automated and does not require cross-pollination. As for pollination, this room is equipped with mechanical bees for that purpose. Impressive. While anyone could plant, vegetables like eggplants, peppers, and tomatoes typically required cross-pollination to thrive. Yet, none in the team possessed agricultural skills. Entrusting them with such tasks would likely yield no results. Pollination was crucial for fruit-bearing vegetables. Without it, what would they have? A collection of green potted plants? Lin Mo exited the plant nursery and entered the animal husbandry area. This space differed from the nursery. The ground was not tiled, but rather soft earth. Outside was grassy, and nestled in the corner was a pond approximately 20 SQM in size. If a fence were added, could the surrounding land be utilized for gardening? Lin Mo pondered, realizing it would be a pity not to cultivate the land beneath her feet. Please refrain from such thoughts. Host, the only permissible cultivation here is for animal feed. Very well then. Chapter 32. Let's start with some rabbits. It seemed the system had no intention of allowing loopholes. Lin Mo opened the marketplace to browse available seeds and edible livestock. The seeds were reasonably priced. 100 energy points could secure 100 grams. However, the animals were prohibitively expensive. Bull, 1000 energy points. Cow, 5000 energy points. Far beyond her means. Yet, one particular creature caught Lin Mo's eye. Not only were they easy to raise and delicious, but they also had a multitude of culinary applications. Most importantly, they reproduced rapidly. Male rabbit, 100 energy points. Female rabbit, 500 energy points. Without a second thought, she decided on 5 pairs. After deducting 3000 energy points, 10 rabbits appeared at her feet. In Lin Mo's mind, they were instantly transformed into spicy rabbit heads, braised rabbit meat, and roasted rabbits. From pregnancy to birth, rabbits typically required about a month. However, in this room, it would only take 6 days. This place is truly a paradise for enthusiasts of spicy rabbit heads. After the appearance of the rabbits, the monitor beside the door began to display a line of text. Would you like to increase the planting of rabbit feed? This will consume 1 energy point daily. The fact that he did not need to manage it was simply marvelous. After clicking confirm, grass, carrots, cabbage, and lettuce gradually sprouted from the ground. Alas, these cannot be collected by him. Otherwise, the vegetables would be gone. As for seeds, Lin Mo had not purchased any, planning to procure some on his outing tomorrow. After all, the system had not stipulated that seeds must be bought from the store. That night, Lin Mo decided to take a short rest and only visited the Luo sisters' room. At 3:30 in the morning, he lay helplessly on the bed, his hair glued to his forehead. I didn't mean to, he replied. I just wanted a day of rest. But you still came here, she countered. Yet, I didn't go to anyone else, he defended. Luo Fei was momentarily speechless, realizing there was no significant fault in his reasoning. It seemed they were the only 2 unfortunate souls. As for Luo Yun, she had long since lost the desire to speak. Ultimately, under the resentful gazes of the 2 girls, Lin Mo contentedly returned to his own room. The next morning, Lin Mo arrived at the living room refreshed. Indeed, the feeling of resting for a day was unparalleled, leaving him much more at ease. albeit wasting 2,000 points of goodwill. However, there would be ample opportunities in the future to make up for it. Besides the Luo sisters, everyone else had risen early. Wow, this has been the most comfortable day of sleep I've ever had. Yes, I didn't realize sleeping could be so delightful. Jiang Yu and Hu Shiyun exchanged glances and nodded in agreement. They had evidently grown weary of their previous lifestyle, which, while indeed comfortable, was difficult to endure. After breakfast, their route was directed towards the agricultural market, as it lay to the north and was too far to include in their plans. Oh, this side has been cleared out quite well. The number of zombies has significantly diminished. They avoided the second ring road and traveled along a road between the second and third ring. Along this path, zombies were scarcely visible, and even at night, their numbers did not increase substantially. As for human teams, they were rarely encountered. After half an hour of driving, they only came across a group of 10. It seemed most people had headed towards the Fengjing base. However, for survival, they ultimately needed to step out and confront the zombies. After an hour of travel, they finally arrived at an agricultural market on the outskirts of the northern suburbs. It appeared to have been cleared out. Whatever goods remained had likely been taken, though it was uncertain whether any seeds were still available. Jiang Yu noted the zombie corpses littering the ground, saying, "Most should have been taken. The base wouldn't overlook this place. Let us check the nearby shops. The market itself can be skipped." Lin Mo thought without hesitation. For the people of Huagua, farming was ingrained in their very genes. When faced with such a situation, cultivating crops was an inevitable choice. Upon hearing Lin Mo's words, Jiang Yu did not drive into the market but instead turned onto a side street lined with shops selling seeds and pesticides. Many of these establishments still had their roller shutters down, suggesting there might still be hope for supplies, though it was uncertain whether anyone remained inside. The presence of people could complicate matters. After all, they were not demons. Yet, fate is often capricious. The more one wishes to avoid something, the more it tends to manifest. Parking at the intersection, Lin Mo led the group to inspect each shop, finding them nearly stripped bare. The state of the buildings indicated it was not the base's doing, but rather those early scavengers searching for food. However, what use were seeds without land? Even hydroponics required time to yield results. Lin Mo found himself at a loss for words. Fortunately, there were still shops with roller shutters at the back. Knocking on the door yielded no response, suggesting no one was inside. Lin Mo refrained from continuously using his mental power, even with a high capacity. It could not be maintained indefinitely. The mental energy required for such abilities was considerable, and unless in combat or dire need, he would not activate it, especially as they were merely seeking seeds. Using tools to pry open the roller door, he discovered that the seeds, pesticides, and fertilizers inside were neatly arranged, indicating they had not been ravaged. Take what you need. The small room at the back should serve as a warehouse. Let us also check the upstairs living quarters. Be cautious. If we encounter anyone, proceed with care. As for what to plant, Lu Wanxing can choose accordingly. While the group searched for supplies, a team of survivors rushed in from the street. "Hello there. Could you please tell us how to get to the base?" We missed the transport time. A woman appeared before Lin Mo, dressed in jeans and a blue long-sleeve jacket, her hair tousled. Name, Chen Xiaoding. Age, 23. Rating, 87. Affection level, 68. Lin Mo raised an eyebrow. She was quite attractive, and her affection level was notably high, making her a prime candidate for nurturing. Unfortunately, he felt sympathy for the 4 men trailing behind her, their expressions unmistakably those of infatuated followers. Could they not see that this girl was a bleeding heart? Following the 5 were a dozen elderly and frail individuals. Lin Mo was not indifferent. It was simply that rescuing these people would not alleviate their ongoing struggles. Their lives would remain arduous, and the future was not guaranteed to be better than the present. The base was likely situated in the southern suburbs, and judging by their current position, it was approximately 30 kilometers away, or about 50 kilometers if they took a detour. Regardless, it was not his concern. He could share the address with her without issue. "Thank you. Would you like to join us on our way to the base?" Chen Xiaoding observed Lin Mo's clean attire and dry hair, indicating he possessed ample resources and strength. Traveling together would significantly increase their chances of survival. "We'll pass. The elderly cannot move easily at home, and it's inconvenient." With that statement, if they still did not comprehend, it was no longer his concern. "Ting ting. Since you know the way, let us hurry," one of the men urged. "Yes, I'm enough," another added. "And I'm here as well," said a third man. All 4 stepping forward to hasten their departure, their eyes filled with wariness towards Lin Mo. He was left speechless. How could they hold such a misguided reverence for a bleeding heart? "Goodbye." Then, Chen Xiaoding reluctantly turned to leave, leading her group southeast. Lin Mo stood at the entrance. watching them disappear into the distance. What a miracle it is that they survived this long. I hope their luck continues to hold. We found a lot of seeds, each just over a kilogram. Jiang Yu emerged carrying 2 bags, followed by the other girls. Now that we've gathered what we need, let's leave this place and continue leveling up. They got into the car and began their journey back, this time heading towards the North 2nd Ring Road. 3 kilometers away from the North 2nd Ring Road, they halted their vehicle. The sheer number of zombies ahead was staggering, indeed. Describing it as a sea of the undead would not be an exaggeration. How could there be so many zombies here? It was utterly absurd. Jiang Yu placed her hand on the gear shift, preparing to reverse. The numbers were simply overwhelming. Lin Mo's eyes sparkled with excitement. In his view, there were vast swathes of first-tier zombies, intermixed with an unknown quantity of second-tier zombies. This was a treasure trove for him. After reversing the car for 50 meters, they came to a stop and then began their hunt for the undead. This journey had proven worthwhile. Once the vehicle was parked, the group disembarked, with Lu Wanqing following closely behind. Here's a knife for your protection. Lin Mo handed Lu Wanqing a newly exchanged Tang knife. He then retrieved a handgun from behind him and fired 3 shots into the air. The distinctive, thunderous crack of the Desert Eagle attracted the nearby zombies, drawing them closer. It wasn't a large group, only a little over 100, so everyone needed to be cautious. The girls nodded in unison. As Lu Wanqing gazed at the desolate figures of the zombies in the distance, memories of her husband and daughter flooded her mind, causing her to grip the knife tightly. When the zombies were still 20 meters away, Lin Mo charged forward with his blade. Given his current physical capabilities, it was evidently impossible for the zombies to strike him. Each swing of his knife felled a second-tier zombie. The other girls also entered into a killing frenzy, with even Hu Shiyun finding a corner to dispatch isolated zombies. After 10 minutes, Lin Mo's looting was complete, and he began to unleash a bloodbath. As he accelerated, the girls found it nearly impossible to kill any zombies. Moments later, the ground was strewn with the corpses of the undead. Lin Mo, you've killed them all. We have nothing left to slay. Yes. I can hardly use my skills anymore. I can't even see where you are, the girls exclaimed. Lin Mo glanced at his status panel. He still needed 100 zombies to upgrade from intermediate first tier to advanced. It seemed that the requirement for advancing to second tier remained unchanged. Then you all go ahead and kill. Once you're done, I'll start. Is that all right? With Lin Mo's speed, reaching second tier would only take a little over an hour, so he was in no rush. Sounds good. The group advanced another 20 meters, and Lin Mo fired again to attract a greater number of zombies this time. He severed several zombie legs and tossed them in front of Lu Wanqing. You should know where their weak points are without me telling you, right? No need, she replied, trembling slightly at the sight of the zombies. Lin Mo frowned but remained silent. Taking a deep breath, Lu Wanqing raised her long knife and brought it down. Repeating her previous actions, she found her mood lightening with each strike. Lin Mo nodded. At least she was managing well. This is for you as well. Remember to take care of yourself. If you turn into a zombie, I'll be the one to set you free. Lin Mo handed Lu Wanqing a combat suit. Although it only covered her upper body, it was sufficient, as zombies wouldn't attack below the waist. If she were to be attacked by a disabled zombie, that would be her own fault. After changing into the outfit, Lu Wanqing took a deep breath. Lin Mo watched as the combat suit was filled out, doubting whether it was inflated. Lu Wanqing approached Hu Shiyun with her knife. Don't be so tense. Just think of them as pigs, Hu Shiyun comforted her. Pigs. Lu Wanqing nodded, her gaze growing resolute. She swung her knife, slicing down along the scapula, severing an arm. A horizontal strike took off its head, and the final blow split the skull in two. While her movements were somewhat cumbersome, it marked a commendable beginning. Growing bored, Lin Mo retrieved a lounge chair and a dining table from his space, setting out some drinks and snacks. He reclined to watch the girls battle. It was not yet his time to intervene. Why not enjoy this moment? After a moment's thought, Lin Mo dashed back to the car, boiled some water, and prepared a pot of tea, finishing in under 4 minutes. Luo Fei turned to glance at the noise from behind, catching sight of Lin Mo sipping tea. She could only exclaim in exasperation. Whoosh! An arrow of lightning flew past her, taking down a zombie beside her. Sister, what are you daydreaming about? The zombies are coming. I noticed. I just got angry seeing Lin Mo enjoying himself back there, Luo Fei replied. Hearing this, Luo Yun also turned to look. All right, that is indeed infuriating. Whether they were upset with Lin Mo or not, he was quite content at that moment. Ding. Jiang Yu killed a beginner first-tier zombie. The host gains 6 energy points. Ding. Luo Fei killed a high first-tier zombie. The host gains 44 energy points. Ding. Luo Yun killed a low second-tier zombie. The host gains 73 energy points. Notifications popped up every few seconds, racking up over 100 energy points at a time. Was there a more convenient way than this? Watching the energy points rise while sipping tea was simply delightful. After prolonged combat, the girls were nearing exhaustion, their energies nearly depleted. Constantly keeping an eye on the zombies was no easy feat. They slowly withdrew from the battlefield and returned to Lin Mo's side. Chapter 34. Entering second tier, data-heavy chapter. Is that all you can manage? It seems you need to train harder. Brother, it's been an hour and a half. We're truly at our limits. Luo Yun wiped the sweat from her brow, feeling exasperated. Let me show you what efficiency looks like. Everyone take a seat. Lin Mo retrieved several stools from his space and dashed out. He had grown weary of luring zombies. Instead, he plunged directly into their midst, with no unnecessary movements. Each swing of his tang knife aimed for the zombies' heads. In a minute, 10 zombies met their end. Lin Mo shook his head at such a slow pace. Exiting the fray, he switched to a longer spear-like knife, which he had exchanged for 100 energy points. The tang knife typically measured between 50 to 60 centimeters, while the spear knife was about 120 centimeters long, totaling approximately 160 centimeters, an ideal weapon for sweeping through the horde. With the new weapon, Lin Mo charged back in. And this time the zombies couldn't even touch him. Each precise strike took a skull. The only unfortunate aspect was that his looting ability had expired, but energy points continued to accumulate. Ding. Killed a high first-tier zombie, gained 88 energy points. Ding. Killed a low second-tier zombie, gained 145 energy points. Ding. Killed a mid-first-tier zombie, gained 57 energy points. Notifications appeared more frequently than the girls could defeat zombies. The girls resting by the table were left in awe, especially Luo Fei and Yu Linglong. They were champions in their province, having trained since childhood, and could compete among the top 50 in the nation. Even when including the men's group, they could still rank within the top 100 nationally. Yet at this moment, they felt that all their years of training had been in vain. Luo Fei pondered. Was he also a martial artist? Why had she never heard of his name? Lin Mo? Martial arts? Those two seemed utterly incompatible. She had never heard of Lin Mo practicing martial arts. He had always struck her as a delicate scholar, inherently kind-hearted and gentle, never engaging in disputes. However, as Luo Fei recalled the events during the apocalypse, Lin Mo's actions seemed somewhat inconsistent with her perceptions. Beside her, Jiang Yu and Luo Yun stifled their laughter, struggling to reconcile the formidable figure they had seen earlier with Luo Fei's words. Especially when he had previously commanded them to kill, there was no trace of kindness in his demeanor. Are you sure? Yu Linglong inquired, looking at Luo Fei with skepticism. Should be right? Luo Fei responded, her own conviction wavering. Even Lu Wanqing found it hard to believe. If what Luo Fei claimed were true, she would not have been compelled to jump that day. On the other hand, Lin Mo was becoming increasingly exhilarated as he continued to fight, not even needing to wait for the zombies to pursue him. He had already plunged into their midst. With each swing of his blade, he felled hordes of zombies with ease, reveling in the experience. An hour later, he emerged back to the group of women. Did you see that? This is what efficiency looks like. You all have a long way to go. Today, you should hit the gym. The gym? Are we supposed to clear out a gym? They asked. No need, you'll understand tonight, Lin Mo replied. After that wave of fighting, he had amassed enough energy points to easily afford a gym. You can handle the scattered zombies. I'll take a short break. Leave it to us, they said. Lin Mo settled back in his chair, sipping tea as he opened his interface. Host. Lin Mo. Rank. Level 2. Initial. Experience. 0-200. Attributes. Strength. 870. Constitution. 975. Agility. 900. Spirit. 1282. Awakening abilities. Psychic Spike. Level 1. Force Field. Level 2. Storage space. 10,000 cubic. Energy points. 49,890. Affection points. 10,219. Skills. Exclusive passive plunder. 0-200. Unique technique. Dragon and Phoenix soaring technique. Lin Mo's statistics were nearly 8 times those of Luo Fei. Even if Luo Fei were to ascend to the second level, multiplying her attributes by 15, she would still be at least 6 times less potent. Even half a year from now, such statistics would render him invincible. All credit to you, Brother Tongzi, Lin Mo thought, amused by the system's unexpected interjection. When he pulled up Luo Fei's statistics, he was taken aback. Name, Luo Fei, Level 2. Initial, Ability, Lightning System. Attributes, Strength, 603, Constitution, 519, Agility, 564, Spirit, 854, System. Explain this situation to me. This is a common phenomenon. After all, She has been using a spear to exterminate zombies. In this regard, her absorption of zombie energy surpasses that of others. However, host, do not worry. The third level is a watershed, and she is merely an exception. Exception indeed. Yu Linglong is experiencing similar rapid growth. After all this, his own statistics were barely twice those of Lin Fei. However, upon examining Luo Yun's data, he felt a sense of calm. Name, Luo Yun. Level, 1. Advanced. Ability, Lightning System. Attributes, Strength, 125, Constitution, 131, Agility, 178, Spirit, 342. Even if Luo Yun were to elevate to the second level, multiplying her attributes by 15 would yield little improvement. Based on Luo Yun's data, his own statistics appeared remarkably high. Indeed, those who practiced martial arts seemed particularly suited to thrive in an apocalyptic environment. Yet, the majority remained ordinary people. He contemplated the soldiers wielding firearms, who could also level up. He wondered what their attributes might be. This highlighted a distinction. While their attributes were low, their damage output was substantial. Lin Mo examined his second-level skill, which remained unchanged. Force Field. Construct a force field around oneself using psychic energy. Its strength correlates with the psychic power value. With Lin Mo's current statistics, he should be able to withstand gunfire from a pistol and endure a few seconds against rifle fire. However, practical testing was necessary for precise validation. Let's take out the seeds we've acquired and plant some vegetables together, Luo Yun said eagerly, grabbing a bag of seeds and summoning the other women. Having finished our meal and rested sufficiently, it's time to engage in some activity. The group headed to the planting area, each taking responsibility for a seed bed. Lin Mo, do we really not need to soak the seeds? No, just plant them. The system indicated that as long as you sow them, the rest is taken care of. As the women chatted and planted, Lin Mo realized he had no further role to play and decided to step outside. He couldn't remain inside, especially given the scantiness of his attire. Ding. Chapter 35. Why are these people running so fast? What a long-lost sound, and it came with a double strike. Ding. Yu Linglong's affection level, 8. Ding. Congratulations. Host, your affection level with Yu Linglong has reached 100, granting you the lightning system's violent output ability. Violent output ability. Although he did not fully understand what it entailed, it certainly sounded formidable. Ding. Lu Wanqing's affection level, 9. Ding. Congratulations, host. Your affection level with Lu Wanqing has reached 100, granting you the dimensional vehicle attack component 1. A black box appeared in Lin Mo's mind, labeled attack component. He clicked on it, and the box shimmered with white light, revealing its contents. Unlimited bullets Gatling. A turret that rotates 360 degrees, requires manual control, and has interchangeable magazines. Lin Mo nodded in satisfaction. Regardless of the need for replacement, this was a Gatling gun. Even ordinary bullets would be enough to fell 5th-level zombies. The only drawback was that utilizing this weapon against zombies would not increase his level or attributes. In his previous life, bases were overrun with 7th and 8th-level beings. Yet their attributes could not compare to those of the 3rd-level abilities actively fighting on the front lines. Such ability users were often referred to as no rank, signifying their ineffectiveness. Fortunately, these were typically the ones with poor awakening abilities. With 100 points now accrued, he had gained 2 additional channels for acquiring energy points and increased avenues for critical affection points. Tonight, they would commence their operations. The only regret was the lack of time. It seemed he would have to grant 2 of them a reprieve. After all, he too required rest. At 9 in the evening, the women finally emerged from the planting area. Those who needed to wash up did so, while others returned to their rooms. Lin Mo approached Lu Wanqing from behind, whispering softly in her ear, "Remember to come over later, I'll be waiting for you." Feeling the warmth of his breath against her ear, even Lu Wanqing, who had experienced the world, felt her cheeks flush. Upon witnessing the scene, Lin Mo gained a deeper understanding of the emotions that must have coursed through Prime Minister Chao. Truly, as the progenitor, he indulged in a different level of play. Jiang Yu exchanged glances with a few others, engaging in hushed communication. At least one person would surely be able to rest today, perhaps even 2, though it remained uncertain who that might be. Certainly, it would be my sister and I, as we were the ones who saved you yesterday. However, it was still uncertain. Perhaps none of you would get to rest tonight. Luo Yun opened her mouth, realizing it would be best to refrain from idle speculation. They should hurry back to their rooms. Every moment of rest counted, and they were not privy to the passage of time. Jiang Yu's words instantly invoked the terror of being governed by time in them. Thud, thud, thud. The sound of doors slamming echoed, and Lin Mo glanced in the direction of the bedroom, noting that everyone had already departed. How strange. Why did they leave so swiftly? Lu Wanqing felt as if she had missed something crucial, but was at a loss to identify what it was. However, with a goodwill value of 100, she was not inclined to dismiss Lin Mo's words. After tidying up, it was nearly 10 o'clock when Lu Wanqing arrived at Lin Mo's room. "Come here," he beckoned. Once Lu Wanqing settled herself, Lin Mo could only think of one word: majestic. Click. The ceiling light switched off, leaving only the warm bedside lamp illuminating the two undulating shadows on the white wall. The following day, Lin Mo emerged from Yu Linglong's room. Apart from him, the other four women had risen early and were already seated on the sofa, engaged in conversation. What a delightful day. He had never felt so invigorated. "See, I told you that finding more team members would make things easier," one of them remarked. "Sister Jiang Yu really has a way. Imagine if we recruited 10 more. I think that could work." The notion of love division was far from their minds. After all, their affections were solely directed towards Lin Mo. As long as he treated them well, nothing else mattered. "Oh dear, you four, it seems a lesson is in order for you tonight," Lin Mo's voice broke through, prompting the girls to turn swiftly. Upon seeing Lin Mo's mischievous grin, they realized the day was doomed. One by one, they slumped back against the sofa. "Is it already 9:30? Why are they still not out?" Jiang Yu expressed her suspicion that Lin Mo might have lost track of time in his excitement. "They'll be out shortly. Let us eat quickly." Time was fleeting, and cooking was no longer an option. It would be better to consume ready-made food. At noon, the group returned to their location on South 2nd Ring Road. "Lin Mo, look, the number of zombies here has decreased. Should we head to the north suburbs instead?" The women had swiftly leveled up the previous day and perceived that place as a veritable training ground. Lin Mo pondered for a moment before conceding that it was not an unfeasible idea. Just then, a strange noise erupted from the street to their left. "What was that?" the women inquired, puzzled. "I'm not sure. It sounds like something is moving on the road," Lin Mo speculated, deducing it might be a tank. Although he could not recall such details. Likely, it was something he had forgotten. "It must be the rescue team. It has nothing to do with us. Let's take the elevated road towards the north suburbs." "All right," Jiang Yu replied, pressing on the accelerator. Upon reaching the elevated junction, they encountered the vehicle that had made the earlier noise, confirming Lin Mo's suspicion. It was indeed a tank. It must be the rescue team. They must have settled the previous batch of rescued individuals. Lin Mo did not respond to Jiang Yu, but instead scrutinized the rescue personnel. As he examined them, their data materialized before his eyes. Even a mere soldier held a rank of 2nd tier, though their attributes fell significantly short. Moreover, none had